Hey, there you are. We're live. Oh, don't move it too much. We're turning things down so we don't have too much feedback in the studio here. We're chilling. Sit and Politic. Make sure you subscribe. Show some love. Oh, God. Yeah, we might have fucked up the angle. We worked hard for that right at the beginning. That's awesome.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, make sure we're coming through clear, too. Paul, I know you have me crispy in your ears right now, but I'm wondering, everybody in YouTube land, on Twitch, let us know that we're coming through clear, because you never know. YouTube fucks around and they bullshit every once in a while. But Sit and Politic, find me Sit and Politic everywhere on all platforms. You can catch us live. We've been doing these live. That sounds like we're coming through very good. Thank you, Paul. But yeah, you can catch us doing these live, and then we'll drop the full edited podcast, and either or might have some extra content in it depending. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the good conversations that we've been having. And it's been good. Paul's been rocking with me every time. Go find him, Paul B. Balcom, Balcom B. Paul. We say just put that shit in the search engine on Instagram and find this man.
Yeah, Balcom's pretty.
Yeah,
I'm there. It's not many.
No, 100%. You'll see his hot takes on the story. The Instagram story is very inviting. It's like, talk to me. The Instagram story is like, debate me on these topics.
Boom, boom, and then a little sprinkle of like, that's sweet, or that's ha ha ha, and then back to bam, 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 bam.
No, but you're hitting them, and
you gotta push the other side. Listen, man, I've said it a lot of times. Where we're at,
the zone.
Where we're at is very red, and there's a lot of single-sided news spread on people's feeds. So it's like, let's get the other side out too, and let's talk.
You're trying to purify the conservative feed.
Trying to mix it, and then let's talk
before
about
it.
Let's have a conversation.
Let's definitely have a conversation. That's anybody that tunes in here. By the way, we might be a little early for asking for this, so I'm going to try to mention it throughout. So if you guys hear me mention it a few times, we're going to try to go live later. We want to try to interact with the audience as much as possible. We want to get your guys' opinions. Actually, while I'm saying that too, I'm glad I'm saying it because I could drop this link in the chat. And you guys always feel welcome to hop in here. Let us know your opinion on whatever topic we might be talking about, whether it be politics, sports, and that's the link right there for either Twitch or YouTube, and you'll pop up and I'll let you in. But tonight we're going to talk about some politics. We're also going to talk about some sports. Those are our mainstays. We'll get into some music, pretty much anything you can imagine that you might be into. We probably will touch on it from time to time, as much as it's culturally relevant. And then just bring whatever kind of fire to the show that you want. I'm down. We're down to talk about whatever people are interested to talk about out there. Also, shout out to Gates Open Media. That's what I got to turn off my notifications. But guys, go follow him too. We'll just spend a moment on that. I'll actually drop that in the chat. And if he ever wants to hop on here, or even harass us in the comments, we'll take it. But yeah, look. So obviously, we'll just talk about this. We'll keep it light at the beginning as we have people kind of like flow in here. We might as well talk about the Indiana Pacers. You know, we've had so much.
Congratulations, by the way.
The country's been getting turned upside down, getting dumped out of a fucking brown paper bag onto the fucking floor. So we haven't had time to really spend time on a championship run that's been just crazy and immaculate. And I'm a Pacers fan. If anybody didn't know, born in Indianapolis, and I've been a Pacers fan my whole life. Basically, I haven't been a fan of any other teams. Although I will say I did root for the Orlando Magic. The Pacers they had a few years where you had to find something else to kind of look at in basketball if you're going to watch basketball. And I did like Dwight Howard and the Magic, and also we're based in Florida. If you guys didn't know, but right now, as a Pacers fan, it's been incredible. This is the only time that I could say in the championship, in the finals, we've had a real shot to win, because the only other time in my life was against the Lakers. And going into that, you kind of felt that it was like this did, to be honest. I think it's a give and take. You know what I mean? Like, the reality is the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a young team. So I think you're not seeing a fully fleshed out team like we did with the Los Angeles Lakers, where it was just a complete fucking swamping. But coming into this game, I think the idea was that we were going to possibly get swept. I think a lot of people were basically clapping it up like, hey, you guys beat the Knicks. Great work. See what you can do here. But expecting us to get our asses kicked.
Well, I just think that people underestimated the team. I think that look, you guys are a very well-conditioned team that likes to push the floor. You guys like to get on pace, and you guys really wear teams out. The way that you guys are we're going to take you out to the deep water. We're going to drown you type. Okay. Yeah. Now, where OKC can match that is the fact that OKC is so young and athletic that they can go ahead and match and be right there. But I will say that Rick Carlisle gives you guys such a slight advantage. I feel like you guys aren't the overall better squad of players. I think that they're more talented, but you guys are gritty. You guys are more experienced. You guys have a champion in Pascal. Mm-hmm. You guys have older players who have been there and done that. Okay, you guys have Johnson from Miami. Yeah. Okay, so he's one. So and then Carlisle's a championship coach, and I feel like what he's done with the zone defense is really good for you guys. So one thing should have had more credit.
One thing though, just for a little bit of pushback there, pushback because before we went on, we were talking about just briefly. And as far as the Pacers not being the better overall squad, I think is how you put it that time. The last time I think it was just like overall team. Yeah. I feel that because I think Oklahoma City is like their starting five is just from top to bottom, really, really solid, great players at whatever they do, and some of them just great overall MVP players. Mm-hmm. So I can't argue that, but it's like when you look at our bench, and that's one of the things this past game that we saw where it's like we do have legitimately, there's probably 10 players that on any given night could give you 20 points. Yes. Like could score 20 points. One thing through this last game, towards the end of the game, I feel like he got his flowers a little bit, but Benedict Mathurin as a Pacers fan is somebody that last year we lost him previous to the playoff run, and coming in as a rookie, he was pushing 20 points a game consistently. So it's like that's somebody that I think that we expect that could give us 3 games out of a 7-game series or whatever, where you're seeing a 20 plus point output. The only thing that limits him really is sometimes he kind of has like the Westbrook thing where sometimes he can play a little reckless when you're talking about like team organized basketball. He can be a little reckless. And then I feel like Carlisle as an older coach, and I feel like that's what we were experiencing coming into the series, where he was kind of, I don't want to say being punished, but there was a little bit of like a throttling and just like a trying to reel him back in. So, I mean, I'm on the other end of that. I think he's the player that we really need to see. We need to see him flourish. And that's from our previous runs in the playoffs, if you're talking like with Paul George, briefly with Danny Granger in the past, something the Pacers have always needed is like a true second scorer. Always have limit. We've always been limited there. We've as far as like defensive teams, we've had those in spades. We've had rim protectors. I mean, we've always had pussy defenders. I mean, not defenders, pussy rebounders. No disrespect. I love the squad, but Jesus Christ, since Jermaine O'Neal, have we had a fucking honest to God fucking somebody that can go clean fucking 13 boards? I mean, Ron Artest is a good rebounder for a small forward or something like that. I feel rim protector for real. Well, no, we've had rim protectors that literally can't on the rebound. Boards. We have Miles Turner, who I love. Miles Turner. I've had many conversations on this podcast, more off the podcast, where I've been defending this man and his ability to block shots and be a rim protector, and I still appreciate that. But fucking 2 rebounds. And we won that game. So thankfully it's not a talking point. But as a Pacers fan, I'm looking at that and I'm like, thankfully we got out of this one with a win. Yeah. But that is our weakness, is we are just, and thankfully we're playing OKC, to be honest, because we're not playing a team that can really press a physical game.
No, because
they are.
Yes. Yeah. No, well, that's the thing that I was saying earlier is you guys are the more grittier team. You guys are a more physical team. Yeah, you guys. What I meant is like when you look at the overall talent on the team, everyone's going to say that OKC's better.
Yeah, but what I'm disagreeing with is when you get to like the bench.
Well, I'm Caruso not sure on that bench is. Bro, I mean, come on.
I mean, depending on who
he's a starter at other places, you know what I mean?
But we have people coming off the bench that are starters in other places as well. To be completely honest, I mean, really honestly, until recently, we had Naismith consistently coming off the bench. Nemhard is the guy that we backed up. This is another thing that I love about the team. Hold on, this is another thing that I love about the team is that these guys have actually been willing to come off the bench for large parts of the season. Yeah, and that kind of like because there's not a crazy out of whack power dynamic with the players. Everybody kind of plays selfishly. Our best player is a selfless player that will go out and get 15 points. And under that, I know that as somebody who could bet on his bitch ass to score 15 points.
Hold on. So that's why I wanted to re-clarify with when I said better squad.
Yeah,
it's the overall perception of the talent, but where I said that you guys have been underlooked is you guys are the better overall, I guess, the better team as far as like
there you go.
You guys are constructed at better, like you guys played together better as a team. But that's where I was saying Rick Carlisle. He was the underlying difference to me, where you guys get the nod from me, but overall, if you guys don't keep it close. It's really hard with how OKC is. SGA is a great player. He's the MVP. Now, I would argue that Tyrese Halliburton is a better point guard than SGA. And I know that could be that's debatable, that people will debate that heavily. But I think that overall, with just playing the point guard position, being able to put the scoring aside and just play defense and pass first and put your team in a great position, Halliburton does that as good as almost anyone in the league. Halliburton needs to take a little bit more on his shoulders with scoring the basketball.
Sure.
He needs to put more on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
He needs to take more shots, and I think OKC needs to push for that themselves because he's never been necessarily a volume scorer. But he can go off for 30 on a night.
Oh, definitely.
But he's not a 30-point guy every night like SGA
but the thing is you have, I mean, I think that you're right though. I think that the reason for that though is not based off of his abilities. It has to do with like him not taking that responsibility on himself. Correct. That it needs to be him. Like when at the end of the day, when all the chips are down, who needs to get the game going at the beginning? It doesn't need to be Pascal every single fucking game. No. Which I mean, I appreciate that he was able to do that in this last game. He was able to keep us neck to neck in the first quarter with OKC and prevent them from totally running away with it, which they were already still doing. When you had Halliburton shooting like 2 times or something like that, it's just we need to see him be more aggressive.
He needs to put his shoulder down, drive to the fucking basket, and use his fucking
and it creates shots for those guys. So what he's already trying to do as far as like get everybody involved and get guys going, it's like that will happen organically as long as you're pushing the pace, which is what we do. And he's being aggressive, and people have to actually account for him possibly giving them fucking 30 points. The thing is, if they know that he's going to sit there and play a passive game and drive down to the fucking hoop and then take the ball back outside himself, it's like that's just you're just draining the fucking clock. Honestly, in those cases, you know, I think that definitely he has the ability. Like when you see him put his shoulder down and drive towards the rim, he had one shot. I don't remember who it was on, but it was a layup. It was fucking insane. It was heavily contested. Yeah, and
he has it. He has it in his bag. He needs to go ahead and use it more often, and it's going to draw fouls. And especially with how skinny those guys are down low for OKC, they're going to get tired of him throwing them big ass shoulders in their chest.
Oh,
and they're going to start fouling it. So then you're going to get Chet in foul trouble, and that's going to be better for the team. Listen, when it comes down to it, game 4 at home, right? Yeah, game 4. Mm-hmm. You need to go ahead and put it on your shoulders to basically put the series away. Y'all go at 3-1, it's a wrap. But if y'all go ahead and get beat by 20 points, which is the alternative, I said it going in. You guys need to win every game by 6 to 10 points. That's the way you guys can win. But OKC, like if OKC gets in these games where it's a 2 to 8 point contest, you guys have that every time.
Sure.
That's where you guys live. And it's like, but you can't live on the fact that OKC is going to have a night shooting like they did.
Yeah, I think they have less experience from top to bottom in these kind of moments. Like even if, I mean, it's really been over the past 3 years or so, I would say, where the Oklahoma City Thunder have started to make this ascent. And I think with these teams that end up having long periods where they're dominant, this is kind of always the pattern that it takes, you know, where they kind of slowly, you know, get past one round or they come up short, usually based on some like coaching change that needs to happen for them to really step into their next metamorphosis or whatever you want to call it. But so I mean, I think that's honestly what gives me confidence. We have a team that's been playing together. A lot of our guys have been coming up through the Pacers program. And I think that shows like their willingness to sacrifice for the team.
Yep.
I mean, I think Ben Shepherd is an example of somebody super underrated, like as far as like how long he is and how his ability to defend on the perimeter. I mean, there's so many of these guys that can defend where Tyrese Halliburton isn't necessarily asked to like be a shutdown, lockdown defender, and he can kind of like play around a little bit more and come up with steals and play more creatively on defense. That's why I think. I mean, Obi Toppin. I think that
Obi Toppin's so damn good.
That I mean, just the athletic kind of like X factor that he brings to the game. You know what I mean? I wish he was another person that's more active on the boards with his athleticism. But I see that potential with him. And another thing I love with the Pacers, by the way, a lot of our guys are under contract. We're gonna have to deal with the Miles Turner situation this offseason. And I saw some things where, you know, supposedly is leaked that the Pacers are willing to pay the luxury tax.
Yep. Sham said that on McAfee show.
Yeah, but I think that's something they should do if you're serious about winning at this point.
Yeah, they should do it.
Without a doubt, you have a team that can be competitive right now. They are being competitive right now.
What's crazy is people are acting like this team has outplayed themselves, and that's what bothers me a little bit.
Well, that's why I push back on. I think that they might be even a better team from top to bottom. I mean, like Nembhard is fucking underrated, bro. He's pissed me off because he's another one, bro. I bet on this team. So trust me, I'm emotionally invested in a way that pisses me off when he makes 0 3-pointers and I bet on the fucking 0.5 over. But either way, but no, the way he was able to, I mean, he's not shutting down Jalen Brunson, but the way that he's able to cause issues and just wear his ass out because he's there all game, all fucking game. And then he's also challenging him on the other side of the court. Like you can't not guard him. He's a spot up shooter who can handle the ball. But yeah, I want to go ahead and pass it back to you.
No,
yes, sir,
it's you know, you guys. I think you guys are where you should be. I think you guys are a championship caliber team, and you guys are proving it. And you guys have proved it all playoffs. You guys proved it last year, but it was well, you know what? They were hurt. That team was hurt. That team was hurt. Yeah. And then this year, you couldn't really have that excuse, really. Yeah. And it's just Tyrese Halliburton. Like I said, I just need to see. Well, not need to. Yeah. I would like to see him go ahead and just put the game on his shoulder, drop a 30-10-10, and walk out. Well, then you got to go back to OKC.
No, I feel that.
But if you guys go up 3-1, I don't think OKC can win 3 straight.
No, I agree with you. I think that I felt the same way with the Knicks series, and we actually did do this. We had same exact scenario, and then I was having a conversation with some Pacers fans, and they were under the impression that they were going to kind of like let up a little bit. And I also thought that was a possibility because you've seen it happen many times.
Of course. Take a rest game.
Exactly. But I mean, same thing you're saying right now. Like in a series that was as competitive as the Knicks and Pacers series, I think it was necessary to, when you had the team weakened, like put your foot on their neck and you gotta take control of the series. And in this situation, I agree at the top of the rosters, I think there is a definite there's a talent disparity. I mean, you're dealing with SGA, somebody who's like, I mean, he's an MVP caliber player. He's going to be like one of the most athletic, creative, best scorers of his generation. So you don't necessarily have somebody that's going to go head to head with that person. So I agree with that. But I mean, Halliburton can do it for a quarter. He can do it for a quarter. 100%. He can do it for 5 minutes in a quarter, and all of a sudden give you some. And I mean, the thing is, the benefit with our team, it being so balanced in the way that it is that it doesn't necessarily have to be Halliburton. Although I agree, I would like to see it be him. We saw Pascal Siakam do it.
Pascal's a guy.
He's a monster, and he's just as consistent as can be.
And he was underappreciated during that Toronto run. Everyone, because it was Kawhi. And there was Van Fleet or Kyle Lowry, and it was. But Pascal was that unsung hero on that team. Oh, and he was young, and it's like so. So now again, that's what I was telling. Again, my brother's an OKC fan, and that's what I was telling him before the series started. Was just that where my fear for OKC was that the team is so young and they just haven't been there. Like I said with Indiana, you have guys who they were there last year, but with Swaggy P. Having that championship caliber player who's done it, the coach who's done it, you guys have the upper hand there, and that steals you a game or two. Yeah. So now you guys just have to go out and win it, and I believe in it. I believe in you guys. I won't put no money on it because I have bad luck gambling. So If I put money on you, you'll lose.
Oh, please don't do that then, brother.
No, I won't do that.
I mean, sometimes I'll throw money on the other side because I have some bad luck as well.
Man.
So I'm trying to help the team out. I'll be like, fucking $5 on the Thunder.
Yeah.
Just to help out, guys, honestly.
Yeah, just to help out. And also, it eases the pain of the loss.
It does, because I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of hedged a little bit there. But sometimes, legitimately, I don't feel that way, because I am doing it with the intention of, I mean, it's a self-centered thought, so I know that I don't have any control over it. But it does feel like sometimes, especially if I get in there last minute, I've seen some games go fucking left, and I've lost some money on some shit that was like, wow, that should have been.
How many times have you watched a game on your phone, like a Gators game, and you guys lose, and then have you ever thought to yourself like, damn, if I was home, we would have won?
Interesting thought. I don't think I've had that thought.
I have had if I don't change the butterfly effect.
I have thought like if I didn't bet on these motherfuckers, they might have won. But I haven't had like if I was at home. I don't have any like superstitions or attachments to my couch. I have heard of that. I have heard of that. They had like an old NFL commercial that was like that. That was about like a guy that felt like he needed to be home or whatever. So I know there are people that feel like that, but yeah, for me, I'm everywhere, brother. If I'm watching it, I'm probably watching it moving around, and I just think that sometimes it's the bet aspect, because I feel like betting on sports, it does take out the purity of it. Although I'm a fucking fiend, to be clear. So it's like I totally get the excitement and the benefits and the high-end excitement from betting. So I'm there, and I will be spending my money this weekend on fucking UFC fight night like a fucking psycho. Never on people I'd never even heard of. Yeah, I'm putting money down. I don't give a fuck. Dude, hey, Andretti, what's happening, baby? We're in here.
I can take
You're welcome to hop in here if you'd like. It's the rush. No, I'm 100. I know this is a brother.
Yeah, he's a better.
He's
a better.
He's of my ilk. Yeah, we're cut from the same cloth in that way. Because I will be having a rough night, and I will be like, I'm done. I'm not putting any more money into this shit. And then I will be like, fuck. Obviously, I put money in it, because then I look at the bank account the next day and I'm like, damn, how'd it end up being fucking $200?
Bro, I put money on.
Don't get me wrong. I've been up though before. I want to be clear. I'm mostly up. So, because I'm thinking about doing a gambling show. So now that I'm sitting here having some fun talking about it, I'm like, fuck, this is the time people are going to tune in.
You are better. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty. I'm on point.
You're solid. I'm flat out telling you.
Yeah.
If I put money on it, the juju's out there.
No, I feel that.
It's so bad. I have put money on sure things. I one time did the like soccer, like midday soccer.
Oh yeah, I love soccer.
Oh my god. Listen. I bet
I love
straight
soccer,
up. Brother. Oh, listen. Oh, it's second half. This team's up 2-1. They're gonna win. All right, this team's up 3-0 in the first half. They're gonna win.
Take the favorite.
This one is 2-2 with like 10 minutes left. Yeah. I'm like, tie. Bro, every single one of those lost.
Can I tell you something?
And it's like, how?
I want to give it right back to you, but I just want to tell you something, because I know you're going to probably just feel wild about this. So I do the soccer thing, so I'm a fucking degenerate gambler. So it's like, of course, I bet on soccer and fucking leagues I've never heard of. I bet on fucking Kazakhstan versus Uzbekistan. Yeah, I'm on that. But anyway, the other day, bro, don't get me wrong, I've been on a fucking hot streak with soccer and baseball. Fucking talk to me about it, because I'll get you in.
Against the Pirates.
But I did fuck up the other day, and the thing is, I fucked up and I put too much faith on fucking Saudi Arabia.
Why would you? Well, because they fix a lot. So.
Well, that's why I thought. I was like, bro, the money's on Saudi Arabia. They're not going to allow their team to fucking lose to whoever the fuck it was, Ukraine or some shit. I'm like, they're definitely not going to let Ukraine beat them. But it was the fucking spirit of the ghost of Kiev.
Oh God, brother.
The spirit of Kiev was in the fucking building. Oh, no, they couldn't be stopped. And I lost some good money on that, bro. Oh my God. If I had the fucking courage to show my parlay slips, people would be disgusted. Did you bet
that much on it?
Bro, I bet on Braves basically every single fucking day.
Yeah,
but I mean, not crazy amounts. I try to manage it, but I'll be honest. So my strategy is I'll bet throughout the week. And I'll have on the back leg of the parlays, I'll have UFC fights. This is my new strategy.
Okay.
I have a new strategy.
Because
I was doing really good with the old strategy. And the old strategy fucked me.
Go ahead.
The old strategy fucked me for about 2 good weeks, fucking nice and long and hard. And I had to explain some fucking deposits out of the account. That's the problem.
I had to explain some deposits.
Oh, bro, that's the worst.
I
That's
thought it was a. I thought it was a sure thing.
Oh,
Okay.
bro, I fucking feel every man out there that's had to explain a fucking hunch to their woman about sports, like the most fucking pathetic piece of shit. Like,
I'm not allowed to buy scratch offs.
oh, see, I try to stay away from scratch.
Just a $5 every now and then. I just want it, and no, dude,
Yeah.
if it is found,
Fair enough.
oh my god.
Yeah, to be clear, for anybody that doesn't know,
That's
this
mine.
is good. Kenny Powders, thank you for this. For anybody that's not a sports bettor, parlays are when you take several bets and you put them on a single ticket. And this is set up to take advantage of the gambler's fucking sick and depraved addiction
Yes, it is.
to hunt as much fucking greed and value out of every single cent that they're going to bet. And also the fucking
Cash out.
clear and
It's cash out.
obvious intersection of narcissism and fucking complete arrogance and I don't know, on mental illness level.
I'll get all 8 of these right.
Yeah, I know everything that's going to happen in sports. Have you ever fucking played organized soccer?
Oh my god, dude.
Not me, I'll be honest.
Listen.
Not me, but did I think that Saudi Arabia was going to beat fucking Ukraine? Yes, I did. That was a
See,
mistake.
I was fine. What was the one that was before Hard Rock? There was the Price Picks.
Yeah.
So Price Picks, I was pretty solid at just like picking like a few, but again, I would go for the sure thing. Like, all right, there's no way Derrick Henry doesn't get 65 yards.
Oh man, yeah.
All right, went to his first year Tyreek every game because they were like, 185.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, he's gonna crush that.
I mean, that's the key to get in on a player that they're not.
Yeah.
I won on the last game with Benedict Mathern betting that he would score 10 points. He only scored 30 points.
There you go.
So it's like, 100%.
Sometimes
Sometimes
but they've taken a lot of that fun shit and they fucked you because they're like, you know what? They went off once.
Oh, the players
never
are
again.
in on it. You
It's
see the
like,
video of
God
Draymond Green where
damn.
he's like, he's letting the team know the fucking spread. And he's like,
Was
it's
he
5 points.
really?
I'm like, put him in jail.
They really did.
Put
You
that
can't do
motherfucker in
that.
jail. That is
That's
sick.
illegal.
Yeah. Also,
It's insider trading. No,
I mean,
don't know.
another
I
way
don't know
that
what
it kind of ruins, or maybe it makes sports better. Sometimes I find myself relying on racist stereotypes.
What?
I'll just say it. I'll say it. I know there's some people that agree with me out here.
If it's soccer and they're Spanish, go ahead.
Exactly. Have I bet on Hispanic teams?
UFC and the
fucking
Russian, go ahead.
100% of the time, yes, I have. It's soccer, 100%. Now, don't get me wrong, they let you down sometimes. They'll lose to some fucking
because
Middle Eastern country in the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere. Fucking villages have been bombed out their entire fucking living.
What are we doing over here?
We're just having a good time. But no, sometimes, yeah, you have to rely on your just what you know.
No, I feel that.
Yeah, Vamos Chile. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Viva La Raza. Long live the people, man.
Like if you see a white receiver go over 6 catches.
Oh, definitely bet the fucking receptions 100%
Bet the
of the time. Yeah. No, definitely. By the way, Andretti says the players are paid to shave points. Mob's still alive.
Jesus.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with this. And anybody that's betting, you know.
I'm not going to disagree.
Anybody that's betting, you know. You've seen them fuck off. Bro, I've seen a motherfucker. Like I said, bro, Miles Turner, why do I know still is it seared in my brain that he had 2 rebounds? Because I was about to cash in a parlay if that pussy would have rebounded the ball 5 times. He's 7 feet fucking tall. You should get 5 rebounds by accident.
By accident.
Why the fuck do you have guards out there doing your job for you? I don't give a fuck what you're doing protecting the rim.
Hey,
fucking get the ball. Get a possession, motherfucker.
It's all about the bounce of the ball, brother.
Bro, he's letting Lou Dort get down there.
Yeah, that way ain't nothing he can do.
Fucking crazy. Bro, but 2 rebounds. That was just nuts.
Where are you from?
Yeah, seeing the 1 rebound going into the 4th quarter.
What'd you have? $50
like,
on it? God damn.
No, I didn't have $50 on it. I said I was about to cash a parlay. It was a cheap parlay. Like I said, I try to keep
it 10 or under. 10
yeah,
or under.
I usually try to do that. But if I hit something, I'll try. You know, I'll throw a couple $20 bets in there, a couple $20 bet skis and see what happens.
I love my wife.
But I gotta hit. I'm not gonna do that when I'm actively depositing. If I'm actively, because that'll get out of hand.
That is a rich man's game, you know?
It is a rich man's game. Oh, I say that all the time. That's one of the things I tell when I got to explain the bets. I'm like, oh my God, babe, if we were rich, though, trust me, we'd already been fucking out of here. Yes, trust me. Trust me, if I was able to bet big bets,
I promise you.
If your boy was able to just throw down 100 on a bet, we'd have been out of here.
Listen, if we're rich,
UFC parlay.
Hey, my real estate portfolio, unbelievable.
Yeah, we got to get up on that, brother. 100% the parlays, the parlay game. I'm going to try to do a show maybe on Wednesdays. I think Wednesday feels like a good time for a betting show in midweek. If I could try to get something consistent with that, I want to try to do these lives more consistently late. Again, I said that earlier. I said we mentioned it again.
Bets and we'll lose.
I was telling Paul that I just think it's a good time to get in here and get like interactive with the audience late at night. People are just sitting around doing whatever they're doing. They had family time. It just like, I think it makes more sense. Get the early odds, brother. Oh, 100%. 100%. The thing is, I had the early odds on Charles Jourdain fucking like a week and a half ago, like a degenerate for this next coming week. And pussy fucking pulled out. That's the problem. When you bet on them ahead of time, then they end up pulling out because their pussy's hurt a week in advance. It's like, bro, I don't want to hear that you have a fucking, I don't want to hear that your fucking sickle cell anemia is acting up. I don't give a fuck about that. You need to come down. You need to come down to elevation. I don't give a fuck. Like, so it's just either way. It's my thing. It's my thing. You don't have to agree out there.
And you're allowed. You're allowed to have that. And I'm here to support you through that.
Yeah, no, and shit, bro. I wish we wouldn't have cut the USA ID. I feel like I'm happy to support the fucking trying to cure that shit up. You know, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight. Fuck, I want to see him play football. I wish Ryan Clark could have played in Denver. That's just how I feel. Look, I want that for him. By the way, that Ryan Clark shit we should have talked about. Did you see that? Where he's talking about Deuce? I know you would remember. I saw you talking about it. You had some good Deuce had some good takes on Twitter about this.
The Robert Griffin?
Yeah, Robert Griffin, the third shit. That's what it was.
Him coming at
bring back the green energy bill for real. Yeah, no, man, shit. We need the fucking Abram Accords. No, I'm you know what we say.
What do you do? Come at him for having a white wife, or
he basically was telling them to shut the fuck up about black people business because he was talking to him like he was us. That's what was crazy about it. It's like Ryan Clark was talking to him crazy.
He does go wild like that sometimes, but I like Ryan, so I can't be mad at him.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at him, but I can't hate him.
No, it was something kind of haterish though.
I don't like the whole like
talking crazy.
I don't like the tagging people for like who you marry. It's kind of like,
I think just shutting down.
It's kind of productive.
I think shutting down people involved in conversations based off things that, I mean, technically don't have a whole lot to do with the conversation. If the conversation isn't like in this case, race. So, I mean, he literally, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to talk about it. He obviously has I'm assuming he was raised by a black woman, unless it was a Kaepernick scenario, which, I mean, he's raised by white people and hate fucking white people. Yeah. So it's like, but I don't think it even matters. But, yeah. So I mean,
what was it?
I'll pull it up.
He said something about like Angel Reese hating Caitlin Clark. Right?
Yeah, he said something about that, which is race related, I guess.
But, like put Angel Reese does, and it's like that's not race related.
All right,
like,
let's hear it, brother.
Like, can we just like go off of like actions?
Okay.
Can we go off of actions? Can we go off of every time Caitlin's brought up her eye roll? Can we go about how she goes at
protect
Caitlin?
Our queen, brother?
Listen, our queen. Ain't my queen.
File in the ranks.
Listen, I don't got none of that. Listen, they're both solid. Look, Caitlin's a better player. That is what it is. Angel Reese is great at what she does. She's a great rebounder, and she's
already like the 5th greatest rebounder of all time.
She's amazing at what she does. Yeah. Caitlin's amazing at what she does.
Yeah,
but I don't see
everything else.
But I don't see, Caitlin doing the same shit, and it's not race. It's just it's individually based. Like look at that bar. But that's what it is, right? I mean, it's not anyone's fault that after the foul, Angel then had to chase Caitlin down and had to be held back by multiple people. And if Caitlin then would have turned around and got in her face, then we would have had criticism for her too.
Oh, of course, it was just criticized the fucking queen. Of course, we would have.
Yeah, but
brother, I'm with you.
But she walked off going like, "What the fuck?"
TC is better by far. Let's keep it a buck. So I'm with that. No, I'm with you guys. I think that Caitlin Clark, she's a special talent for sure, and I do get the vibe whenever the Angel Reese situation comes up that Angel Reese benefits more by stoking that fire than I mean, just about anybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the media does as well. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would even go so far as to say the WNBA fucking loves it. Whenever this shit happens, they're flicking their fucking bean to the shit. They're like, yes, YouTube.
Rivalry is great for sports and entertainment. It's what it is.
Well, the thing is, it's basically the greatest thing that's ever happened to their sport without a question. Without a question.
Which no disrespect to every other WNBA legend because there's a lot of.
But it took a lot to get here. There's no doubt. But then the thing is, what's really propelled them more than ever, exponentially, is this rivalry between these two people. And based off some of it, the thing is, you know, a lot of times I am quick to kind of try to poo-poo the racial aspect of things. But I do think there is a racial component of this one, because not because of them two necessarily, but because the people that are so involved in the conversation are so invested in it. I think, you know, I think that is present in their kind of thinking in it. Yeah.
It is, and you know, man, I never go this way, and your dad would be happy I say this. But when I'm on Twitter,
racism doesn't exist. It's fake.
Listen, no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. We believe in racism, guys.
Yeah. When I'm on Twitter, though, when it comes to this situation, it is very, very race driven. Like, it is so bad, and it's white side. Yes, I mean it is very like, but
the thing is, you never want the white people to be right. The thing is, when the white people have they're like empowered by the fact that Caitlin Clark is a better basketball player. but see, and it's not that common. It's more like when they like go at like how Angel acts, and then they have to say like typical, and it's like see, like that shit bothers me. Some of it's like tongue in cheek with like Caitlin Clark's better, but I will say like the Angel supporters, man, it's rough to where I've been called some shit. Oh, really?
Bro, just because I'm like, no, Caitlin's better. They're like, oh, I mean, bro, I've been called some shit.
I mean, you don't even want to say it, and you blush to even say it.
And every time I'm like, yo, listen, I'm on your side. like if you know what people say about me,
you're like, bro, Angel Reese is a queen to me. I don't know what you guys are even mad about.
Listen, I'm not going to mention her button plant because I'm not going to disrespect her like that.
No, of course. I would say it, brother. Yeah. Ready. No, 100%, bro. I think that it is a situation where the conversation. Oh, by the way, I didn't read your last comment. My bad. Andretti said people are making it racist because it sells, just like Magic and Bird.
I'm not.
Andretti said he gives us the permission to say whatever word that we feel like is appropriate right now. If we feel the urge.
No,
to say it in regard to the Angel Reese thing, if it's kind of frustrating us a little bit.
No,
it is an all-out assault on Caitlin Clark. So I mean, if that makes you feel like you need to say anything, brother,
no, it's just okay. I don't like being called racist. By people that I support.
No,
it's like listen, I know how I look, but can I not be a fan of Caitlin Clark? Just as a human, she's a good person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Angel's not. And that's the thing is like no one, like some people might, but Angel seems like she's a good person. Like
I just hesitate to just.
She seems like she's someone that she's sad. She just seems sad. Like she wants more attention.
I hesitate to proclaim these people good people. I feel like that tag holds a heftier weight than I think what you're giving it. You know, it's like we don't know them, so I'm not going to say they're bad people. But it's like who the fuck knows? They could be shitheads.
Brother, I'd see people benefit of the doubt.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fine. That's
Until I know how they voted.
No, me too. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying either way.
Who's still my favorite quarterback? You Trump son of a.
Did Paul just get his black card? Paul, how's that feel? I don't know. You might have. That's what they're saying in the comments. They're saying, did Paul just get his black card?
No, man. I'm like, we're never going to talk about it.
He's like, hell no, I don't have a black card. I'm broke.
I've been on the side.
Andretti, they both are beautiful young women. Yes, I agree with that. I mean, that's one of the best things Angel Reese has ever done was those photo shoots. Jesus Christ, brother, make me blush. Honestly, I can't help it. My complexion, I can't help it.
She looked very pretty in those photo shoots.
I think we should bring them together for a collab. I mean, I think that's what Angel Reese has really been trying to do this whole time. I mean, when she got fouled by Caitlin Clark, and it was basically like a bullshit. Like
it's a hard foul, but
it's typical with basketball.
Yeah, it's a basketball play.
Yeah, it's not anything personal.
Which they both did say in the press conference.
You said what?
I think they both said that in the press conference, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, go ahead. Say what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit ago now. But they may have acknowledged that, but even if you acknowledge that, then it goes to say even more, why the fuck overreact?
Emotions.
And you could say that. But then it's like, yeah.
Don't say like, typical.
I'm not necessarily saying typical. I'm just saying like, I mean but it is an overreaction. We can call it what it is. Like it looks silly doing it. So it's like you can explain to us as to why you ended up doing that thing, but it doesn't really like justify it. It's just like, oh, okay, well, so
Okay, you know,
you threw a tantrum.
maybe she doesn't hate her, but Caitlyn really grinds her gears.
Yeah, but there's no reason for that. That's jealousy.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's jealousy.
Like I said, I think she's sad. I think she's sad because Caitlyn gets a lot more attention. Like the whole thing
Cameron
about
break
like
that baby.
like
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the fine women of basketball.
like
the NBA.
the whole Caitlyn doesn't. She's not the only one that drives ratings. It's like, come on, listen, yes, she is. She's not the only, but she was the driving force.
Sure. Well, I think
and her absence proved that.
I think this is the thing. This is part of the problem. Is that Caitlin Clark is a professional athlete through and through. Like I saw Andretti, he just said something about Kobe, but that's something that kind of comes to mind. Like that level of focus in an athlete, I think is what you see with her. She's focused on basketball.
Oh, that's it.
And so I think, where you're right, this drives all the ratings and shit like that. And it would have been beneficial to the league if Caitlin Clark was more willing to play ball, but you even see in this scenario where she fouled her and then Angel Reese gets up and is trying to walk her down. She just walks away from her. She's like, bitch, I have no fucking goddamn energy for this. So, and it's evident, I think, and when you see their games progress, I mean, Caitlin Clark is significantly better this year and she has a full handle on that team. And you've seen even last year that there was some friction with her kind of like getting the buy-in from the team.
It was like when LeBron went to Cleveland.
Sure, exactly. Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. It was the best player ever. Went to a team that they were like, I don't think so, and then they had to be like, oh yeah, for sure.
She's nice. Yeah,
she's nice. She is that. She's going to be the best female basketball player of all time.
Yeah,
and I mean, she'll go down as one of the best overall shooters of all time.
And if she's here, then maybe I could be in commercials, and that's pretty cool too. That's what they should be thinking.
Oh yeah. Oh my god,
you ain't gonna be in a fucking State Farm commercial.
Drives, be her friend.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, on the team.
Oh my god, I
already saw a State Farm commercial with the team in it. So it's like whatever the fuck you're getting paid from that is honestly,
Caitlin.
Yeah, already exactly. Thank you, ma'am. Speak to that queen with respect. Y'all, good point. He said, yeah, good point. They need to push Sabrina and CC or Paige and CC.
Sabrina,
but it's going too hard with Angel being so famous. Yeah, no, I definitely see that. And also just like people who are not even WNBA fans and don't watch are familiar with that rivalry. So that rivalry has, because of some of the like social implications, has crossed over out of sports into like basically a pop culture sort of thing.
But
like I said, God bless the photo shoots.
Brother, we talked about it last week a little bit, and I told you it's just like with the all women cast or all women anything, people still just cannot buy in. It's just more and more people are, but it's going to take daughters. It's going to take daughters telling their dads, hey, listen, you ain't shit if you're going to be against this. And then be all right, I got to be, the hero in my daughter's eyes.
Hold on. It comes down to fathers, brother. Hold on. What about mothers? Could you reaffirm that? Just saying, you kind of put it right on the father's
watch
plate.
More too, but if fathers drive the television more often than homes when it comes to sports, right? Well, I would argue that's
up to women, I think, to get more invested in basketball. That would help. That would help the ladies.
That would help, yeah.
Yeah, rather than just
but I think
rather than counting on me or you turning off the fucking NBA finals, which is not going to happen.
Okay. Time and place, brother. Time and place.
I don't give a fuck if you clone Caitlin Clark's ass and put one of her on every team.
But put it on and show your daughter and be like, hey, how is this? And then boom. Like maybe it sparks interest.
Well, I mean, I think putting them
will grow.
Putting the WNBA in 2K, like that's a cool thing.
Yep,
I thought that was cool. Got to be realistic though. My daughter out there is fucking getting buckets on me with some fucking 5'5" fucking guard. I was like, that makes no sense. I'm fucking like, come on, I'm Pascal Siakam right now. That wouldn't happen. That would not happen.
No way.
But no, I think I agree. I mean, I think the thing is, we have to be, it's actually pretty recent history that the NBA has even been legitimized. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching Street Beefs. I don't know if anybody out there watches Street Beefs. It's fighting shit. They're like in the grass.
It's so bad.
But when I watched that the other day, I was watching it. I was thinking, I was like, in reality, the UFC is only like 30 years old or however old, like 25 years old. And at one point they were fighting with no fucking gloves on. They were wearing gis during the match.
It's really
they had the rounds there were no rounds at one point, so it was just fight until when you die.
Dana and Saudi really made it grow.
So it's just interesting to think about, like, you know, you kind of, I think, because we're in a modern era where these things in our lifetime have been established, we kind of think of these like upstarts as kind of like lesser than and not worth our time a little bit.
Yeah, XFL
here exactly. Denzel, well, Deuce Andretti is about to pop in here, just so it doesn't startle you with your headphones. I gotta put my headphones on too, so just give me 1 second, Andretti. UFC is 30. Thank you for that in the comments. UFC is 31 years old. So yeah, I think a lot of times, like I said, we're just coming from a bias where our entire life, you have things like UFC, NFL, but bro, like. Oh, let's go. All right, brother. Can you hear me?
Yo.
Yeah, but can you hear me, brother?
All right. You look great. You look great. You sound great, brother. No, you're all good. I was just wondering how this was gonna come through. We haven't done this yet with the new angles and all that. I'm looking fucking crazy with the headphones on now, but it's all good. We're rocking. Yeah, brother. Did you have some?
Oh no, I'm just missing AirPod. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? We're here. We're back. What's up, y'all?
No, we're vibing. We're in the building. Hey.
Yeah, I want to say with the CC Caitlin Clark thing, man, like it's kind of weird.
Yes, please.
Because I feel like people made that shit pretty racist, and I don't feel like it really had to be. I think Ryan Clark was a little out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? He got a little out of pocket, but he that was his intent to get out of pocket with that situation. Yeah. So
he just doesn't like Robert.
Yeah, that's
no, he does not like Robert. You could tell. I mean, I don't like Robert after what he did to Washington, but you know what I'm saying?
Brother, what they did to him. What they did to him.
Yeah, he actually revived you, brother. He was the first one.
And we can actually, that was Kirk, unfortunately. I hate to give Kirk that credit, but after that rookie year, it was ugly.
You might be right.
It was ugly. I mean, fucking good old Kirk. But no,
let me hit these real quick. I think, here, Deuce, just real quick, just because I'm going to get right back to you. No, so Emily, we got Get 'em Kendra, and then we have Hey Big Baby and Kenny. Also, I got Paul in here. We have Deuce Andretti, just so you know. But you go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure to get these comments before, because sometimes we chop it up so good that I end up getting to the comments, and the comments are talking about some shit we talked about 30 minutes ago. And then I'm like, damn, I don't even remember.
That's all right. That's all right.
They said, so happy to see you doing your thing. Go ahead, Deuce.
But no, yeah, man. I think, what do y'all think, though? Like RG3, I felt like he was kind of trying to be a victim a little bit on there. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was I get it. You talked to, he probably shouldn't have mentioned the man's wife. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sensitive.
Yeah, but, that's kind of
it's flagrant.
The line for me.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty clear line for most people. And I think that's where just basically the community, for the most part, online. I mean, most of what I saw online were people being disgusted by Ryan Clark. I didn't see that much support for him. Of course, you're going to see on Twitter any range of opinions. As the more fucking disgusting, the better. So I did see some support on there, and some people that took it even further than Ryan Clark. Some people that wouldn't mind seeing some.
Yeah, dude.
Robert Griffin III.
Ryan
100%. It was foul.
No, there was some disgusting. There was some disgusting racism.
RG3. Yeah, RG3. I felt bad for him at one point. They were violating that man. They were posting pictures of his family. I'm like, oh my god.
Bro, it's so wild. But Ryan has to be big brother. No LSU connect. So he really defends the LSU Tigers. And Angel Reese, I feel like he just had to fucking go to bat and went way too far.
I think, but that's part of our issue sometimes. Feeling like we don't have to defend every single thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you don't, it would have been to defend her to just not have an opinion on the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be quiet would have been, that would have sufficed as defense. You don't have to get on your horn and criticize people for just having an opinion on something that happened in the public. Like anytime, the thing is, it would be stupid for us to get on this podcast here, being what I would consider mostly private citizens, and to not and if somebody to get on here and criticize us and let's just shut the laptop. And like, well, that wasn't allowed to fucking happen. Like, it's like, the thing is, that is the whole. It's part of what prevents people from doing things like this, but that's part of the agreement.
Well, you know what I mean. That's what I was going to say about Ryan is sometimes, listen, man, when you're as opinionated as he is, and you're as loud as he is, you're going to swing and miss. And this was a swing and miss, and he'll recover.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, but he articulates himself pretty well. I felt like with this, he articulated pretty decently, but it just was like off the mark.
It wasn't a
You know,
mistake. I think Andretti's. Is that what you're trying to say? Because I agree with you. He didn't get misinterpreted.
Like he
motherfucker said what he said.
He said what he said, and he meant to say it, but I feel like he should have went a different direction. It didn't land. The plane didn't land. The landing gear never came out.
Yeah, definitely no. It definitely failed on it.
100%.
Yeah, but I think we're all in agreement on that. I think the problem, and I think we're probably also in agreement on this, is that his initial statement is probably how he felt, and why he's kind of stepping away from his statement a little bit is because the public correctly received his statement as hateful and basically fueled by some kind of, whether it be jealousy or just maybe there's a legitimate issue from when they worked on ESPN. I don't know. Maybe like there's some shit.
I think Ryan wanted some milk. I think he wanted a tall glass of milk.
No, that's how he tried to defend himself. He's like, yeah, no, I fucked a white woman before. I should be allowed to say that. That's literally afterwards. He's like, well, a lot of people don't know, but I actually have a half-white child. We don't give a fuck about that. How does that have anything to do with what you said about him? You might feel the same way about them, which would be disgusting. But
you want that milk back. That's what that is.
Exactly. No, bro. Hey, come on now. Thing is, and I'm going to pull it up right now. And look, I don't want to talk about Robert Griffin III's wife too much either. But I mean, let's see here.
You got to do it, brother.
Come on. Wowza. You feel what I'm saying?
That's the second one. That's the second tall glass of milk.
Look, he traded the 2% in and got himself some whole milk. You feel me? Man climbed up the ladder. I'm not mad at him on it.
Well, he went to Sweden to get that goat milk, boy.
100%. Hey, no,
he went to the mountains of Sweden to get that milk.
That shit is fresh, and if I'm not mistaken, the chest is enhanced. If you feel what I'm saying.
Money was spent.
Money was spent.
He definitely upgraded. The merch.
There's definitely an upkeep.
Well, look, there's a difference between disrespecting a woman and then obviously objectifying her, and that's what we're doing here, to be clear. So let's just move on.
That's what y'all are doing.
That's what I was doing. Look, hey, at the end of the day, I just wanted to close it out with something nice. And Miss Griffin the Third, Mrs. Griffin the Third. I mean, just wowza, good for you, lady. I'm sure. Look, Robert Griffin, he looks very happy. I mean, Paul, you're not even seeing the picture. Look at how this man's grinning in the picture. He looks fucking nuts. You can see it over there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Bro, he's so happy to stand next to her. Look at him. He's just looking like
he's got the fucking power line glasses from the way that they lined the picture up. Great.
The way that they did the article, it looks like Ryan's staring at him. Yeah. like a big ass smile, like gee.
Yeah, he's like, hell yeah, I love that interracial love. Fucking sick motherfucker. Yeah, no, you're right. He wants that milk for himself, brother. Come on now, wipe it off your mouth. Wipe it off your mouth, brother.
Yeah.
But so we have right here.
He was looking too hard at her Instagram.
Let's see what Ryan Clark said. Just because we're here, so fuck it, we might as well.
And he tagged the guy again. Stop tagging this man. He's
harassing him. Robert Griffin III is supposed to put it behind him. He wants to talk about fucking bread and milk and shit. The shit that we love. Let's see here. All right. So Ryan Clark says, if I had to address RG3 again, I wouldn't include his wife.
Yeah.
No shit.
Pretty good takeaway.
He learned a lot from this. I will say he's taking away the main points.
He's I figured he would get back.
Coachable still to this day.
What a guy, man. What a guy. Class act, Ryan. Class act.
She didn't need to be made an example of in order to make my point. I'm glad he realizes that's exactly what he did.
We grow. We only grow.
We do grow. Literally a week later, after we see our fucking bank account and our fucking our sponsorships declining, we grow quick as fuck.
When that Disney rep called and said, "Hey, you need to go make another post now."
Bro, that's just like fertilizer. You start to grow real fucking fast.
Well,
grow in ways you didn't even know you could grow.
He's not the only one that waited a week to apologize.
Oh, what else?
Yeah, the ESPN lawyer called and was like, "Hey, buddy,
Elon,
we got a lawsuit pending. We got to go ahead and make a statement."
We're having too much fun. We're having too much fun talking about this shit. Here, let me just finish his statement and then we'll get off this. I could have easily pointed to the positive impact a connection with Black women had on the way you see, understand, and treat them. The optics of his video and personal history with RG3 played a part in how I addressed him. I didn't insult or attack her, but no matter the intent, and handling the impact was different. Let her and her family be. If you disagree with his takes or even side with me on this one, there's no need to involve them. I involved her myself, and that's on me. And then he tags the pivot.
Leave Fred out of this.
He tags the pivot here. He says that at the pivotal moment live now on you at YouTube. And then he hashtags the pivot. Hashtag
good marketing. This motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good podcast.
Hey, look, that's the shit. I can learn some stuff from Mr. Ryan Clark.
Always be on.
Yeah, he just finessed. That's not no fucking apology. That shit happened like a fucking 2 weeks ago. He's using this as marketing. That's
marketing fucking budget. Yeah, he just shaved the marketing budget right there. And then we got a Go Pacers in the chat. Love that, Jaden Spade. Yes, man, definitely go Pacers. I'm with you on that.
Dude, I told you. I called y'all winning the series.
Well, I did you say I know you called the game that one game. I didn't know that you were flat out saying they were winning the series. Is that what you're prepared to say?
They're winning the series. They stole one game at home for OKC. That shit's over.
Yeah. No, I do think
OKC is not going to recover from that because the Pacers are not losing at home. It's over.
No. Yeah.
You feel the same?
I like I said, I think if Halliburton puts his shoulder down and wins the game for y'all, it's over.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like a circular kind of.
If you guys lose,
if he wins the game, we win the game, brother.
If you guys lose game 4, it's over for you guys. I think the winner of game 4.
Okay, hold on. Make us okay. We're not. Bro,
I said earlier that I got you guys.
Okay, I didn't catch that. Honestly, I didn't catch that earlier. Okay, I believe you. I believe you. I probably just missed that part. I definitely remember you saying that that we had the chance and all that. I just didn't remember you definitively making a pick. Me either, to be honest. I didn't make a pick, but
I guess I didn't definitively say you guys will win the title.
Yeah. But, okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
I almost bet on you guys too.
You should have then, because the odds were fucking out of this world.
Yeah, but at the moment, I'm telling you.
After the first win, they kind of settled in a little bit. The next game, still the odds were crazy, but then OKC ended up winning that, so you can't really. The odds were correct, I guess. But this game was much closer in odds, so they already kind of corrected that a bit. And but still, Pacers at home were a dog, like plus 600, plus 160 something or something like that.
What is it for game 4? You guys still down?
That's a great question. I think we are.
Dude,
I'll have to check.
Wild.
Yeah, I'll have to check.
Dude, she's so disrespectful.
Well, put some money on it. Be like me, bro.
No, I'll give you $5 for on it.
Oh man, yeah. Give me $5. Yeah. See what happens with it, brother. We're gonna flip that.
Give me $5 if I give me 50.
Yeah, exactly. Holy shit! Yeah, I'm about to actually check on the
give
lines.
Me some.
Yeah, let's. So the lines right now, yeah. So they got the Pacers are plus 185 right now. So hey, get in on that action if you feel confident about it. See, I don't know if I'm.
What's Halliburton's points at? 15 or 20?
It's great questions you're asking. I don't want to spend too much time looking at this phone, but you are asking great questions.
Hey, man.
Shit, I'm curious about. I will say. So. Tyrese Halliburton is at 5. Yeah, he's like, oh, well, let me just go ahead and make a deposit real quick. You're right. 18.5 is what he's at. So he's got to score 19 for
I'll take his over.
Take his over, bro. Be cautious with that. I'm just gonna let you know.
I believe in him.
I've taken a because I thought
he hits the bed.
Him and Caruso's over.
Yeah,
with y'all winning. There's the 3-leg parlay.
Okay, all right. So you're putting a little parlay together. All right, hey y'all, check out.
I'll throw you $5.
Check in with Paul on the parlays. He has no confidence in it. Will not place that on his own. Oh shit! Hey, I think that's on you, dude.
Someone got it.
That might be me.
Ooh, not my phone yet.
Guys, does anybody still have fucking ears?
Sorry about that.
I don't know what that was. That might have been mine. I'm not sure.
Did you get that? Mine. My phone. I'm on my phone.
Oh, there it is. That's kidnapped child, Miami-Dade. Sorry.
Shit. Somebody better go find his ass.
Always so sad. So sad.
Well, that's crazy.
You see what they did? I just seen some news on Miami-Dade. Some crazy shit's going down there right now.
Bro, I'm staying far away. I'm staying far.
I like Miami.
Oh, it's something to do with like
our audience on that shit. We might have made some deaf people out of the audience.
We might have pissed some people off. That was not planned.
Hey, but hey, they're rocking with us. They'll be back.
Hey, you know what? We can't control that. Yeah, we got kidnapped. We got to send it out.
Bro, that's what happens when you do a podcast with Batman. Sometimes he's gonna get the bat signal. It is what it is.
Sometimes it is what it is.
You tuned in, and at the end of the day, yeah. Now we're gonna wait.
If I blink twice, brother, it's not safe.
Now we got here, by the way, more comments. Closing says OKC defense is outrageous. but Pacers have a real chance. No, I agree with that.
Very true. Very true.
OKC's
defense is good.
OKC is just so dangerous. Everybody, you have to put respect on it. I appreciate Deuce, and you're making a confident call as well. But Deuce, you making a real definitive call there. It's like, and that's why I appreciated when you texted us the other night, because it's like, I think going in, there wasn't a lot of people giving the Pacers that kind of equal chance that we're looking at now, where I think most people look at it and they're like, well, hell yeah.
Is that guy, bro?
He's so good, man. He's just a good point
like
guard.
Steph Curry-esque, bro.
Like, if you guys don't want to keep him,
different.
I'll take Miami.
No, I mean, so I'll say this, like with Halliburton, I was happy when we made that move for him. I know with Sabonis at that point, the only thing that I was torn on was just that was a really important move for us, and we needed to get absolutely the most that we could at that time, and we were coming off of the fucking Victor Oladipo just fucking bullshit,
bro.
That man was Victor, just fucking let us down and started singing R&B. Well, he got hurt, and
then he came to Miami and never played.
That man's knees started giving out.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him, but I'm mad.
That's true.
I'm mad.
It wasn't just his knees, his back.
Yeah, no, there was health issues. The man was he was a victim of our healthcare system.
That's true.
You know what though? You know what it was though? Because in Miami, man, like they're very big on like being in tip top shape, physical.
Yeah, body percentage.
And they probably used up the rest of the miles he had just getting his ass in shape.
Yeah, burnt those knees out. Training.
No, 100%. He's like, I need a day off. He said, "Fuck you."
5% body fat. You gotta get.
He was trying to get that Haslam treatment. They're like, "Nah, buddy, you gotta be here for."
No, you gotta be the hometown hero.
You gotta be 5%, and Shaq was like the exception to the rule.
Yeah,
you gotta be 10%.
Well, I mean, and also when you're Shaq, you get to do that a little bit. When you're Victor Oladipo, we broke shit to bed for us. So I mean, I don't blame you.
And they made Shaq was
he had to be 10%, and then LeBron, they lost the game, and then they took the cookies from LeBron.
Wow, they took LeBron's cookies. That's
literally. So he always
Riley took his chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, so he would always, after every game, his routine is he gets to the team playing bus or whatever, like wherever, and he has these ladies that they make him fresh baked chocolate chip cookies, and he gets on the plane, they're not there, and he's like, where are my cookies?
The man asked where his cookies were.
Oh, bro, and he said no, and so then he went to bed. Right? No.
God, the longer this man plays, the more he just desecrates his fucking legacy.
Nope,
these stories need to die.
See you later, bro. I'm out.
And
that's how we lost LeBron.
People thought I was hating when I said he should retire 2 years ago, dog.
No, he should have retired, bro.
I called it back then. He should have retired.
What are you talking about? Listen, we don't got time for this conversation.
No, we have time.
But I'm not going to listen to that when he just had the season he had. Let's just stop.
It's embarrassing. He just has too many embarrassing, just personal moments where it's like you can't be the GOAT, like with how you fucking. And then like I said, bro, he's been real quiet after the whole Diddy shit popped off. Explain that.
How has he been quiet? I just saw him. He just on. You just
all right. Well, I'm not seeing Dark 30. I don't know. We got to algorithms. Yeah, he went 0 Dark 30.
I'm not buying that.
He says playoff mode. We said, LeBron, bro, you're not in the playoffs right now.
We're not doing
He said, no, I'm with the wife and kids.
We can't
bro.
We only have room for one king, and it's him and Henry. So we got two kings, Derek and LeBron.
Here, let me hit these comments real quick. So Cole says, "Yo, what's happening? Thank you for tuning in right now." And by the way, just so you know, Cole and anybody that's tuning in, I am going to be trying to shoot for a later time. We want to try to take advantage of that kind of audience and people's ability to be a little bit more free later on the night, including myself and Paul and anybody else that wants to come on. So just look for us a little bit later going forward. But yeah, we're definitely planning on being in here, and I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Jay Spade says, Halliburton is so fun to watch. He is fabulous. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that are coming into the NBA, and I think seeing like some of the younger talent in this finals, and even throughout the playoffs, this has been a really good showcase of that. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to derail too much, but we got to talk about Anthony Edwards, and I mean how he got donkey fucked by SGA. He got really embarrassed. Man, we don't really talk about it.
Was gone. His team disappeared.
The problem with Ant is he's not taking it serious yet. Like I heard him make a statement where he said, "Why would I be upset? I'm gonna be doing this a few more times." Motherfucker, that shit ain't promised.
To him, it is. He's a great player.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
but the thing is like his sense of urgency, right? Like when Kobe
yeah,
came in the league, like he was like, "Bro, I'm trying to win now." You like, there's no waiting. LeBron came in, I'm trying to win now. Fuck the waiting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's just like with AE, he's kind of had the perfect situation because he didn't have a Braun situation where he 6 years in and they still are struggling to get you another all-star player, right? At
yeah.
Cleveland. He came in, it's like, okay, you got Cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they got rid of Cat, you got Julius, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
It
You
didn't show
got
up though.
you said what?
Uh,
He said he didn't show up.
Julius just never shows up in the playoffs. He did it for
That's
the
what he
Knicks.
that's
He
what he
did it for
does.
Minnesota. Right. He,
Because in the playoffs, Julius is a third option. He's not
Mhm.
he's not a second option. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? That's just he needs third option looks. But it's like with AE, it's like, they put this great roster around you right away. There's really like you have the opportunity to win right now. Like this year, he should have won his first championship.
Mm.
This year, I mean, I owe it. And the problem was too is like I knew all he had to do was beat OKC. He wins his first championship. The problem is if you watch him in that series, he's already gassed. He ain't got no legs. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to
Yeah,
play. He's trying to
he ran out of
be a
legs.
two-way. Yeah, he's trying to be a two-way guy, and it's like, bro, you're not even in conditioning for that. What are you
Well,
doing?
Which he
And-
did say at his press conference.
Well, one thing that Deuce is saying here about like, I'm going to be doing this many times and all that. I want to get to these comments real quick, but I just want to touch on what you said there. That's exactly the opposite of why Ant got propelled to the level of stardom that he's at now. Like the whole reason people buy into Ant, his brand and his mentality is about like, I'm a hooper. I'm like of the same kind of cloth of Kobe and all that. I'm cutthroat. There are no friends. All this kind of idea. It's the exact antithesis of the brand that he's built up to this point.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh yeah, we lost. I'll be back.
Okay.
You sound like Dan Marino right now, bro. We know what happened.
But to be fair, the question was do you feel bad?
Yeah.
That you guys lost, and his point was that bad's not the way to like describe the way that he feels.
Mhm.
Yeah, they lost, but he has so much more time. He's going to go back and work hard to go ahead and get his team back there. But then he said, I feel bad for Mike. Talking about Conley, that was the next one. He said, because he doesn't have much left. So I need to go back and get myself to go ahead and do everything I can to get Mike a championship next year.
He's just not realizing that shit.
That's the point, though. That was this year.
Hey,
Mike would have won this year.
To realize that shit,
hey, but
bro.
they lost. I mean, shit.
Well, no, but
you have to look at Rudy as well. You have to look at look at everyone else in that series.
You want to feel a little bit more of a loss there, as a fan or just somebody that I'm a fan of him specifically, not the Timberwolves. But like I said, it goes against why I'm a fan and everybody that I know that is a fan of Anthony Edwards, that he's just like, hey, we lost one this year. I'm going to be back more times. Like, no, you lost one in a competition that I think that people were expecting more of a competitive series between them than they were with the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's not what we got. We got Anthony Edwards in more games than not, rolling over, and he played like shit even in a lot of those games.
Oh yeah.
Let me just hit these comments, but if you have anything you want to just to that up.
Yeah, all I was going to say about the legs is just that he had to make up for a lot on that team, and his legs are gone. But good.
So Cole said
the way they play is not good.
Yeah, the smooth recoil. Shout out to you, brother. I'm glad to see you in the chat. And I said this already, but I'm going to try to plug this as much as possible because I want everybody to know that we're going to be trying to do these later lives. That's going to be a focus for me going forward in the near future for sure. We're going to see how it goes. So just keep an eye out on your notifications later in the night. But Smooth Recoil said, last words heard, no party like a Diddy party. And then right after that,
outside of the party.
Hold on. And then Jada Space, the very next comment is LeBron, and then in quotes, ain't no party like a Titty party. James.
I'm not listening to these Pacer fans and you guys hating on LeBron.
No, that's the thing. No, but that's why I am looking at it. I'm like, the longer he stuck around, the more his kind of legacy is just kind of like weirdo shit. Him just doing fucking weird shit. Closing says Nesquik.
And LeBron's tarnishing it.
Yeah, it's just,
well, I'm gonna throw it back to you, Paul, here at the end. Here,
you don't.
I'll throw it back to you at the end of this so you can defend LeBron since he's getting some shit. But close things here says Nesquik, and then in parentheses Nesmith needs to get off the court for real. I mean, I will say in the Knicks, there's the first game that we came back, he basically single-handedly brought us back in the game. But I feel you. I'm a Nembhard guy. I think that what he brings defensively and he's somebody like obviously if you were watching the playoffs last year, he really does have a chance to really blow up and come out and pop off. But Cole has a Diddy party is not the kind of party I want to go. They said that's all I'm gonna say. No, that's facts though. Nobody wants to go to that fucking weird shit where fucking Diddy's rubbing fucking cum on his nipples. This is the thing. Let's keep it real, Paul. Knowing what we know about Diddy, do we think that Diddy did not he's salivating over fucking LeBron James? That's his fucking dream.
It doesn't mean that
He was
LeBron
massaging that man's shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, his eyes, he had anime eyes when he saw LeBron. When he laid his eyes on fucking LeBron.
Y'all gotta get off LeBron.
Dude, he saw LeBron and thought he was the Punisher.
Listen, there's a lot of people that went to those parties. Okay, there's an outside part of the party.
Frank Castle, come on in.
You got to go to the freak off just because you went to the party. Okay.
Yeah. And I feel that, but I'm just like
Marlon Wayne's. You said you saw Marlon Wayne's response to that?
I didn't see what he said.
No, what are we talking about?
He was. Oh yeah, you guys got to look at Marlon Wayne's talking about it. It was awkward.
This is going so.
He's like, I left early, all types of shit. Oh, you left early, huh?
Yeah. Oh, everybody left early. Diddy was just by himself, rubbing cum on his chest.
Listen,
nobody was there. It was just Diddy and fucking 10 male escorts.
Release the list.
Oh, brother, look, I think all the lists should be released.
That's fine.
I didn't get invited to none of those parties.
Let's watch the videos together.
You see Kanye
in a room.
I'm not ready for that.
Alone.
I'm not ready to watch LeBron pound out Denzel Washington.
Did you see
50 Cent
interview about it all?
I didn't.
50 Cent's
what are you trying to say?
Go ahead. 50 Cent's ex-wife, Daphne Joy, right, was also getting freaked off by Diddy. Still, her rent's being paid by Diddy to this day right now. Right?
She said every time she saw Diddy, she'd sleep with him.
Is that why 50 Cent's running around with the free Diddy shirt? He wants somebody to pay his ex-wife's rent.
Then it comes out today, right? It comes out today that Kanye West also is having freak-offs with 50's baby mama.
Jesus. Well, this is a godless
Kanye
industry.
West and his wife.
Yeah, godless.
His wife. Think about it.
Yeah.
Well,
who was his wife at the time, though? Was it the Bianca Censori or was it Kim Kardashian?
They probably all met there.
Everybody is thinking it's the new wife.
Well, 50 hasn't been with her, so
I'm confident that probably every single wife that Kanye West has had has been to one of these freak offs.
Kim K would.
Kanye West was talking about sucking his own cousin's dick, for God's sake.
Yeah, bro, that's the weirdest shit I've ever fucking heard in my life, brother.
By the way, here, Smooth Record says, "Don't, Paul. LeBron is a loser. Y'all are just finally being forced to realize it." And then we got Cole says the Beebs is looking rough. So, yeah, I mean, somebody go check on Justin Bieber right now. It's been like 30 minutes. Make sure he's all right.
I have to testify. That's why he's looking so stressed. He might be on that stand soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. You got to wonder. But I did see some. I mean, look, this doesn't mean that he should have been fucking sex trafficked, obviously. But I don't know if anybody's seen any videos of him with his wife. That man's the biggest asshole when it comes to his wife.
Stop.
Have you seen it?
Listen.
Oh, is it false? Is it fake?
A lot of it's fake.
Okay. A lot of it's fake. It might be fake. A lot of it's fake. I don't follow it closely, so I will say that is possible.
But also, she's a psycho.
I have seen that as well.
Dude,
she
but you can't just treat psychos like shit if you marry them, bro.
I don't know if he even fucking. I've asked him on Twitter and shit. Blink twice. Let us know what's happening, brother.
That
because
marriage should have been banned.
Yeah, because that was the bald one's going.
Bro, yeah. Hey, Justin Bieber, you better act right, man. Alec Baldwin pull out the fucking.
And then it came out that they like Scooter Braun, or I think like fucking took all his money. Listen, and you know I was on here one time. This was years ago.
Yeah,
talking about how Taylor was a little overreacting with the Scooter Braun thing because she signed contracts.
I remember you defended him. You 100% defended him. I remember defending Taylor Swift.
Scooter Braun's a piece of shit, by the way.
You're wrong. Scooter Braun camp.
He's wrong. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That motherfucker is he's smart though. I'll tell you that. He knows the music industry. He's able to.
You talking about Scooter Braun?
Masters.
Scumbag.
Yeah. Like if you don't want to sell your music,
that's crazy.
Go to the label.
So we got here.
You don't want to sell your masters?
What?
I'm gonna go right above
okay.
Yeah. I'm about to put him up. So this is from Close Things. How does bro have the name of a chocolate company and still get drafted to the Pacers? Oh nah. So we're talking about Naismith. Yep. They actually have I think it's a Nesquik factory in Anderson, Indiana, outside of. For all my Indiana people, you might know where I'm talking about. It might not even be Nesquik, but maybe
a sample.
Yeah,
the Wonka factory.
Jade Spade says anime eyes LOL. See, that's what I'm saying. If we take too long,
whose side are you on?
It ends up we're talking about some shit that we talked about 10 minutes ago. And then this is Cole says Close Things. I know you lying. Not the Coca company.
Cocoa butter.
Yeah,
cocoa
fair enough.
Chocolate.
Fair enough. Loud and clear. Smooth Recoil here says, hey, at least Paul LeBron probably first to suck his way up the ladder in the NBA.
Brother, what?
He says through Diddy. He says he sucked his way up.
Listen.
That's a crazy thing to say.
We can focus it all on LeBron, but we all know who's on Jeffrey's list.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just assume that LeBron was just sucking everybody's dick. I'm assuming that he was laying some pipe down inside of fucking.
He has never cheated on Savannah.
I doubt. Oh, bro, who the fuck? What?
He has never
says that. You believe that because LeBron said that?
I believe that
That's
because
crazy
it's the goddamn truth.
believe that.
It's the goddamn truth.
Holy
There's
shit.
some men out there that ain't gonna cheat on their wife.
Brother, you'll believe fucking anything. Then they're right. You will believe anything LeBron says. You think he never cheated on Savannah? Listen,
Brother,
God bless her.
King.
God bless her. She's a beautiful woman. Somebody was shitting on her the other day too.
That's dumb.
Do you remember who it was?
I don't know who. I didn't know someone was shitting on her.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, somebody. I think
Kevin Gates.
Kevin Gates. Yeah, Kevin Gates was saying that she's like ugly or some shit.
That's dumb.
And then LeBron responded with a post, right? LeBron responded with a post. Then Kevin Gates pulled a flex move. He literally pulled up with fucking half court fucking.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Seats.
Yeah, he was at one of the games. That's true.
Whoa.
He pulled him straight to the game. He wanted him to step to him like Stephen A.
Yeah, he's exactly.
Kevin Gates would get work in that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Kevin Gates is a big dude, bro. He's a big dude, bro.
An elite athlete, 6'7", who does box as training.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that LeBron isn't like we act like he doesn't. He's not ever gonna be able to throw hands. But
I mean, I just don't know. I'm not saying. I just
and then would LeBron have to throw a punch?
Why do you say that? Because his bodyguards?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you're gonna add bodyguards into the,
you came to the setting.
Is he gonna walk down on him like Stephen A?
You can't change. You can't change
Kevin Gates those gang members. Kevin Gates those gang members.
Okay, and LeBron doesn't. He's a
LeBron, I mean, look,
what I'm saying is courtside seats.
He does Diddy.
Courtside seats. You have courtside seats.
You got the game mafia on the side.
Right. LeBron walks down on him like Stephen A.
Yeah.
I just don't know how that goes.
I don't know. Kevin might give him the 2-piece. Lay him down. Lay him down on the logo.
Kevin might lick his toes.
Kevin might lick his toes too. No, because he's freaky like that. He might.
Freaky like that.
He might lick his earlobe. He might suck on his earlobe a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a little ditty in him. That's the thing. Yeah, but the thing is, look, it's an advantage. He'll take it where you won't.
Hey,
just know that
Diddy Joker video has a whole new
stick his thumb in your butt.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. Did I read this one?
So we all agree that the Diddy did get like certain people in the rap industry killed, right? Like we all think that the Biggie was a sacrifice.
Yeah, most likely.
Not like spirit, like sacrifice as no
Biggie
thing, but like
a play. Biggie
was a play. That's what I'm saying. A play that was all.
Here, let me get to these.
What
We're
about
a little
Aaliyah?
behind on the comments. I want to come back to this because this is a good topic. We'll come right back to that. Remember that, okay? Because I'm gonna forget it, and I'm gonna come back.
Remember that, brother.
Yeah, please, somebody. So Close Thing says, "Y'all, Trump loves Diddy, so he must be all right." That's true. Trump also he co-signed for that Epstein guy. Which I also heard.
Yeah. Trump and Epstein, they're friends.
Sick parties. And then Smooth Recoil says,
Elon, he on the list.
Exactly. Smooth says, "Not just the Dutch rudder, pal." That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure what he's referring to. Maybe that's one of the moves that LeBron was pulling at the free cost. I'm not sure.
Chocolate? Is that a chocolate?
No, Dutch rudder. That's one of those where wrestling moves. Paul, just stop asking questions, brother. Let me just tell you what a Dutch rudder is before you ask the wrong one. So I'm pretty sure the Dutch rudder is where you hold your cock and then somebody else moves your hand while you have your cock.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Classic. It's classic. It's not gay to do that with your boys. It's not gay to do
Double
that.
Dutch rudder. It's fucking. What movie is that from?
First
What
off,
is that
Goose and
from?
Ready, don't look at me crazy, bro. When you said Gates is big,
Yeah, brother.
Pauls. I didn't want to throw Pauls on that,
wow.
but you said, "Hey, Gates is pretty big." I'm not gonna lie.
What
All
movie
right,
was
brother.
that
Whatever you
from?
say.
Where they were double Dutch running.
Whatever the fuck you say, brother. I don't know. I can't speak on the man's girth, but you put it there. I'm just playing. We're having
big
fun.
pause.
We're having fun. It's been a while since we've been up this late, so we're vibing. So Smooth Recoil said, "Period poo."
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Cole says, "Paul is a Bieber lover." I see. Period.
Hey, man.
Hey, if you want to defend yourself, you're getting it now.
I ain't gonna hate on the kid. Okay, he got put
not.
into a bad situation because his parents agreed.
Mhm.
Okay, and then he got touched as a little boy.
He put into a bad situation, becoming a fucking billionaire at the age of 13.
And his parents stole his money with just like Scooter.
Yeah.
Okay, he got touched. He got touched places.
Yeah,
most likely.
Who?
And all those he's talking about Bieber because so Cole says
and my wife loves Bieber, so
Paul is a Bieber lover.
I got to love him.
I see.
Scooter stole Bieber's money. Oh shit!
You talked about that a while ago on the podcast. Well, maybe we didn't talk about that one. I don't know. I know we definitely talked about the Taylor Swift shit.
He's a thief.
He's a thief. So Cole said, "I'm blinking right now, brother, because his wife ain't it."
Not it.
All right, look. Hey,
he should have stayed with Selena, but now she got Benny.
He chose.
And Benny's a nice guy.
Do you believe that he hates her? Because everybody be saying he hates.
I got a YouTube video for you that's hilarious, so I'll have to send that to you.
I feel like it.
Yeah. But the thing is, maybe he's justified in that. But at the end of the day, you chose, to marry who you married.
That's very true.
So at this point, you gotta.
You said I do,
or you got to stop. You got to get out of the marriage, which is fine too. But do that.
Can't leave the bald ones. You see what happened.
Just don't beat her, brother. Don't beat her.
Take your ass out.
Next comment.
We got Emily here says Gates low key is kind of big. Just saying. Yeah, I mean,
wow,
same thing.
Jesus Christ.
Same thing. Do said hello.
Like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. How big is? Can we get in the comments? How big is Gates?
Yeah. Can we get a fact check on this because LeBron's 6'7", 250.
So if Jesse could have stayed out of prison, he might have made it to the league. Goddamn. So Jaden Spades, Kevin Gates. So this is Jaden Spades says the Tootsie Roll crap has to be accurate. So P Diddy, his dick was compared to a Tootsie Roll. Now I will say, there's a large variety of Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah. Okay. The short, the long, skinny.
Damn.
There's like a rectangle one. All of them are a little pitiful. Or is it like the Tootsie Roll can?
Oh, holy shit! You're really going to bat for him. Nobody said it was a Tootsie Roll.
I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about here. Okay.
Jaden Spade, hop in the chat and let us know what.
Crazy.
A Tootsie Roll is nuts. Now we're all very familiar with the little tiny itty bitty pizza roll the size of ant, right? So I hope.
What's your favorite flavor?
What do you mean? I didn't even know there was flavors of pizza. Tootsie Rolls.
What?
Yeah, just chocolate.
No,
right?
They got vanilla.
Oh shit.
They got lime, lemon, orange.
Sounds like a freak off. Sounds definitely like a freak off, Paul. I don't know.
Like pretty good.
Paul's having a freak off.
Like what he was into.
So Cole says, "Listen, Kevin kicks women at his concert. That did happen. He's definitely beating some people down, bro.
He's definitely spit on people.
Oh, I have let me run by this. Everybody in chat. You guys can let me know how you feel about this. I've done some writing. I have this stand-up thing. I want to get your opinion on it because it's about this. So like what Cole's saying as far as like Kevin kicks women in the face. It's just basically about the level of freedom. It's like it's ultimate free will for you just to fucking let your hands go and punch a woman across the face. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, obviously, let me just bring it all the way there.
Let's give you the floor. Let's really
elaborate, brother.
Yeah, let's really hear me out and really try to have an open mind here. But it's like, think about all of the societal training that you get as a man. Everything in my body obviously tells me don't hit a woman.
Yeah, of course.
Like you could, you could yell at them. Obviously, you could scream at them in their face as loud as you want.
You could pull their hair and throw.
You could throw things at them. I'm kidding. This is all comedy, but
jokes.
Genuinely, you know what I'm saying? You can have an argument with them, but just to fucking hit a woman is so fucking insane.
Okay,
in my opinion.
So you're saying if someone does that,
the amount of freedom that they must feel.
Entitlement.
I'm saying, and this is part of the routine, but I'm saying genuinely think about this. Think about the amount of restraint that you feel in your shoulder area all day. Just not throwing hands, not punching people in the face, not smacking your wife across the face because she said some stupid shit. Imagine you never had to restrain your hands like that. You know what I mean? Imagine at any point you could do anything with those hands.
And I still wouldn't.
And you know, I don't. And I personally believe this is still the case.
Like a philosopher.
When she yells at me, I say sorry.
Well, I'm just saying,
I'm sorry.
But if you were to just let that go one time, you would really understand that you could do anything in this space. You know, this space is completely.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fixed.
I can dominate it.
You could dominate your space.
My bubble.
You can dominate your space and anybody in it.
My bubble, my space.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, I want to make sure because we get back to it, but because I could honestly talk about this for hours. So Cole said, "Listen, Kev." So he was just talking about Kevin Gates kicking people in the face at his concerts. People who pay to be front row is just fucking crazy kicking. But I think they were trying to grab his cock and stroke it from the bottom of his pants.
Okay.
Cole said he got hands and kicks. It's true. He's a well-rounded fighter. Smooth Recoil says yes. Diddy fucks LeBron. Hey, no, yeah, we're going crazy tonight in the chat. The chat's going crazy. Thank you, Smooth Recoil.
And there goes any invite of mine to LeBron's. Okay?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Smooth.
Yeah, or
really ruined that.
And then he also says, by the way,
he's going to spend $1 million to make sure this never gets aired.
Yeah. No, that might be the strategy.
Everything just shuts down right now.
Keep it up. The
Maverick Carter's on it.
But he said, "Don't pretend, Paul." Or Paul, don't pretend.
Pretending.
And then he also said, he just doubled down. Smooth Recoil again. Yeah, you heard, Paul.
You heard what I said.
You know he fucked him, Paul.
You're thinking about it right now. In and out, in and out, in and out.
Holy shit! Wow. All right, Paul. All right, Paul. Don't put that sick shit in all of our brains. Holy shit! All right, Ronnie said, "Hey, Pacers in 6." No, I love it. We're definitely
bring it back.
We're on that right now.
Let's bring it back to something.
Yeah, 100%.
More structure.
Hey, I might try to stream during the end of that game because we might end up being able to bust out some tears for that one. I don't even know. They're not tears of laughter, which those are already starting to come up. Cole says he definitely got touched in his no square, but you know he definitely got some money, brother. Yeah, I mean. Oh, by the way, we got a fact check. Cole says Gates is 6'3". Just looked.
Ooh, 6'3". Hey, he's a big guy.
He's a solid 6'3".
6'3", about 240, 230.
Yeah. Hey, all right. God bless him. Hey, I think we need to see them face off. Fuck it.
That would be a decent little boxing match.
There you go. Emily said, I literally met
Kevin
him.
Gates went to prison, man.
So Emily's saying she can fact check it. She stood next to the man.
She said, I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there. The man's 6'3".
No,
and stout.
I believe you. No reason for me not to believe you.
No, I believe that too, honestly. But it is a good point that she says that because there are times that you see shit on the internet and people say there's some height or whatever, and then you see him in person, they're a little guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm 6 foot. It's like, well, that's 5'8", what we're seeing in person. Yeah. And then Smooth Rico says, Paul said, all plentiful. I don't know, brother. I might have got to this one too late. I'm sorry. Paul, yours is chocolate all the way. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's your favorite?
Okay. So in order is cherry.
In order.
Okay, that's lime, orange, lemon, vanilla.
Yeah, bro, that sounds like the fucking Tootsie Rolls that they had the lady fucking eating or Get Out or whatever. Fucking crazy fucking white people pizza or Tootsie Rolls. Who the fuck eats fucking lime and cherry candy? That's fucking disgusting, brother.
What?
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls. That's fucking gross.
It's a chocolate candy, brother.
Can we be real about something? It is Tootsie.
Oh, what am I saying? Tootsie Roll?
No,
Tootsie.
Everyone else says Tootsie.
I say Tootsie too.
I don't understand it. It's COOT. So it's Tootsie Roll. Right, and I've had this debate my entire life, and I swear it's the most I will never been.
You got it, brother. I'll let you win this one. Shit. All right. It's Tootsie. You're real fucking specific on that. Let's get it right.
It's just like Audi, not Audi. What are we talking about?
Closing says, pause. Yeah, I'm sure there's many things that could be paused throughout this conversation. So I thank you for saying that.
It's just way off.
Yeah. The regular tiny Tootsie Rolls. I'll never look at a Tootsie Roll the same way again. Damn. Okay. Jada Spade's confirmed.
Every time you eat it, you think Diddy.
It's the itty bitty Tootsie Roll.
He's even violating your brain without even trying.
I mean, is it
no
even
wonder he's having freak offs.
I mean, bro, one thing I will say though, if you got a Tootsie Roll in your pants, you got to go become a billionaire. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And
then no one
has freak offs.
I mean, if you ever want to freak off in your life, you better become a billionaire because nobody's gonna fucking stroke your little fucking Tootsie Roll.
There are polls about it. Micro penises.
No, of course. I mean, they're probably all fucking millionaires, which I respect. Jada Space
probably
says
why they're billionaires.
100%, brother. I mean, just a regular tiny Tootsie Roll. See, it's just not even natural to say.
I'd rather be compared to like a rich bitch like roll, like
Bro, they got to be trolling with that shit.
Tootsie Roll.
Think about that. You don't know what that was. Like, what if they were just trolling the fuck out of him with that shit, like in court?
Oh yeah,
just to be assholes.
Well, maybe they're trying to get him to spaz out. Like they're gonna keep talking crazy about him. Like, yeah, this motherfucker rubs cum on his nipples. They're just like, if he truly has anger issues, I mean, we're waiting for him to spaz out. They said some shit about you that, like, any man might get a little emotional about. I'm just gonna be honest. If you're saying I'm letting my lady get pounded out by the Punisher, shit. If you want to stand up in court and you want to speak for yourself, I would respect that as a man. The fact you're not, I gotta look at it. I gotta go ahead and slip in that guilty verdict, bro. You did it. You fucking did it.
Right. That's so you be real quiet. You be real quiet,
bro. Come on. Yeah, the Diddy I saw on the street, fucking talking down fucking pedestrians trying to trick or treat.
Well, I'm just
would not allow that shit to slide.
If you did not tune in live, you would never see this video.
We might get killed.
This is never getting out.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one thing that we should know. Everybody that's watching this, if anything happens to us, fucking Diddy did it. Diddy did it.
Diddy or LeBron.
Oh shit. So,
no,
yeah, that's true. That's true. If it's just me and Deuce, then it was LeBron.
I'm standing firm on my king.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was loyal, but honestly, LeBron's such a sick fuck. He might take you out just to make it messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I'm glad you admitted to that. Fucking, this is your king. Sick. Closing says, nah, Tootsie Rolls are still bus. I don't care. So I'm saying is bus
good?
Is that like busting? Is that what the kids are saying?
Or bus? Like
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So they might be saying bus as in bad. I'm just being a humble old man.
I'm good.
I'm not confirmed with the lingo. I don't know.
At least it didn't
I'm
look
not a
like
YN anymore. I'm an OG.
How many licks? One, two.
Close said at least it didn't look like a Tootsie Pop. That's fucking insane.
That's skinny.
Sadly, that like a virus infected my mind just now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to forget that later.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Gang. So Cole says Cherry is definitely trash as fuck, Paul.
Yeah, wow.
That's fair.
Wow.
Bro, I mean, look, people
respectfully disagree, but wow, this guy, yeah, I'm saying he's really coming for me.
Yeah, Bieber would be ashamed on that. Oh my god,
he's Canadian. What is he though?
Yeah, I mean, hey, he might actually eat the cherry fucking Tootsie Pops. He probably says it like that too, like a fucking. Never mind. I got you. So that's probably about the us getting killed thing. So I appreciate that, Smooth, and I believe that you would have us on that. Not you, Paul. You're a LeBron nut hugger. There you go, Joe. LeBron nut hugger, brother. You feel free to defend yourself. Look, it's fine. He honestly is being disrespectful, so it's like Paul even made licking and biting noises.
I was doing the picture roll pop, the fucking owl commercial.
Yeah,
how many licks
does it take, brother? You get back to us.
That's what he does.
Oh my god, I'm crying. You get back to us after the freak off.
You made the noise, brother. Jesus Christ.
I did make the noise.
Yeah, no, you walked right into that.
We did a gay rap, man. This is really going downhill.
Oh yeah, no, you guys, you missed Paul's gay rap.
It's going way downhill, brother. What's going on?
You guys missed Paul's gay rap.
LA riots are happening.
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, we probably shouldn't get into the gay rap right before the fucking.
I forgot what you said. Not to forget about, but that's.
Oh fuck yeah! See, that's the thing.
No, it's probably safe right now.
Good shit.
Probably safe right now with all the riots and shit going on.
To do what?
I thought you guys were trying to get into some spicy topic.
Oh well, yeah. But here before we get into the next topic, we do have some other topics we can get into before it gets too late. So the biting and licking noises from Paul. So just want to relive that comment. Closing says, this is sounding like a South Park script. One of the greatest cartoons of all time.
And I actually put that on Facebook. My question was, name a better cartoon than South Park. And there wasn't an answer. There isn't one. There isn't.
Well, I mean, this depends on your criteria
American
for that.
Dad.
I'd say hell no on that.
American Dad loses to Family Guy.
I mean, hey, I think there's argument. Definitely Family Guy has an argument, but I wouldn't agree with
I
that,
respect your opinion, Goose. You're allowed
And
it.
then what about Futurama?
That's a classic. Now South Park.
You're naming some of the good ones, though. Yeah, for sure.
Simpsons, great.
These are the movies the shows that I think would be in the discussion. But I would agree with you as well. This was the topic we didn't get to the other day because we ended up getting other stuff. But I had on our rundown sheet, what age is it okay to introduce your kid to South Park?
Okay, so I've had this thought.
Yeah.
So I remember one of my best friends growing up, Brandon Hurley, gave me his brother's copy of South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut, the movie, the greatest musical ever created.
Okay.
When I was in 5th grade, and I was, let's see,
It's probably too early.
I was 10. I was like 10.
Okay.
So my son's 11. I still haven't. He's about to turn 12 in September. I still haven't shown him South Park.
Has he seen it?
No, not yet.
Himself?
I'm thinking about soon because I mean, you gotta. Part of it is seeing it a little too early.
Yeah.
And being like, this is insane. What is this?
Yeah.
Like me being 10, saying they're gonna knock down my shitty wall because I saw that episode where the Chinese dude was building a city wall to protect him from Mongolians.
Yeah.
I got in trouble at Thanksgiving dinner or breakfast for saying that to my grandmother. Then you watch the Bigger, Longer, Uncut, and it's, hey, they're talking about a clitoris.
Sounds like a porno.
And you're like, and you have to ask your dad, like, Dad, yeah, what is a clitoris? And it's like, oh shit. Well,
How
you
ready
know,
do you think he is for that in your case? I guess it's maybe
YouTube kids these days are much more, again, not like bad shit, just like scientifically and like watching shit. They're a little bit more grown and he's a little more mature, but I think after 12, I think I'll let him watch. Man, it's just such a time and movie. I mean, blame Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's why I think it's a question. Like I had it on the list because I was kind of thinking a similar thing to you. Out of all the shows that I watched growing up, it was for sure one of the most like formative and definitely challenged me from a comedic standpoint, like just like what I was taking in, what could be funny, what could be laughed at, because they push that a lot. So there's like so much, I think, value that could be mined from it in that way that it almost makes it worth the traumatic, the traumatic baggage that, like, I don't know. But the thing is, there's just some episodes. It's like, so like the Uncle Fucker
Star Wars
song,
would be a good one.
the Uncle Fucker song, like this kind of stuff,
strong.
like all that is really, really pushing it. And
One of the best songs ever.
maybe even I can get on board with that. But then like, sometimes, you get with South Park episodes where they're like literally going inside women's vaginas.
The one where they went in the
abortion clinic.
the butthole with the rat.
There you go. So stuff like that. It's like that's just like a whole nother
the mouth.
The one, the COVID one where they're like Randy keeps on getting caught like beating off and
Cartman kills the one kid's parents and puts them in the chili and feeds it to him.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's why I'm such a sick American, because that for some reason I'm like I don't really have as much of an issue with that.
But the Star Wars episode, fantastic. The whole Star Wars series, and then but again, I mean everyone dies. It gets really gory. But South Park, I mean we had Happy Tree Friends, we had South Park, we had a lot of other stuff. I'm just not going to show him stuff like American Pie and stuff at like 12.
Do you remember the I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was on Comedy Central. And I want to ask you, by the way, your opinion on this, Deuce. I'm curious, like your relationship with South Park growing up, and if it kind of had a similar impact on you. But there's another show that was on Comedy Central where they were animated, but they were supposed to be like reality.
Dude, I was just talking about the show my brother today with Foxy Brown. And
what the fuck was that show called?
And it had so it was Foxy Brown, it was Betty Lou, it was all that, because I was talking about how like Foxy Brown was like, dude, like turned me on. I was like a little kid.
I was wanking to that as a kid for sure. Hardcore.
Dude, weird. It was weird. Because we're talking about anime, and I was like, I'm not into anime, but like, because it just
what are you talking about? I was on Adult Swim.
Yeah, it was on Adult Swim.
I don't remember it on Adult Swim. I remember it on Comedy Central.
Maybe it was Comedy Central. Then yeah,
I definitely remember. Maybe Adult Swim. I don't know. I just didn't. That's not where I saw it. It was the animated show. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. Reality.
I know what you're talking about, though. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Foxy had that thing going, boy.
Well, and they were like, it was super vulgar,
drawn together.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
I'll
what it is.
split up for the people so they
with Captain Nonzo. Yeah, Princess Claire. Dude, listen. So, that's the Betty Lou. Listen, I'm like, they had the things where she would get in like nightgowns. And I'm a fucking 11-year-old. Like,
I love this is the main thing you think about when you go back to these shows. You're like, oh my god,
that's what we're talking
about. Like, I used to put in a lot of work to these.
Put in some serious work. Whenever, I'm gonna pull up.
Some weird shit.
God. So y'all that don't know, I want to
like Lola Bunny.
Yeah, they had the fucking Femboy on there too. Remember?
Yeah, oh my god,
Paul's putting in some work.
LeBron, you know?
Yeah, but this show right here, if anybody didn't remember, just randomly.
Ling Ling. Oh
yeah, that was one of the most fucked up. They had the little characters like Pikachu.
Dude, so
here.
weird, bro. Spanky Ham.
That was on the level of South Park as far as like when I was watching, I was like, wow.
Jew producer. Who is that after?
Is that what it says?
Dude,
there's a character named Jew producer?
Yeah, then you look at his haircut.
Holy fuck.
You can tell that one got cut pretty quick.
Holy moly. All right, yeah, they went hard. That's really, I mean, that's just their point. Yeah, I see it here. Jew producer on here. I'll make it where you guys can see it on at home. But yeah, South, to ask you the question, Deuce, what was your kind of like relationship with that? And is that something that you think is even like important to show your kid? Or I mean, that's why I question it, because like part of me says you should, because I see some value to it, but I also obviously see the negative aspect to it and how like you show the wrong kid that. I mean, who the fuck knows? I mean, that could lead to a lot of so I'm just wondering, like, is it even your position as your parent to like try to like sculpt your kid's fucking sense of humor, or should that just kind of happen?
So I think you always have to try to like, hey, look here, like okay, I was just asking Lauren yesterday. When do we show movies like Juice? You know, like, I mean, I was about 12, 13 years old when I was watching movies like that. Yeah. Menace to Society, which I feel like was too early to watch certain movies. Don't be a menace to society while drinking juice in the hood. Yeah. But so I think your kid's maturity level is one. How can they handle that? What are they already into? I mean, again, I think it's better for like what my son's seen than me when I was a kid watching Varsity Blues and shit like that. I mean, even Friday Night Lights and shit, there's sex scenes, and it's like we watched as a football team in 5th grade.
Yeah, but even you're saying like, oh, I was watching Drawn Together and I was beating off to it in my bedroom. Yeah, I'm not
a pervert. And you know what?
No, but the thing
is, nothing wrong with that, brother.
The thing is, if there's more,
my son's not the same way.
Okay, so two things I want to say. If there was more of a filter, maybe you may have been able to prevent yourself from becoming a fucking disgusting, deviant pervert, for one. So somebody would have fucking saved you in the first case. You know, either way. But
no, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then I mean, really, I think that's the main thing. It is our responsibility in a way. Oh, and I guess the other thing I want to say is sometimes our perception of our kids' maturity can be a little skewed because the presentation that they give to you as the parent is obviously maybe different than the presentation that they're and even to say like maybe the presentation that they give to their friends and how they act around their friends, maybe it's less ideal of their actual maturity as well. So it's like goes both ways. Where their actual maturity lies, I don't know if you can actually trust your own experience as a parent fully. Obviously there's value to it, but it's like it can also be tricky.
Yeah, no, but I have a lot of conversations, which again, he could, I mean, I get it. Yeah. Every parent can say that. I just know that where he's at, I mean, he's at that stage where he's going through puberty, and it's like there's only so much you're going to be able to keep from him. I've called him out for like I know you look at girls' butts. He's like, what? No, and it's like oh yeah, okay. What happened to the kid that said you're gonna wait?
He's like, look at girls' butts. Yeah, give me a break, Dad.
It's like, what happened to the kid that said he's gonna wait till he's 25?
He's already doing that.
At the age of how old did you say he was?
He'll be 12 in September.
I had already seen inside of a woman at that point. Okay, looking at their butts.
But that's what I'm saying. Is he's not there. So it's like I've done a better job of shielding him.
Yes.
From a lot, because I mean, he's not there, but he like we've talked about it all. I mean, he knows about it all. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. Certain shows, yeah, definitely still keep from him. Certain movies, definitely still keep from him. I mean, I just showed him Cheaper by the Dozen. I mean, that's where we're at. Okay, we're not sitting here trying to show him fucking Man on Fire
with all like the 14 kids.
Yeah, 12 kids.
Trying to teach him to be a Mormon.
Yeah, it's fucking my dad. My dad, when I was in 5th grade, Denzel Washington's Man on Fire came out.
Yeah,
and we went to the movie theater, watched it, and halfway through, it was a scene where the guy is under the bridge and Denzel has a bomb up his ass. My dad looks over and goes, "Maybe you're a little too young for this movie." And it's like, well, at this point, fucking. Where's there? They grab me a beer.
The art. Just enjoy the art, bro.
Bombs in his ass,
brother. That movie. Have you ever seen Man on Fire?
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I forgot the part where he had a bomb.
Hey, that's one of the best Denzel movies ever. Yeah, man. He puts a bomb under his in his ass, tapes him to the back of the car, and it's under the underpass.
So does Denzel Washington? He's the one that gets the bomb up his ass, or does he put the bomb?
No, Denzel puts it up his to get answers about where the little girl is.
Okay, so I think you're maybe missing us. So I think you're not saying Denzel Washington put the bomb up his ass.
Yeah, Denzel put a bomb up his ass.
Okay,
the guy's ass.
Oh, thank you.
The bad guy's ass.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Everybody relax.
He's an Academy Award winning actor.
We gotta speak a little bit more clear. I saw that was the issue because he said it many times. I'm like, okay, well, my bad. Yeah, I definitely didn't remember. Thank God they didn't make Denzel put a bomb up his ass. That's one thing that we could say. So Emily, she said Family Guy. So when we were talking about I'm gonna just get through these comments because we had a few more come through. Smooth said prison, good stuff his way. So that's probably about Diddy. He's about to have a really good time. The orgies he's gonna be able to set up, like the roster. Rather the roster that he's gonna have at his disposal.
He's had the best time of his life.
He's gonna feel like
he's gonna find the real Punisher.
He has all the money for all like the commissary. He's gonna be good.
Bro, he's gonna feel like Bill Belichick in that bitch. He's like, I want to team you up with him. Okay.
They're gonna make Diddy a punk.
Oh god.
So we got Smooth Recoil says fucking pie bad, Mr. Garrison scissoring good. You go, Paul. You go. Oh my god, killing me right now. Fucking Paul.
Dude.
Paul and his fucking standards. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Alrighty, so
American Pie was fucking all about sex. You know, look. Listen, what fucked me up was watching Varsity Blues and seeing like the I'm like 7 years old, and you see the whipped cream on the boob part, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Friday Night Lights, Mike Winchell's getting banged in the bathroom at a party. American Pie. All I'm thinking is, man, high school's just supposed to be just a big sex off. Here I am at 11. It was really impressionable. Okay, I don't need that for my kid. Okay,
well, so set the standard at the very beginning. These are actors. We're
portraying a story, though. You know,
exactly.
It's a fucking story.
That's true, but we're about to see highlight reels of the story. We're not going to see the everyday.
Well, you know what? Someone should have broke that down.
I'm sure Mike Winchell woke up more mornings and had to go get his mom her fucking diazepam.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm like, if he's getting it, Jesus Christ.
No, it's true, actually. Fucking Mike Winchell, I'm telling you what. Yeah.
Winchell, boy, hey, man, he put his heart on the line.
He did put his heart on the line. Man ended up going to like North Carolina or some shit like that. It's special features. And anybody watches special features. So Smooth Recoil said, no, Paul believes kids should watch Degrassi and Jazz. Stop, please.
Degrassi, that was a good show.
Yeah. So do you think kids should watch it?
Why not? I mean, okay.
Well,
so
here, let's get back to it. I'll finish these comments and then I'll let you go on that. You can support Degrassi if you want.
Middle schoolers, high schoolers.
Oh, good God, man. This is what's wrong with this country. This pussy train of thought that's everywhere and such bullshit. You'll have to explain exactly
what
we're
talking about
here. Good spot, good results. Works, didn't it? No Diddy and LeBron, not in movie. You're ranting.
Where are we at here? Why are you not getting off of
He did
you
it.
may be obsessed.
he did it to save a girl. Then he put in parentheses a little white girl.
Because we're doing okay.
Yeah,
perfect spot underneath the bypass.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Put it together.
Yeah, bring it all there for us. But you can go ahead. You were saying
Degrassi, bro. Listen, that was okay. So we had to get past the idea that like high schoolers aren't doing what high schoolers do, like what we've all done in high school.
Yeah.
And the representation of that, it is what it is. Degrassi, I want to show to my 8-year-old.
Sure.
But yeah, going in like middle school, high school, it is what it is. You just need to be guided. It's just what it is. Just have some guidance.
Okay, well, I do agree with you. I do agree with you on that. I think Degrassi for kids in high school is actually good because it does portray a lot of bullshit that you could go through in high school. And if you see how bad it plays out on the TV show, you can kind of maybe learn to not make the same mistakes. But we also do know, though, kids are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
We do know kids are fucking stupid and they're probably going to do it anyway. So, I mean, that's another thing. So and then maturity level matters too. Like, some kids are mature enough to handle certain things. Some kids aren't, you know what I mean? It's just, you got to kind of gauge that. And if you fuck it up, I mean, it's catastrophic. Now you got a little kid running around jaculating on bitches in malls and recording it and shit. And putting up TikTok.
In class and putting up people's desks. So.
Yeah, I wonder how much. Well, so by the way, Smooth Recourse says, okay, do stop. So he's not appreciating your support of Degrassi. And I'm going to throw in Smooth, get in here and let us know your opinion as far as like if you want to say in the comments or whatever, it's not a big deal. And I put the link in there, but if you want to put it in the comments, I understand. But as far as like exactly what is your objection to it, I'm going to try to say what I believe your objection probably is, but I would prefer like you obviously make your case as well. But I imagine that he is concerned about maybe themes being introduced to kids that don't have those issues. So maybe like you have kids that wouldn't otherwise handle things by cutting themselves. This is just something I didn't see much of Degrassi, but I remember seeing this episode back in the day.
Yes.
Dealing with a kid.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, but our point that we're
that.
making, which I think is a valid point, there may be kids that cut themselves and see that and they take some kind of like benefit from that, like I'm not alone or something like that. But isn't it also possible that you have kids that maybe suffer with the root cause of what this character's going through, which is like depression or whatever, which we all deal with. And then now you're seeing a character that chooses to handle it in that way. And maybe that just introduces you to something that you may have been introduced to it some other way, but then again, maybe not. And I think we should address, the touch point. But go ahead.
Yes, that would be a tumbling avalanche of what you cannot put on any type of cinema, because again, you can argue that almost anything will be taught that way. At the end of the day, before all that was represented on television, it was happening. So representation doesn't hurt; it only helps. When the initial blowback on something like Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant or whatever. When that first happened, I remember we were in high school at the time when like girls started making packs to get pregnant, trying to get on the show.
Oh wow, okay.
So that initial blowback
it made people get more pregnant.
But over time, it's done what it was supposed to do. It's shown the struggles of what it's like having a kid that young. And I think I think a lot of the representation, again, we're at this part in life where less and less people are having kids at young ages, right? Isn't that a thing that less and less young people are having kids?
But here's the thing though. Before the show, the numbers weren't high.
No, so we had a daycare at our high school. They were pretty high.
It's not like the numbers went up and then dropped below where it was before. It's like when the show came on, people, like you said, were trying to get pregnant. They thought it was cool to get pregnant. They thought they'd be able to get on this show, so there was a bunch of people getting pregnant to get on this show.
A lot of kids whose parents probably didn't believe that their little girl was going to do stuff like that. And it's like you have to be real with your kids. You have to be open with the kids. You have to have conversations. Again, I'm going to live in the reality with my child that, look, I can believe that he's going to be a virgin until the day he marries his wife. I'm also going to remember how I was.
I want to push back with your original point because I wanted to hear it all get laid out, but you had mentioned in a comparison 16 and Pregnant. So I want to just push back because I feel like part of specifically the issue that I'm having is that Degrassi is a kid show. So Degrassi is a kid. It's on Nickelodeon. It's marketed to kids. It's intended. Their intention is to get a kid audience. Would you disagree with that?
So when I remember watching it, it was on TeenNick, right? So it was supposed to be aimed for older audiences. for the kid spectrum. So it's supposed to be for like I think like it's PG-13. I think it's supposed to be for 13 plus.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know if I'd say it was.
I don't know. I felt like it was younger. It was younger than that.
Well, and I would say if you put it,
really.
to be honest, I think if you put it on Teen Nick, though, you have to be honest, especially at that time where there aren't those parameters, just because it's like the same channel, just like at a certain point in the day would say, hey, we're Teen Nick now.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
4 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like in reality, like that's the equivalent of like porn sites saying like, hey, click here, you're 18, right? I mean, like there's just like, there's not much of a barrier for entry. So they must be putting that show out knowing that even if their intention, quote unquote, is to reach 13 and up, that you're going to obviously be reaching kids that just finished watching Rocket Power.
But argument would be that the parents should be monitoring their children, right? Like
I hear you on that, but I mean, I also think that like Nickelodeon is a channel that's specifically targeted to kids specifically. So when parents are putting their kid in front of a TV or whatever for whatever reason, which there's valid reasons to do that too. We all live in the real world. We know that like kids are going to they're going to want to watch TV. So it's not you can't necessarily just look at it and be like, well, parents are just letting the TV raise their kid, which I think is another issue. There are cases of that where it's like kid just has full reign. I think in reality, you probably should be able to leave your kid in front of Nickelodeon, go do something where you're not literally watching the show with them, at least still be present in the house, be available, but it's like you shouldn't have to hang over their shoulder while they're watching a kids channel. You know what I'm saying? I think there's some responsibility to that.
No, I get what you're saying there. Again, I think that they'll argue that they're just trying to gain more of an audience, and at that time it changes so that way they can get the kids who grew out of the kids shows and they're going into those shows that's more the representation. But I get what you're saying. So you would have you wouldn't have as much of an issue with Degrassi if it was on a different channel.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with Degrassi. I just disagree with like it being acceptable for my kid. So if other people decide that they want to let their kid watch it, then I guess it's fine. And I think that there's ways as a business like Nickelodeon, and I think they probably have shifted towards this because obviously now we have more channels, so there probably is like a Teen Nick channel or some shit nowadays. I would feel more comfortable with that. Like for me personally, though, I mean, I would have safeguards on the TV. Even I take that very serious what my daughter's exposed to.
Well,
I mean, but I'm saying like probably more serious than most. Like sexual shit, even like Inside Out 2. I don't let her watch Inside Out 2 because there's too much of a focus, in my opinion, on like a relationship.
On the crush, she's going through puberty.
Yeah, crush and all this kind of shit. I don't want my daughter. And also maybe because I have a daughter.
And she's young.
Like, there's a lot of shows that I feel like the plot is there's a female character that needs to like gain some kind of validation from this male character.
Yeah, I feel that.
So for me, I'm extremely like what we said earlier. We said something about like some violent show, and I'm like, well, as fucked up as it sounds, I have like kind of American value system where I'm less protective over my daughter when it comes to like her seeing violent things. I mean, I'm still not gonna. I don't want her to see like straight up dismemberment or something.
Well,
but she's watched shows where people have died, and I'm not like, oh my god, don't look at this character dying. I feel less protective over that. But when it comes to this, like I said, like the sexuality aspect and the just relationship aspect, I mean, it actually pisses me off when I sit down to watch a kid's show and that's like the central theme is like the character has some crush that
brainwashing.
It kind of is in my opinion.
See, I'm not going to say it is because kids have boyfriends or girlfriends in elementary school.
Brainwashing, brother.
Like that is a thing that kids still kind of do. So I think it kind of just trying to speak to like bad experience for the kid. Because some of them go through it, but I understand where you're like, hey, that's too much for my kid. Yeah, I don't let.
How could you say they go through it without it though? I just want you to address it because you're saying they go through. They have boyfriend and girlfriends in kindergarten or whatever, for example.
Yeah.
Without it, but it's like in the society we live in, like almost no kid goes without that kind of outside.
Okay. So when do you think that started? The representation of little kids having a boyfriend or girlfriend on television.
I mean, as long as it's pretty much been around. I mean, straight up adults used to sexualize kids. So let's be honest.
So it's like, because the laws were different back in the day too when it came to like.
Right. So
you're not wrong.
So what I'm saying is, it's always been a thing. So I think there's sexualization to where you're making it sexual. And then there's just like natural. So it's like a natural attraction that little boys and little girls or whatever, they're going to have like a little attraction. You're going to, and then it can be innocent without it being sexual. But I understand where you're saying, hey, listen, if my daughter's 4, like I don't want her watching something that's about a 13-year-old girl. That's understandable. Like I get that. Like with Parker,
but the problem is it's hard on TV to censor that though. When it's on TV, it's hard to kind of because you don't know. I mean, as a parent, you're not looking through the channels to make sure you know the whole catalog for the day to what's going to come on at what time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a little tricky, especially with that. And then sometimes they like to sneak in a lot of that stuff into the younger.
That's what I was
going
to
to
say.
like that
you would even there's even like shows, for example, that you can let several episodes go, and then all of a sudden there's going to be like some episode that you're going to personally ethically take an issue with. So I think that there should be a just like that's a serious like when we're talking about things in society that and I think this is another like we get obviously correctly disgusted when we find out. I know a couple years ago this is a big thing where people would be like, there's this video on the internet where it looks like it's cartoons, but it ends up being like some crazy shit halfway through. Do you know what I'm talking about? People are saying like, watch what your kids are watching on YouTube. It's just sick motherfuckers. Once like, so but, go ahead.
No, so for example, the song "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy. As a kid, when you hear that song, she caught me banging on the my baby. She caught me red-handed, banging on the bathroom floor. As a kid, you didn't think about sex. Like as a kid,
I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
I heard that song.
As a little kid,
I heard that song. I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Good example,
about banging, like flat out, like knocking on the door.
Stupid ass kid.
Fucking,
Paul's a dumbass kid.
You're a naive 6-year-old. Kids are naive.
No, but the thing is, that song is a great. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's one of the great examples of our generation. It's something that would have came out. You couldn't escape it as a parent. You're going to hear it at some point. Your kids are going to hear it. So you can't just like this idea that you're going to be able to filter everything your kid hear is impossible. And yeah, I mean, that song is extremely explicit about like cheating. So it's like, I'm maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but if I am remembering it correctly, I mean, I think, I remember that being a song that was one of the first songs. I was like, oh, this is like a sexual song. Like this is a dirty song. Like same thing with Rodeo from Juvenile. I remember that was a song I knew. No, Slow Motion from Juvenile.
Do you remember what age you realized it was sexual?
Yeah. I mean, so Slow Motion, I remember specifically listening to that one time going to a field trip and like it would have been like first grade. So I mean, really young. Yeah. So like under 10. And I knew that was like sexual in nature. I mean, I don't know that I knew like explicitly what sex was, but I knew that what they were talking about was like basically intimacy.
Right.
So, and I just don't think that like as an adult, I think that we can take that, and even that is toxic in my opinion as an adult. As somebody that loves hip hop music, I've had to come to grips with this a few times in my life and really consider. I think there's a lot to that. I can say objectively and say I love hip hop music, but I can see how a lot of it is actually terrible. Like I mean, just to
it's like bad for you
as a kid, us listening to like people talking about doing just crazy shit. Like, was that all? Like, was it a benefit? Like. Is it responsible for anything that we did? No. But was it positively contributing to our actions? I would say, if I'm being honest, no.
But to get a real answer on that, you'd have to have people who achieved so much to say, hey, were you exposed to the same things? Because majority of them were. It's just we're each how we are. So I don't know. The way I look at it is I know when I was like 6, 7, I didn't hear those songs to just think about sex.
Yeah.
Maybe relationships, but you learn more from your household and what you see going on in your household than you do these things. So again, I understand, but then you're going to be nitpicking on, and like you're going to have the most basic kid shows that you're only wanting for 5, 6, 7-year-olds or 4-year-olds when there are TV channels for them.
Completely disagree because they're.
But why can't you make more like educational shows?
There's that educational. Hold on. Let me just respond to what you're saying because I'm gonna pass it right back to you because I want to respond to directly what you said. So you have I think you're underselling how complex just regular life is. Like, and that's the issue with the over dependence on romantic stories in kids shows, because there's so much more that they have to deal with as far as like emotionally regulating normal relationships. Like a normal friendship is complex enough for a kid to where you can delve in a lot of those same kind of themes in a friendship, and it's still going to be present. And then just relationships with your parents, how you feel inside. Like there's so much to delve into where it doesn't have to be boiled down to, okay, we have main character has a love interest. Bringing them together is going to be what the story's about. I do want to get into these comments, but I want to pass it back to you. Then we're going to get into comments.
But there's different shows for each thing, and that's the thing. Sure. Like Disney, they have a show right now. Burger had us watch where it shows like a baseball game, like a co-ed baseball game or whatever, softball game, and it's like a little kids team, and it tells like the story from each perspective, and it covers all that. It covers, and again, they're middle school kids. Middle schoolers have boyfriends and girlfriends. Okay, it's what happens. Mm-hmm. I mean, how there was a point where we were having kids and getting married at 12, 13 years old. So again, not that that's okay.
Yeah, we don't agree with that.
Not that that's okay. Not that that's okay.
Well, but why make that a point?
Because if it's attraction and dating is natural.
The reason that
because of what you see on television.
The reason kids were getting married, the reason kids were getting married at 13 in this country wasn't because they wanted to and because they were attracted to these men. Like they were fucking sold off to older men. It's something that's despicable. Well, of course, there's instances where you can say,
arranged marriages.
Of course, there's instances where you can say, oh, well, this person consented to it.
Not just in this country. I'm talking about in the history of mankind. You're talking about biblical.
I'm talking about fucking in this very country.
What I was talking about, what you responded to, sure. I'm saying that it is natural from the start of mankind. Kids at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, they date. So it's not just that you saw it on television, so that made you date. No, it's that is a natural thing. You start to have attraction. So a lot of parents don't talk to their kids about dating. They don't talk to them about anything. So then their only source of education outside of what they're experiencing on the daily thing in their own life is seeing it on television.
Who's to say? So I'm not comfortable with this.
So then don't have your daughter watch it, but fuck that. My son can watch it.
Question. You can have your son watch whatever the fuck you want to watch.
All right.
The point is, who's to say that that the people writing Degrassi have the ethical kind of understanding to be teaching these kids these things? Like, who are you putting in charge of teaching these kind of lessons to your kid? We're saying, fuck,
this is my thing too.
Like through what kind of process is it going through before it gets to the point to where it's on Degrassi, where you're just comfortable with whatever's going to be on that?
That's just the writers. You can make the argument about every fucking TV show.
Who are the writers?
Who are the educated? Who are anything? What the fuck are we talking about?
Hold on, time out. So Nickelodeon, the very fucking network that we're talking about, just recently had a scandal where one of the writers, Dan Schneider, was fucking sexually harassing the fucking writers. What are you talking about yourself, bro? You're talking about writers and you're just acting as if that, like, once again, it's like an experts conversation where it's like, well, they're writers, so whatever they're going to write must be okay.
No, it must be okay.
You have Disney, and let me finish, bro. I let you talk. You have Disney animators who put fucking phallic items in the fucking movie. Like, of course, why would you fucking trust these people? They're fucking like, so just to have like a blind trust to it, because that's why I'm saying these kind of, whatever, we're getting feedback from whatever you just did, Deuce. You hear me? No, you're all good. So the thing is, like, I think that it's not a crazy thing to say that there should be a level of responsibility for people that are interfacing with our kids. Period. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything crazier than that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be allowed to make this shit.
But that wasn't your only point. Your whole thing is that it's all up to what your understanding of what your moral compass is about what every fucking television show on every show on television.
No, it's not about that. There should be a baseline. Yes.
We're talking about one TV show. So the baseline, but what is your baseline? So what is okay for you for every television show on network television?
Well, but
that's what this whole argument has been. Yeah, we were talking about in general, and then you want to go back to just Degrassi. It wasn't just Degrassi.
Well, that was our example that we were specifically using. But go ahead, Deuce.
My whole point, well, my thing is like when you go to other countries and you go to like their TV shows and you go to see what like their kids watch and what's like on the programming and stuff, it is completely different from what kids watch in America, right? It's not
the vulgar, crazy shit that you've been seeing. They don't really push boundaries and stuff like that. It's really more educational purposes. Even some shows, when like older shows, like it's like they're showing you kind of how to do certain things inadvertently, right? Like it's more to you being successful in society versus just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like there is entertainment, but
Mm-hmm.
especially with like the younger shows, you're not seeing them push the boundaries on sex and all this grooming and brainwashing and shit they try to do with American TV. And that's a fact of what happens because our CIA is involved in
So
creating a lot
interesting.
of these shows and movies that we watch.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
So do these other countries have parents in TV shows? Are the parents? Or is that not
Yeah.
sexualization? Or is that not showing a man and a woman being together?
Is
So-
is that not different than kids? Paul?
No, but I just want to understand what television show in America are the kids again? What age bracket are we talking about here? What age bracket? Because when we say kids,
Yeah.
goddamn, 17's a kid. So are we talking about
Okay.
2-year-olds,
Well, I'll say
4-year-olds,
when you go back
6-year-olds,
and watch shows
8-year-olds?
that we watch as
Those are all kids. Yeah,
10-year-old? No, but
those are still kids.
but
Yeah.
no, what age bracket? Because there are different fucking shows for
when you
different
go
age
back
brackets.
and watch like SpongeBob and like these shows that you watched as a kid, you see the sexual innuendos and the shit that they pushed on you that you really may have not necessarily saw when you were that age, but it was literally slightly pushed. My parents didn't catch that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But you go
Tom
back
and
you watch
Jerry?
these cartoons. You go back and watch these cartoons, bro. You see this shit all the time. You see all the shit that they pushed in there. You know what I'm saying? These writers are not like they're not necessarily good people. You know what I'm saying? Like one was like James said, that dude was a pedophile. He was literally like molesting some of the kids on the show.
He was a pedophile.
Dan
You know what I
Schneider.
mean?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he was
Writer- lead
sexualizing
writer at
them
Nick.
on the show on purpose.
Okay, so every kid's show is fucking.
He was literally in charge of the kids shows, which is so fucking crazy. And he was
Yes,
literally
he
fucking
was in
kids
charge
that were
of
acting in
every
the shows.
single show.
He was a disgusting person, but that's not every show. That doesn't mean that every show is this just sexualization and just this push. Again, Tom and
Produced them
Jerry
all.
did the same thing. They would whistle at women's legs. They would have like the one where the
Who's
mouse.
defending Tom and Jerry? I mean, I'll say for myself, I'm not
we're
saying
talking
that.
about.
I'm not saying that the way that they were doing, like they have straight up racist fucking cartoons from Warner Brothers back in the day.
Disney's
So
a
that's
piece
part
of
of that's
shit.
actually
Let's be
part of the
honest.
example. If parents would have just been like, "Hey, what's I can trust the animators and I can trust the people that write these stories. Let me just let it go." Even back in the 50s, when we feel like we lived in such a stick up our ass fucking society, you still had straight up cartoons that they would be watching where they had Sambo fucking minstrel shows happening. Kids were watching minstrel shows happen in cartoons. So I think it's just these are not infallible. I think it's fair. I mean, if you want to trust them because they're on Nick, but I think this is really what I'm saying. Let's not outsource the parents. You're saying like, are their parents? Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm speaking out as a parent. I'm saying what my values are. I'm speaking to that. Yeah. Like, I don't know why that's crazy. That's what all of us use. Your values are show my kid whatever. Show them fucking two gay dudes kissing. I know like the fucking space show. It was. It was the
really
space
feel
show.
like you
Hold
twisted
on.
everything I
Let me
fucking said, but
finish.
that's
Let
fair.
me finish what I'm
Go on.
saying.
No,
Let
go
me
ahead,
finish what I'm saying. Thank you.
Finish.
If I can. You keep on cutting me off though, so let me finish. So you were fine with that, and I think there's no problem with that personally. I think that's fine if you want to let your kid watch I don't remember what the show was, or I wouldn't call it the gay show, but I don't remember the show. You can hop in.
I
You
don't
can hop in
remember
and
where I
add-
said he can watch wherever the fuck he wants.
I didn't
That
say-
was never, but you did.
No,
But-
I'm saying you don't. Well, first off, you said you didn't have a problem with DeGrasse. You said if you don't want your kid to watch it, fine. But my kid will watch it.
I said at 13, 14,
All right,
15
fine,
years
bro.
old. Did I not say at a certain age that there's a time for that? Or did I say
Well,
at
I mean, you're
fucking
just-
9 years old?
Well, you're putting
gonna
all
watch
the onus.
Degrassi?
You're putting all the onus on the parents rather than the corporation that is literally fucking monetizing your kid's attention.
I'm asking
So
you
it's like,
what you with your
they have a
criticism.
responsibility for
How
what they
about
put out.
instead of just criticize, come up with a solution? So I asked you, what is the solution?
I already told you. the
They
solution.
put on
But
a show.
they
at
don't
5
have
o'clock.
to put it
Hold on,
in the
Degrassi
show.
put on a show at 5 o'clock for teens on fucking on Nick
right after
Teen.
fucking Rocket Power. This is the stupidest
Brother,
shit I've ever
what
heard.
the
5
fuck,
o'clock.
bro, what do you
5
want?
o'clock. Do you think is it fucking bedtime at 5 o'clock? Like what the fuck are you even talking about? That's literally kids are watching TV at 5 o'clock. So if you were to say like
used to
Nick at
hate
Night,
that
for
shit.
example, like Nick at Night, which kids were still watching, but you know what? I get that a little bit. That's like way past the time kids should be awake. But even then, honestly, I think an argument could be made. But I wouldn't go that far. But that's an example. You're talking about like 10 p.m. through 6 a.m. Okay, then you have Married with Children on or whatever the fuck they had on George Lopez show.
So at 10
like
o'clock,
at 5 p.m. No, that's actually prime time. Actually,
no,
it is. It actually is fucking literally prime time.
Most of the little kids shows came on in the morning, right? That's the little kids shows. Then the kids getting off of school, you had around 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Then after that, you had the Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Then you had the fucking whenever they went into the old school shows after 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the window for the teenagers, and they had that. But again, you don't have to watch it.
Came on at 10 o'clock.
Most of the kids aren't going to sit down and watch Degrassi because it's not interesting to them. Again, we as adults,
that's you. Where I don't even know where you're getting that from.
Bro, I don't know. When I didn't watch it at 9 years old. But again,
TV.
100%.
Yes, a lot of kids 100%. Are. But again, a lot of people are having the kids eat dinner at 5 o'clock, or they're bathing their kid. Again, at that age, we're talking about small kids. This is the problem with the argument. Is you're acting as if there's nothing that can be on there for teenagers. There's nothing that can be on there for middle school.
I'm not saying that at all. Degrassi is fucking. The example we were using was Degrassi, which is we were talking about people cutting themselves, people having sex, like Victorious, for an example. That's a fucking show that's for kids. Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana, like that's a show for kids, for teenagers or whatever. Like, do you understand the difference with that? Honestly, I'm going to ask you that. Degrassi to Hannah Montana, or do you think that's just the same? You'd let your kid watch both of them?
I don't know if Hannah Montana was necessarily for teenagers.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. When I was a teenager, it's not what I was into as a teenager.
Yeah, you're a boy, bro. I didn't watch it either. I was a boy. I mean, so it's like I didn't watch Hannah Montana. Yeah, but my sister watched Hannah Montana when she was older. Like, yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Disney Channel was pretty popular.
Yes, when you were in high school, you wanted to watch people in high school on television or older people on television. You wanted to watch
Hannah Montana? Was she not in fucking high school, bro?
I don't know.
Okay,
I think like middle school.
Yeah, she wasn't a fucking elementary fucking school kid.
But most of the 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds were watching that show. I don't.
You were, but in that situation,
crushes. She was having crushes. She was chasing boys around and shit.
She had issues with depression, imposter syndrome, all kinds of shit that are real issues you could delve into. But guess what? She didn't need to cut herself explicitly. Like there's something about subtlety.
We're twisting. You admitted that you never really watched Degrassi, but you're taking.
I told you I saw this specific episode.
You're taking one episode of a fucking thing that ran for
I'll be real. I actually watched Degrassi.
That's fine.
First season.
Shit, Paul. Okay, Paul. So if there's one episode, not even.
I'll tell you when I stopped watching it. I stopped watching Degrassi when Drake got shot.
Yeah. That was it for a lot of people. I heard.
Happened.
I watched through that, but I don't know.
Let me get to these comments right here. So we got Smooth Recoil said Mr. Ed was on Nick at Night. I don't remember Mr. Ed, so you'll have to fill us in. I don't know if that was like a naughty show. What you think, Nikki by Prince, about outside sales? I don't know. They probably got hit with autocorrect on that, I'm going to assume. That dang Bugs Bunny. Then we got every show except this one's you approve of. So I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. We were going for a while. I'm sorry about that because I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to there, but it's probably in one of our arguments. Kids shouldn't have kids. And we got while mom is cooking and dad's changing oil after work. You got, so I guess probably the 5 o'clock thing. A merman pop. Dude, sometimes people push the comments. I'm like, I know that's like it's probably going over my head. But talking horse. Okay, yeah, I remember kind of. I like pop culture wise. I know of people referring to Mr. Ed and whatever the talking horse. But I wasn't familiar with any kind of like it being inappropriate at all. So maybe you're just using that as an example. Maybe that's an example of like maybe how Nick at Night was less risky. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to understand exactly.
Nick at Night was the Cosby Show and shit.
Well, I guess that's kind of the point, though. And you'll have to clarify. I don't want to misrepresent your point. Right? Yeah, I don't want to misrepresent your point. But when you have that late night slot, which we're both in agreement, like if we're even taking the argument to its furthest conclusion, then maybe I could find that more defensible for the, more mature content. But you're not doing that. You have what I would say is your most mature content sandwiched in the middle of the day when anybody can watch it. When like what this person here was saying, like you have your mom is cooking dinner, dad is doing whatever he's doing once he gets home, maybe relaxing. God forbid he does that and he's not saying like, what the fuck is this show about? And yeah, I think that's just, there's a better time for it. I don't think it has to be on the same channel. If as Nick, you want to take advantage of a different audience than what you're originally targeting, then I think you have so much responsibility with the target audience that you have, being children, that yeah, you probably should start another network, which now is very common, but maybe you should start another network and make that your teen Nick or whatever.
Yeah,
that was the thing. And you said I didn't say any solutions. I mean, when we very first started talking about that, I suggested that. So but I think I was talking about solutions from the very beginning. Go ahead. And I'm gonna get to the rest of the comments.
I feel like that's a hindsight solution. Again, you're looking at what 15 years after the fact, saying, well, we should have had a different network, whatever.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Again, I don't think Degrassi made people just go cut themselves because they saw it on television.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Let's get back to the comments. Smooth Recoil, but you love Diddy and LeBron. I'm not saying that watching Degrassi made people go kill themselves. I'm just the influence of that doesn't have to be the inciting thing. And I think that the fact that it has to be the inciting thing for it to be like something that we can oppose as parents, well, that's the issue I take. It doesn't have to be the thing that literally takes the knife and puts it in your fucking kid's arm. The fact that you're marketing a show on a kid's fucking network where people are cutting themselves, people are fucking at school, people are fucking outside of school. Like, yes, everybody is exposed to that. So when you're saying like people are exposed to that anyways, it's an apple, it's a apple, it's a chicken or the egg kind of conversation. It's like, well, okay, like, yes, but it's like part of the reason people are exposed to these kind of things at the level they are in a society where a lot of liberals would claim that we have a rape society. And I would even to a certain degree agree with that because we don't take it seriously. We joke about it. Somebody on this podcast that's done that. It's like, yeah, we do not take those kind of things seriously. And it starts with how are we approaching that with our children? How are our children exposed to that? Like Degrassi, I would say, yeah, it's a less healthy way of exposing kids to the idea of relationships than the fact that Hannah Montana has two parents that have a healthy home and fucking raise her. So it's like there's a big difference with that, rather than like, oh, hey, meet me after school and I'll diddle your.
No, the two parents thing is more to like the whole. If you have two dads on a show, then you're sexualizing because you have another argument because it's a representation of gay, so you're sexualizing, and it's like. Then you should have any parents. Different argument. They should have any, but okay. What about
completely
Netflix?
Different argument to be fair, because you understand that's not the argument I'm making.
No, but Denzel also spoke.
Well, no, but I'm saying like I just spoke, so I'm saying like, and I laid out an argument. So I'm just curious.
I clarified because you mentioned something that I mentioned with the two parents, right?
I wasn't mentioning that because you. No,
Okay, and I mentioned that to him. So that wasn't
I don't remember the context. I don't remember that. I'm not bringing that up to kind of like gotcha on what you said before. I'm just saying like you did mention that, so it makes me think about the situation. I'm like, well, yeah, those relationships do exist, but then that's my argument is like that's obviously a healthy. Right. And I'm not even saying like two men. Again, that's not where. That's why I'm pushing back, because you're like, that's not the argument that I'm trying to make. Right. The argument I'm trying to make, like, we're not, like you said, you could touch on things that not be sexual. Hannah Montana's Billy Ray Cyrus and his fucking woman, like that was like, I mean, I guess they had an intimate relationship, but it isn't really sexual in nature. So I could be a little bit more amenable to that.
But when you're talking about Degrassi boys in that show,
yeah, okay, but like I'm saying, like with Degrassi, you're talking about it's
more aggressive, nature. Yes, but that's what I'm saying is if you want to say that you don't want your 8-year-old or not like separate kids, I get that, but that's what I'm saying. Like overall, like I'm not going to say and be like, well, it shouldn't be on television because it showed teenagers doing teenage things. It's like, well, they also need to see what's on television that they're also experiencing in their daily lives. And then so with Netflix, with 13 Reasons Why, with the show, it's not Victoria. What's the fucking other like weird high school show that they had that was like all partying and cocaine? No, I forget the fucking name of the show.
Skins.
What?
Skins.
That might be another one. I don't know. I'm not in their demographic.
Yeah.
But all that's on there. And then your kid can watch Netflix watching How to Train Your Dragon, and then the next thing you know, go to one of those shows and watch it. Yeah. So it's like we're having that same problem.
But you see my issue where I'm saying Nickelodeon
it's on after.
And it's also targeting kids. So its initial target audience is children. So it's not like, because Skins, you didn't mention it, but that made me think of Skins. Skins is basically the same thing as Degrassi, but it was an English version. So somebody in the comments, if you know, correct me if I'm wrong, because it wasn't really my show either. But this was another one where I caught like one or two here and there. I watched an episode of that show where a kid ended up fucking one of the teachers. So he was having a relationship with his teacher. So obviously, like for me, yeah, I think like even my 13, 14, 15-year-old daughter, I don't really think that she should be exposed to that on Nickelodeon. Like that should be, yeah. So now, but hold on. And like I said, this is where I might be wrong. Skins was on, when I saw it, was on MTV. So if you do a scenario like that, if you want to make a movie about high schoolers, I still think it's kind of weird, but if you want to make a movie about high schoolers and make a movie where they're fucking and stuff like that, and you want to put it somewhere where it's not like, we're saying like, when we're talking about Degrassi, it's like selling cigarettes at a candy store in a way. You know what I mean?
Which I think Degrassi was wasn't a Canadian show.
I think it was.
So it was a Canadian show. And what was the channel? It was Nickelodeon owned, but it wasn't Nickelodeon. It was one with like the cranium symbol, like not noggin or whatever.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
But that's what it will come on.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So yeah, it wasn't just like immediately after like the cartoons.
Okay.
It like
that's fine. I mean, that's not necessarily how I remember, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't even necessarily clearly. I vaguely remember what you're talking about, where there was like a alternative Nickelodeon show. But yeah, like I said, in that instance, I don't really have an issue with that. If you want to take some show about high schoolers and you want to produce it on the net, and if it's going to be explicit and you want to produce it on like HBO, like Euphoria. I mean, I'm not railing against Euphoria.
I think that's the one. That's
okay. Yeah. Well, but that's not for kids at all. Even though it's a kid, like the characters are supposed to be kids. That's why I don't have an issue with Euphoria. I don't for a second think that Euphoria is actively saying like, this is a show for kids. We're trying to show kids what kids go through as fucking heroin addicts.
No, but I do think like teenagers watch that.
Yeah, but that's where the parent, this is where we would agree. That's where I think the parent is failing.
Okay, so
because you're allowing your kid easily you could put like a limit on their access to HBO or whatever. And the thing is, if they end up sneaking and doing that, which may happen, like at least you did what you were supposed to do, and at least the network worked in an ethical, appropriate fashion. I think so I agree that parents should be watching and making sure their kids aren't watching Degrassi, but I just disagree with you where I think Nick actually has some accountability here in the scenario. But here, let's go ahead and get through these comments so we can get to these topics because we have more topics and like some ones that are in the fucking topics.
I did have him watch White Chicks and he did not. This generation doesn't appreciate it the same way. Like
the comedy wasn't hitting.
Yeah, them being dressed as women wasn't funny to him.
He's like, yeah, I respect them.
No, he was kind of like, this is weird. and it's like, I'm like, okay, I guess.
That's interesting. That is interesting. I mean, yeah, I think so you probably had this experience. My dad was a huge movie guy. So he would show me all kinds of movies from his childhood. And there were several times where he's like, this fucking movie was it. And then he would put it on. It's like, I cannot believe how much of a piece of shit this movie is. And Smooth Recoil, go check out Smooth Recoil. The man is a giant gamer. And hopefully we're going to see some of that new Resident Evil that came out. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that, Smooth. But yeah, go check him out over there. And by the way, that's my dad for anybody that doesn't know. That's why I mentioned it at that point. But yeah, no, he'd be definitely. I remember Kingdom of Spiders. I know that's probably one that he's thinking in the chat because he was so excited to show us. He fucking bought it off like eBay or some shit and was like, let's go. This is fucking William Shatner as Rack. Look like shit. And then Clash of Titans as well. You can literally see the strings. Like, holy moly, brother. But the thing is, I can't be mad at it because we see. I'm sure you guys relate. Where it's like I'll see video games from like PlayStation 2 where I'm like, oh my god, that shit look real.
It looked so good back then.
Like, what happened to my eye, or what was going on with my eyes back then? Like, holy shit.
What was my reality for that looked real?
I can't be trusted. This might look like shit. I can't be trusted to fucking. So, Smooth Recoil says exactly 100. And they said, I didn't get your invite. I said it earlier. I didn't see you say you didn't get the invite, but I put it in the chat, actually. That's probably, I didn't send it specifically to you. I just dropped it in the chat for anybody that's watching. And then he said, however, probably a good thing. Yeah, because I couldn't even imagine. You probably have a fucking vein about to pop out of your head. parental blocks on Netflix. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I rock with the kids account for my kids still to this day. But
I love Netflix.
I'm really not mad at that. You know, an interesting thing, and I don't want to get back into it because this is a whole nother, maybe for another day we could talk about it. Because it seems like me and you might have differing opinions on this. But like there's a Disney streaming app. So now you have that, and Disney obviously teams with Hulu, and so they have extremely explicit stuff right on the page. And so I've heard some people online kind of discuss it. So it is a topic that I think the thing is, I think it's good to talk about this. I think as a parent, that's why this conversation. And even like when you said like, hey, I want my kid to watch it yours, well, I take a little bit of offense to that, not true offense, but like where I say like, I think this is the parenting part. Like me and you coming together and Denzel here, all parents of kids who are actively in the age of development, like really hashing this out and like what we should expect from our society in general as a bigger thing, but then just as these kind of proprietors of,
because I do feel like we have educational shows for the young kids like that.
Yeah.
What's that, Miss Rachel,
yeah,
things like that. Bluey,
Bluey is awesome.
Like
Bluey.
things like that. Like there are
this is a Bluey household.
They have the little bears. They have the
Cocomelon?
Franklins.
Melon.
They have the Blues Clues. They have all that.
True.
So
well,
like,
PBS Kids too as well.
Yeah,
some people rail against Miss Rachel though because they say that she's like slipping in some grooming shit. I don't know. I don't watch Miss Rachel, so I'm not familiar. But that might be something for another day.
Everything. Fucking
Allegedly, Miss Rachel.
It's
Allegedly.
so
I don't know. I've just heard. You know, when you get on Twitter, you will. You know,
it's just everyone's gonna be pissed off about something. Man.
Yeah. So, Paul, what's the difference in network and just a weekly show? So I'll just read these last two comments. I'll let you kind of answer that if you have an answer for it. It's not rated for children. Maybe he's answering his own question. I don't know. And then he says, wow. So that's probably me saying that all the movies that he was showing me was dog shit, which is true. And I told you at the time, those movies sucked. I never hit it.
Look, like I'll say this.
Yes.
There's someone locally who she's really irritating on Facebook, but she went to Treasure Lanes at Global. Okay, which we all know what happens at Global, right? Like we all know what time of night when you go to the bowling alley between 9 and midnight, it's for the older crowd. Mm-hmm. Well, she brought her 5-year-old and her 11-year-old or like 13-year-old.
I thought you were going somewhere else with this.
No, she brought her 5-year-old and 13-year-old to Global. Doja Cat videos on the backboard video because they play obviously like edgier music, PG-13 plus.
Yeah.
And then a rap video came up, so then she went and fucking blew up on the staff about how they're playing that with kids present. And it's like, okay, well, you're the one that brought your kids to something this is not the time for little kids.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have to just cater to you because, well, you decided to step in here. This was already a thing. So that's where it's like, I get it. But at the same time, like there has to be a time and a place for other people too.
Sure.
So it's like, so that's where it's like, I get like, as a parent, you need to also monitor or just sit there and say, hey, listen, this isn't going to fucking scar them. Yeah. But yeah, I might have to answer some questions. I might have to answer, why is that butt shaking on the TV?
Well, it's not that. See,
she made some bad choices in life.
Like this is just one thing I want to push back on your argumentation because it's like, I don't think, at least I'm not making the argument that the TV itself is going to be the thing that scars the person. But there is a, like it's just like, okay, it exposes you to this thing, and then that sends you on a road of exploration of something maybe that ends up being harmful. I'm not necessarily saying that like just seeing the thing come through your eyes automatically the kids like fucking can't speak or something.
I know, but
it's like, hey, so for example, when you see the ass shaking on TV, and then maybe later on at night you're on your PSP, for example. Not speaking from personal experience, but maybe you're on your PSP and you're like, ass shaking video, because of the fucking video that you saw earlier on. So, and like I said, like I'm not the best example because like for me, I was like kind of seeking this shit out a little bit.
Yeah, me
so
too. Like, without internet, without a phone, I remember going.
Please don't look at my feed.
My parents had the entertainment center, and if you go to like the sides, you open up and all the movies are in there. Yeah. Dude, I remember I would go in there and try to find every R-rated movie I could find. Yeah. Flip the back, and whichever one said nudity, that's when I'm taking to my room right away. Yeah. I watched Monsters Ball. I've never watched the whole movie. I've watched one scene. I went to Holly Berry, and that was it.
Oh, just over and over again.
Over and over again. And that was a little boy being a fucking little boy looking for boobs. Yeah. Well, so again, and I don't think it took me seeing it in a movie. Yeah. I was always into girls. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but kids are 100% influenced by what they see.
100%. And I'm not saying there's not, but I just don't. Again, I think that there's a time and a place you have to monitor. And it's just, I think we put too much on well, my kid is the most innocent. Yes, they are innocent. Yes, but there's also, just like with Shrek, we never really put together, like, we knew that the ugly stepsister was a dude, but we never really put it together. Well, hold on, so that must be a transgender, or what is that? No, we never thought. We just laughed. We were kids. It was funny.
I still to this day is that, what are you talking about? Is that the stepsister supposed to be a dude in Cinderella?
Shrek? No, it's Shrek.
Oh, okay.
It's Shrek.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew it was a dude in Shrek. Yeah,
is it a dude or a woman? But it wasn't something that perplexed you. You weren't like, oh my god, am I maybe going to become that because I see it in Shrek? No, it was something you laughed at and moved on.
Look at it, brother.
That example, I don't necessarily. So I don't think that's much more of a thing that I would be fine with, because I feel like that's more subtle. It's not even trying to actually. So the depict, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but the depiction of this character in Shrek, I don't even think, even as an adult, I don't read that as the intention for that is to have some like kind of like, they're not making a statement on transgenderism by making that character a man. I think they're really speaking to just how ugly they are. So it's like the joke is that. I don't think in the early 2000s when the Shrek film was made, there was some kind of like, oh, well, this character is going to represent the transgender community or something like that. So I think it's fair to take it on its face, because that was the intention. The intention was, oh, like she's supposed to be uglier than Cinderella and all this. Like, what if she was a dude? Right. So do you understand like the difference of intention there?
Yeah, but can you understand where it would still be picked apart if that was today?
I think but the thing is,
people would make the intention what they want the intention to be.
But that's not me, Paul. No, we're having the conversation. So no, what I'm saying, so me and you would agree.
Yeah, me and you would agree, but we're just talking. So
exactly right, Paul. Me and you are talking. So that's why I'm talking to you, brother. I'm saying like that's not where I'm coming from at all with this kind of argument. The argument that I'm coming from, and I mean, we don't even have to really get back into it, is, like I said, intention. There's no trying to convey a message to your kid about like I said, transgenderism or whatever that would be talking about. It's literally just a stupid joke in a kid's movie, which I love and I'm fine with that. But where I take an issue is like, oh, we're going to make this movie about Riley, and Riley's suffering with, she's going through puberty and she has this boy that she likes and all that. I get you that does happen. But like I said, that's a chicken and the egg scenario. And definitely Inside Out, I don't think is limiting itself to an audience above anything. Like Inside Out is definitely targeting like, we want as young as possible and as old as possible is willing to watch it. They're marketing themselves as a kid's movie. So I like I said, I take issue for that, and I'm fine with me being a little bit more sensitive with that. I'm okay with that.
So there's that, but yeah, but like Shrek, just keeping it on Shrek,
please. Yeah, the
Fiona Shrek love connection. Fine. Like I'm trying to understand where your limit. No, is it just the kids, or is it like at all?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, so for a young kid, I would probably even sort of wince with that being like the main point of the show, but I would have less issue with it because they are adults. And also I think that it's attempting to represent that in a healthy way. I think like there's a problem like with the shows like Degrassi or something like that, where it's literally introducing unhealthy things to kids. So it's like it's introducing unhealthy ways to handle your emotions. So yeah, it's dealing with emotions, and that may be positive, but it's actually also it's introducing you to like really horrible ways, like drug use. Like
two different things, though. I mean, again, I just think two different target audiences, but I get it because Degrassi was on a Nick's show, channel. I get what you're saying.
So I think it was a good conversation. Let me get to these so we can, like I said, I want to make sure everybody gets some sleep tonight. So Smooth Rico, he said, I still can't believe Paul said his gam smacked the mess out of him. Did you say that? I maybe that happened. I'm glad you're watching. I might have missed. I didn't remember you saying. Do you call her Gam?
No, I got a mammy, but I don't remember.
Okay, all right. I don't remember Gam coming up, but maybe.
He said we were talking a lot.
We were talking a lot. Now we know why Paul is all I love black people. They my people. I'll be honest. I don't know.
7 siblings, bro.
Probably because of the maybe the Monsters Ball chicks. You're fucking because he's talking about Billy Bob now. Like watching Billy Bob do her that way.
I love Billy
Bob.
No,
I just like seeing Halle Berry stand there.
Oh, okay. It's a really cool. He said,
that's a real sex scene, right?
Yeah, I actually have heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard it, but I don't know if it's like
she talks about it. That's why him and Angelina Jolie broke up.
Damn. Yeah, he had to take a shot. So he said, now we know why Paul loves black people. They're my people. And then he said, liked watching Billy Bob do her that way deep down. Was you turned on when he used the N-word, making some type of penance?
See, I had to turn the volume down, brother. You're gonna get caught watching that scene. So I haven't said that shit.
Fucking Paul immediately went soft when he said the N-word. I just want to be clear about that.
I had no idea he even said the N-word in that movie.
Oh, he was. I think
I haven't watched the movie. I never watched it.
He also was like super homophobic. He hated his son. You know his son was gay in that, right?
I never watched the movie.
So I didn't know if you knew about.
No.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to know because I heard it's a great movie.
DVD.
It's a good one for allies, brother.
Philadelphia was the wrong one that I.
That one you watched.
The
The AIDS film. You watched.
that one I did watch.
Yeah, it's because the whole time you're watching, you're like, damn, when are they gonna fuck?
Like, why is this rated R?
This is bullshit. You don't even see Tom Hanks fuck. How'd he get the AIDS?
I thought there was something here.
I thought this was a movie about AIDS.
Bro, we're making out with Zach and Mary make a porno. It was like,
that was
brother,
crazy.
that's a movie for me.
That was a good one for sure.
I think I was like 15.
That was in the greatest hits catalog. Thank you, Seth Rogen.
We were in high school when that came out, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Again, so like, probably shouldn't have watched it, but I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's another one. Like they're kind of making an effort not to have you watch it because it's rated R. So it's just a matter of like if your parents are like, like, which I mean, my parents
would lose.
either. So yeah, they were like, yeah, go ahead and watch it. So don't forget, Shrek and Fiona was farting in the bathtub, laughing about it.
Yeah,
that's what I want my kid to see.
This is love.
Yeah, that's the example for my kid. That's the only example that's acceptable. All right, so let's go ahead and get into these other topics just so people don't get in the comments and say, wow, you really fucking pulled us in on the LA riots. Like, what the fuck? You labeled the video LA riots and just sat here and talked about parenting for fucking 2 hours.
My God.
Yeah, but hey, guys, it's important shit. But, hey, if y'all would have parented your kids better, they wouldn't be out there blowing shit up. Just saying. But no, all right,
shooting up schools and shit.
Yeah, let's get a little serious here on the LA riots. Want to get your boys' opinion on it. We are not California residents, so we are looking at you guys, wagging the finger, and being like, "What the fuck is going on over there? Chill out." Or maybe not. Maybe Paul's like burn the whole fucking thing to the ground. But yeah, so I want to get you guys' opinion on it. Either who wants to go first? I'll leave it up to either of you guys. Paul, I'll say you because you're in person with me.
Okay.
So I'll just give a quick breakdown for anybody that doesn't know. Right now we have protests actually that are happening in California against the ICE roundups. People going to, because there was recently a directive that came out, which basically was like, hey, we're going to have less of a focus on specifically criminals. So the MS-13 stuff and the Trinde Iwaga people trying to send them to El Salvador. They're like, we actually want to see more of just a general crackdown. So don't focus on criminals as much because they're criminals if they came in here illegally. God damn it, get them out of here. So that's what we were going through, and we're seeing like some of these major cities, LA being a sanctuary city specifically, rolled into, and we're just seeing what is, I guess the intention is the beginning of real mass deportations. One thing to just kind of like, I think, underpin this conversation with is how much money we spent on this mission to this point and how little people we've seen deported. Not that I'm a person that's salivating at the mouth to see thousands and thousands deported, but the reality is for the amount of money that we're spending in order to achieve a goal and we're failing at it, I think is just really detrimental. And now when we see what's happening in LA and the cost of building back with that, I think it's just a lot to consider. So I'll go ahead and I think that's a decent overview for anybody that wasn't aware of the scenario. Paul, I'll pass it to you. What's your opinion and what do you kind of see happening out there?
So my opinion is, so I think that throughout the history of this country, this is the most American way to display your unrest.
Yeah.
I think that most of this has been no one that I've seen has been necessarily harmed through the protest. Like, it's not like cops have been killed. I know rocks have been thrown. Cops have shot people with non-lethals. But what I've seen,
they're just slap boxing right now.
So what I've heard from a lot of people that have like lived in LA, and what you see is that them saying how it's not as bad as the media portrays it, which that's usually the case.
Sure.
You see a lot of the situations with like the burning cars and people standing on top with hundreds of people standing around it, nobody running, nobody pillaging. It's more like demonstrations I see. But then, yes, you have the looting, you have the bad shit that comes with the people that are outside the protest. Mm-hmm. I think if what needs to happen is we need to take a look at how we react to crime. When we look at things, we somehow immediately go to shoot them. When someone breaks into the store and steals some of the loots, the cops are going to take care of it. The law enforcement agencies will take care of it. When people sit there and they get out of line within the riots or protest, the cops will take care of it. They usually get it under control. The fact that the National Guard was deployed against the governor's wishes is illegal, but I believe an executive order came across the desk right before that happened to go ahead and make that power be his. But if you remember during the January 6th riot or insurrection, he said that he didn't have the power to call National Guard, which was false because in DC the president does, but throughout the rest of the country, every state, it's the governor's job. And so
sounds like you need to get the police out of there.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, we've had a complete federal overstep with this, and we've had police escalation. I think that the protest in itself is more than just. I think that I understand that people want this crackdown on immigration, and Deuce, you can tell me how you feel about it, but I look at it as there's a lot of people that are going through the process that are getting stopped during that process and removed during the process. People going to the court hearings and getting arrested, cars being hit by unmarked vehicles and getting drug out of the car while their kid's still in there, and then detained and taken somewhere. And then when they're wrong about the person, there's no real apologies. As well, they got released. Well, what the fuck was everything else? So we're watching a miss of due process, which is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. But go ahead.
Well, I think what we have right now is a mass overcorrection to a problem that a lot of Americans feel very close to. I've worked with a lot of guys that, you know what I'm saying, immigrated here and stuff like that, and families immigrated here, and I've also immigrated here, you know. I think immigration's a good thing. I think the country was founded off immigration. This country is a country of multicultures. So I do understand where people are like, you have to assimilate to America and have American values. I completely understand that, and I support that. But we just have to understand, you know, that with this situation we're dealing with now, we're correcting a problem that is really, like, you got to think there's 11,000 people that immigrated into this country illegally over the last 4 years. That's a lot. You know, people are mad at Trump for deporting people, but if we look back, Obama has deported more people than Trump has so far right now in his campaign. So we really just have to think about that and take that into account and be like, okay, what he's doing, it looks bad, but the problem is it's just because it's that big of a problem, you know. And I do understand people protesting, but to protest in America and wave the Mexican flag just doesn't seem like you're trying to assimilate into the country. There's just a different way you can go about doing it. Now, Trump bringing in the National Guard, I think he has to, because as I read this sort of thing here on the that's posted up, the police don't look like they can necessarily handle what's going on since they're shooting reporters and journalists.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't mistake a journalist for a protester. I'm sorry. It's just there's the camera, but
yeah.
So
I mean, and they're not.
You don't want to overstep,
right?
If you're talking about the Australian lady, right?
Yeah,
there's been multiple reporters.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm reading it here. It says multiple reported, which is just like, what the fuck are we shooting journalists?
You had the CNN journalist, you had the New York Post photographer, the Australian lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Listen, I hear,
and that's where Gavin Newsom loses me. That's where I lose faith in Gavin Newsom, right? Because he's saying you don't want the National Guard, but then you have multiple instances of this shit happening, which just means you don't have much of control over the situation right now. And
I mean, yeah,
it's a very political thing, right? It's a political thing because Trump is obviously going to try to use this as a win for the Republican Party if he can.
Yeah.
So in knowing that, as Gavin Newsom, you have to react accordingly and appropriately, right?
and maybe not necessarily the way that you want to, but maybe the way that will be received the best by the masses, especially since you want to run for fucking president. Like,
I think. So I think what you're saying, I know I totally agree with what you're saying to a large part anyways, as far as like both of these actors, as far as like Gavin and Trump using this to, you know, have some kind of like political gains. And I think, but I would say like on both sides, that's completely disgusting and part of the issue. So, I mean, and you mentioned it or maybe it was the week before when we were talking about Trump shutting down the original immigration bill. It's like things like that. And I want to ask you, Deuce, I mean, do you take issue with that when you see somebody, and I mean, I'm not denying that Gavin Newsom does this either. And I'm saying it's also disgusting. But when you have somebody who will, I mean, people are being injured right now. People are, I mean, millions and millions of dollars of property damage is taking place. So do you take issue with like when the president uses these instances as a kind of like a cashing in on some kind of like political power through this? Like, I mean, in this case, literally consolidating power as far as like taking the National Guard and putting them directly underneath his power. So, I mean, do you take issue with that?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not necessarily sure on how the laws break down with that. I mean, but here's the problem, though, right? So everybody's like, oh, well, and I do agree. The protests were probably agitated into riots, right? At some parts of the protests. Not every part of, just like we all know, January 6th, we've had some conversations with people. We know how that all went, right?
Can I just jump in real quick because I want to add this to what you're about to respond to, and I want you to respond to this as well because you mentioned it. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's going to be just because you can respond to the full thing. You mentioned the Mexican flags as well, and I want to touch on that because I think that this has been something really divisive that has been used as like a partisan way of representing these protests. I mean, if you're talking about a scenario where you're kicking Mexicans out of the country, and I don't disagree with you that optically it's not necessarily like the smartest thing, but it's like, is it possible for people to represent Mexican flags in the streets and also actually still be proud Americans, still want to stay in the country for fuck's sake? I mean, the reason they're upset is because they feel like their family or loved ones or whoever community is turning into a police state, which I think there's something that really speaks to like an encroachment and a degradation of our liberties.
Don't shred on me.
One thing, like, I think that me and you have a lot of agreements on this when it comes to like gun rights and free speech rights. Like me and you almost always agree on this, Deuce, because even though I lean liberal from an economic standpoint, I mean, and I told you this before, I've never voted Republican or anything like that, but I did vote Libertarian the first time I ever voted. There's a real connection that I think this country has had previously, and I'm fearful that we're losing that, but a pride in our liberty, personal rights, the fact that we have civil rights, the people, like even people that are guests in this country have a level of civil rights, and the fact that we're kind of like pushing that to the side because it's like they're inconvenient rights. Well, that kind of like defeats the purpose of rights to begin with, and they're supposed to be a bulwark against tyranny and against the government, which in almost every case holds more influence than, well, in every case, actually.
Every case.
Holds
That's
more,
what we're supposed to stand on.
Yeah, I mean, even look at the situation like Elon Musk, and we've talked about it as this was happening in the chat. The richest man in the world. I mean, how long did it take for him to turn around and get on his hands and knees and say, my bad, I don't want any of these fucking problems, Trump. I sincerely apologize. And it's like he probably has more influence than any other individual aside from Trump. So it's like, even he tucked his tail and literally said, I don't want this fucking smoke right away. So I'm sorry, because you know how I could be, but I don't mean to.
I think he's playing along.
Yeah, I think
Elon's playing the long game, though.
I don't mean to make it long, but I want to send it back to you, Deuce, for your response. I'm just saying the Mexican flags, if you see a lot of the coverage, I saw a lot of American flags as well. And I think in reality, this country is kind of about those flags flying together. This country is a little bit about saying like, hey, this is my heritage and this is where I'm at now. Now, I don't disagree that there's people out there or people that exist in our country that come here and they're like, I want to make the best life for me here, but I don't really want to assimilate to the culture. And also even people that look down on our American culture. I think those people do exist. But in my experience with immigrants, that's just really not my experience with most of them. So I'll send it back to you now, brother. I'm sorry, but I just want you to address the Mexican flag thing again, because you mentioned it, and I just kind of think it's a little bit of like a it's just something I think meant to really divide us from what the real issue is. There's something around our personal liberties where we could all kind of get on the same page with this and be upset about it.
Well, no, it was just no, here's the problem. And that's the thing, like I believe, like I said, I think America is a melting pot.
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of different cultures that have assimilated to make one big culture, you know? And part of it though is you have to embrace America. And I don't think that them flying in a Mexican flag is necessarily them saying like, oh, fuck America. But what the problem is when the pictures that I saw, right? If you're standing on top of a Waymo, you know what I'm saying, with spray painted and it's burning, and you're standing on top of the hood with waving a Mexican flag, the optics of that are bad. You know, not necessarily to someone like me, especially I'm from another country, right? So I don't necessarily look at that crazy because I can understand it. But for the opposite of someone maybe that is a friend of mine, they may look at that and be like, "That's fucked up." Like,
I totally agree. No, I totally.
And the thing is, too, is like the optics of it is just bad for the movement in general, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
No, you're just making it. You're giving everyone a point.
Agreed. But let's address that, Deuce. I want to address that. And you know, I like when we have this back and forth more than like the long dialogues anyway.
Yeah.
So just let me.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's like in the case with the flag, I feel you, but that's the problem, and that's where I'm saying that the people that weaponize those images are wrong. And like you're totally right. I completely agree. Like there will be people that see that image and then they have whatever kind of feelings they have, and they're going to have negative feelings about the entire movement because of that. So I completely agree with that. But you are even saying like, well, from my perspective, if I take a moment and I think about it critically, I can come to a good faith conclusion, which you did, which is like, these two things can exist. People can be proud of their Mexican heritage, and also it's not like it's not relevant. You know what I mean? It's like they are. These people are.
And bro, I worked with Mexicans. Mexicans are proud.
Yeah,
Mexicans are proud people.
Yeah, my point is literally their nationality is literally relevant to what the fight is to begin with. So it's like it's not like they're just like. It's like a Antifa rally that doesn't have literally to do with immigration, and then you have people there with Mexican flags. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
but do you think it's only Mexicans that they're going after, though? Do you think
so?
This
is what community.
In LA, I think that's a huge portion of it. Yes,
that community alone. And again, this is what's overblown.
I think what it is, it's disproportionate though. The immigration was disproportionate because when you look at immigration, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Latin America made up 2.8 million of that, which is a big percentage. So I mean, and if you ever like see Spanish neighborhood, they usually congregate in one area. So it's like, it kind of looks a little different versus maybe all the Chinese people that illegally immigrated that are more spread out. They're probably getting deported, but it's just not. They're not doing big raids because it's not a bunch of them kind of in one area. You know what I'm saying? So the optics of it obviously can be kind of skewed too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. It's all bad. Let's be honest, it's all bad. But
so like I get the optics are bad, but like two different things. Like what's happening here in Charlotte County, where cops are pulling people over, and then you don't have a license, and then they bring ICE in, and then you get detained and all that. They brought a fucking SWAT truck down the street and just started kicking down doors and dragging people outside. That's the bad optics. That's where it's optically bad.
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass serious. When in this country where people, it's not that you're going up and getting them and saying, hey, let's go over your immigration process. It's that you're going to go to such a militaristic state. That's what bothers me. Not only that, what also bothers me is the same people that want to cry about the waving of a Mexican flag are the same people that I see that chooses to represent the Confederate flag, which is an entity that saw a sovereignty against our country and some that we went to war with. So I do kind of look at that as kind of like a contradiction and hypocritical. But as far as the immigrants, look, Obama and Biden both have deported more. We tried to get immigration fixed. The asylum process was broken. That's where a lot of this has came. And I understand that. I understand where it's this issue, but like what I wanted to show you was that we keep that Cody kept mentioning, and I've kept hearing the 21 million number. That there's 21 million illegal immigrants in this country.
Is this the image?
Yeah.
Okay, 11 million.
Yeah. Please bring it up. And the reality is that there's 21 million documented immigrants in this country, like naturalized immigrants.
Okay.
And then what's the undocumented is only what like 11 million.
So this
11 million.
This says, it says 11 million unauthorized immigrants.
Okay, so which is a big
That's
number.
all they know for the last 4 years of Biden's presidency. That's what that number is from.
So it's a big number. No, so what I've seen with the numbers is they've stayed pretty consistent. We have a lot of people come in, but we deport a lot of people at the same time. The number kind of stays around the same. But the number's been so inflated to people. So yes, Americans think there are 21 million or 24 million undocumented immigrants just running around all illegal.
What does naturalized mean though? Does it just mean they've been here for 5 years so they get to stay?
We'd have to really Google that because I don't want to be wrong on that. I don't know if it's being born here or what, which goes to my other point is
because I can see where the argument is with people if they're like, okay, well, if that's just the case, then they need to be deported.
Naturalized as you went through the process. Born here. So here's the internet explanation. So a naturalized citizen is someone who wasn't born a citizen of a country, but voluntarily became a citizen of that country through a process of naturalization. The process typically involves meeting specific requirements, such as being a lawful permanent resident, green card holder for a certain period, and passing tests related to the U.S. civics and English language skills.
So they went through the process to become naturalized. We're having people try to go through that process that are being arrested in that process. On top of that, I have a real question as to
how do you get that? They don't have green cards though.
Well, you don't just, bro, you know this. You're not just given a green card. You can be here on temporary status, and then you have to go through a process. And sometimes that temporary status expires during your process.
Yeah, but that's not the right way to do it.
But that was the way afforded, and that's the way that a lot of immigrants. Millions of immigrants have gained their naturalization. So it's something
that doesn't mean it's right.
But it's something that was afforded to them. So you allow that process.
No, it's not afforded to them. They took it.
No.
Well, explain your point.
It's illegal.
Here, Deuce, let Paul explain his full point, and then I want to get you to respond.
Yeah, so it's what's been afforded. So now they're getting that again, you can take it away, but the way that it's happening violates their rights. Let them go through the process of them being deported. Don't just this is it, you're getting deported. I also want to understand, ask how far back this is going to go. Like, are we saying that hey,
can I go to your first point?
Go ahead.
So what I would say to that is, I mean, if they're not citizens yet, what American rights do they necessarily have?
The Fifth Amendment.
I know there's a due process when it comes to immigration, right?
Before that process.
Gotcha. My bad.
Well, yeah, but then you're before that process. So
yeah, so before that process,
what it happens is and this is the thing with immigration that kind of gets a little skewed is there's laws set in place like if you illegally immigrate to the country, you are a criminal at that point. So I understand what we're saying with kicking doors and this, that, and the third. But what do bounty hunters, what do FBI, CIA, what do they do with criminals that have warrants in this country? They go and get them. They don't sit and wait. They hunt you down. So it's kind of like the same process. Now, is it necessarily fucked up? Does it necessarily look right? Does it necessarily make you feel good to watch? Fuck no. It's sick. When you see fucking kids crying, get ripped out of their house, you see kids getting pulled out of fucking school sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily the majority of the cases, but
it's been a lot.
Understand that. I mean, but it's not necessarily the majority though, because you got to think a lot of these people came in the last 4 years. So
that's
and the thing is they don't have Paul. The thing is if
it's
you're
not accurate.
If you don't have a green card, you're not registered in the country. How are you going to go to school? How are you going to do it?
If they're not registered, exactly. So if they're not registered. Go ahead.
They don't have insurance. They're not getting health care or anything like that because they illegally immigrated, Paul. That's what I'm saying to you. So
but I don't have insurance.
It's a benefit coming into the country and do that.
Yeah, but that's a benefit for us. We're not paying them entitlements and they're still paying taxes.
Yeah, brother, but for them to find the kids at school, for them to find the job, for them to find their apartment, there has to be some kind of documentation. They were using the IRS. They were using the IRS and their tax information in order to locate these people
because they're getting paid hand over fist.
But they were using the IRS.
They're not paying into the system.
look,
That's if they're on a visa.
Listen. My brother is a shift manager at a shift leader at PGT. He told me 140 people were suspended a week to find proper documentation today, and they will not be back because they don't have it. That's 140 people getting paid by PGT, not under the table. That is directly with them paying taxes.
But some states, by the way, well, they may not be. They may be.
Hold on, but some
you got to think, but they're not putting that on a payroll.
Don't force the employer to ask for the proof of your proof of citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that in Florida because we're a state that specifically is in protection to the corporations, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm for that, but there's a lot of instances where there's people who they have full-time jobs, they're legal immigrants, they're paying taxes, they are. Just because like, for example, like you can't even get a fucking house or whatever if you're not paying taxes. Yeah. So these people are living under fake pseudonyms and fake names and paying taxes, and then not drawing benefits though. That's the thing. That's why. Go ahead.
No. What I want to say was to his thing about there being only 4 years. Listen, I worked with a guy, electrician, been here since he was a child, graduated from Riverdale High School, worked 7 years as an electrician, finally got his green card. He had to overstay his visa and go through, while overstaying his visa, talking with his immigration attorney and the judge, them allowing him to stay while he goes through the process. His wife was doing the same thing, but hers got denied. She got deported. A guy like him, and today with what we're doing now, he's not afforded that right to wait out to the process to get his green card. He's deported because his visa expired.
Well,
hold on.
So because we have 11 million right now.
Okay. All right. So again, 11 million out of 300 something million. All right. But what I want to focus on also is you saying what rights are they afforded if they're not citizens? The Fifth Amendment is very clear. This has been since 1791. So it's been a long time. No person, it does not say no citizen. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So that first part, deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So you just ripping them out without going through the due process is violating the Fifth Amendment. That makes this unconstitutional.
Are those American rights, though? American rights, or
what are you talking about?
Or just any foreigner that crosses our border?
We just read it to you.
No person. It is very clear. No person. So that is anybody. That is, and they are clear about this. They clarify this. This has been.
So you mean Vladimir Putin can just walk into our country and then he gets due process if he kills 1,000?
Yes, that's what. But yes, Denzel, brother, that is the beauty of what America is. That is what we are.
Let's get clarification on that.
That's what we are. We are the land of liberty and freedom. That is what we are.
Because I've already had this.
We obviously know.
I'll pull it up for you.
We obviously know that was amended and
1791. What are we talking about?
Immigration law. Bro, we have immigration laws, brother. We have immigration laws now. Like, you want to talk about the original one? Like, what is the law now?
Right, and every law is based off of a precedent set by the Constitution, though.
No, I think what you're saying there is fair, but what we have in place is what we have in place. I mean, I have this issue with a lot of kind of systems of government that we have and that we hold on to as if like nothing can never be changed. Is like, I think there is a lot of room to update
and ratify
how we see and kind of the rules that we're obligated to follow. But as long as these are the rules, I think it's good that we ask our government to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once again, like, if anybody, like, especially for like conservatives, if you're a small government person, I think that this should be especially concerning to you. I mean, it's a situation where you're absolutely deferring, I think, to the government's judgment. And I think I'm somebody that thinks the government should do more, but at the same time should be held in check from the people. And the Constitution is one of the main tethers that the government has, where it's like, okay, I have these rules I have to play by. And just so I could read this for the people that I have on the screen, and Deuce, I don't know if you could see this, but so this says, I put in, does the Constitution protect illegal immigrants? This says, yeah, and if you want me to reword that, I will, but let's just read this first. Yes, the Constitution protects undocumented immigrants. While undocumented immigrants don't have the same rights as citizens, they still have basic protections under the Constitution, including due process and equal protection under the law. This means they cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, and they are entitled to equal treatment under the law. So I mean, when we say like when you're saying like American rights, you're speaking more to like the Bill of Rights, which those are more specific to American citizens. But when we're talking about the Constitution, and Paul is right, specifically how it's worded, it does specifically refer to peoples, not citizens. And then here's just a little bit more details, and I'll throw it to you to respond real quick, Deuce, and then we'll get back to Paul. So this is more of the breakdown. This is specifically on due process. The 5th and 14th Amendments guarantee due process, meaning the government must follow established legal procedures when taking action against an individual. This includes ensuring that undocumented immigrants have a fair hearing or trial before being deported. And before I pass that back to you, because I mean, I understand, I had this kind of conversation with Cody the other day, and I think this is, I'm not trying to say that you're ignorant at all, Deuce, so don't take this wrong. I just mean ignorance more as like, none of us really know the process exactly for all these things. So with an immigration process or a legal process nowadays anyways, when we're talking about courts, we're not necessarily saying for every single person you're going to deport, you need to have some long drawn out trial. At least that's definitely not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But due process, you do have to have a period where you go through findings, the court presents its case. And honestly, all of this nowadays can be done through Zoom. Mm-hmm. You can have fucking 100 cases on your docket for the day. And part of this is also like funding these circuits and things like that. So they have the people to hold these hearings.
But here's part of the issue though, right? In what case, okay.
Yeah.
Say you want to have this so-called hearing for these people. They legally immigrated into the country.
Okay.
What case do they have?
Well, we have to prove that they're legal.
Innocent. No. But what we have to prove? They have no documentation. They have no social security.
Yeah, but they get the right to present that case.
They have no visa.
We don't even know that these people don't have like what they do
have.
Exactly.
Fuck the court. We can make a little hut at the border. Yeah. We can make a little hut, put a courthouse seal on it. And we can just
maybe that's something you can do.
We can just have walk them in one by one,
brother.
Just say hey, because the reality of it is most of them cannot provide that documentation, right? And then what ends up happening is, and
they still deserve they deserve the hearing.
Is so expensive. But the most the expense is from doing the due process. It's not from chasing them down in the street.
Okay,
you're already paying the cops
respond to this.
an hour
respond to this. So we want to be a country that has due process and we have rights and all these kind of things. Should we not adhere to those values because it's too expensive or whatever argument you're making right now? Like, what's the argument?
Can we make it make sense though? Can we make it make sense?
So let me ask you a question.
Let me hold on. No, let me finish.
Yeah,
can we honestly say though, right now, that someone walking across our border, which we should not, everywhere else in the world has walls. For some reason, we'll have walls. For someone to walk across our border,
what kind of non-fact
we're going to
is
say?
that?
We're going to say they get we need to spend our tax money now, to give them the right to basically prove their innocence that they didn't walk across the border.
You're laughing. I don't even think it's like it's not a funny matter. I'm like, obviously.
Yeah, but
you say all that, and my answer is obviously.
Obvious, yeah. Deuce, listen. Imagine you're walking down the street. Deuce,
we're talking about waste and money and waste.
Deuce,
that is the biggest waste of
Who's
money.
talking about that?
Here's the thing.
Who's talking about that? The motherfucker that takes the most money from the fucking goddamn government?
Apply.
Do not say that,
brother.
We have to apply.
Yeah.
Brother. We have to apply some shit.
Let Paul hop in here
to get the citizenships.
Listen,
when you come from other countries, you just can't walk across the border.
And I feel you, and nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. I'm just saying we should actually adjudicate the claims. We shouldn't just say shouldn't. The same thing we were talking about with the fucking Nickelodeon and not trusting the writers. Guess what? I don't actually trust the people in our government, and I know you don't either. So why are you choosing to blindly trust them in this instance,
bro? I don't.
Look.
They could disappear you.
It's not about that. It's just the situation of if you live in Europe, if you live in Canada, if you
Europe actually has open borders.
Open borders. You're allowed to travel.
But either way, here let's
that's all under the EU. That's all under the EU. What I'm saying is,
I love it, brother.
When you come to America,
my bad. You drew me in.
America, you drew me in. You have to apply. Is all I'm saying.
I didn't want to respond. You keep on saying fucking dumb shit, so I had to respond. No, I love you, brother. But let's let Paul hop.
When you're assuming that they haven't applied, you're acting like they just walked across and just found a house and just live their merry on life. Okay.
Paul, so you're telling me they applied for citizenship before they
A lot of people, yes, you are looking at people that had temporary status that overstayed their status. That is the majority of it. Yes. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry
after the fact they walked across the border and Biden gave them a fucking
no, but a lot of them were asylum seekers.
You're talking about the Venezuelans and Haitians. That's literally two demographics that got
changed
that.
the law.
It wasn't everyone else, but listen.
Yeah, but that's the law, bro.
But listen.
Now we're adjudicating that.
Deuce. Let's say you walk out of Walmart, silver Tahoe pulls up. 3 guys come out, grab you, put you in the car, drive off. You don't believe that you fucking deserve to prove your citizenship?
I look Dominican all the time, brother.
You don't think that you deserve to prove your citizenship before they deport you?
Deuce is going to end up in another country and thrive.
Do you not think I will get the chance? You get the chance.
No, you won't get the chance. No, you won't.
Cases, these people aren't getting the
They're
chance.
not getting. That's what due process is. Getting the chance to prove you're innocent.
There's already cases like with the Kilmar.
So you don't think at some point
with Kilmar they admitted they fucked up.
You don't think at some point. No. But hold on. Here's my thing. You don't think that they're taking these people's names or anything and trying to see if they're in the system or the database? You don't think they're doing that at all?
Dude, listen. You need to see how many.
You just said some people got picked up and released.
How many?
You just actually said. You stated earlier that people got picked up and released. So obviously they're checking names and they're doing due process. The problem is, it's just a lot of people are getting deported because
before that they're thrown on the concrete. 3 guys are kneeling on them, cuffing them up.
Real quick, I wanted to
how the police do.
Let me do these comments real quick, Deuce. Real quick. All right, got you, brother. So Smooth said, "You are like everybody else that thinks like you use the Constitution when it helps you and suits your purpose. That is sickening." Well, I mean, honestly, I would argue that the other side of this argument is well, I'm saying the other argument is actually doing that. The other argument is saying, well, at this point we don't have to abide by that because it's not convenient, it's not cost effective, or whatever. I've heard several arguments, which I think are all fine arguments, but I just don't think it actually gets us across the line at the end of the day to actually go against.
Was that amended though?
No, the only change I believe was the 3/10 law, because when they freed slaves, they were making sure that they were included in the all persons, because originally they weren't.
Yeah. Now we have another comment here from C Elk. Shout out to C Elk, man. Go ahead and subscribe. We're gonna be going live later, and you can keep in the know on all the fuckery going on in America. Because our friend here says, "How did this get recommended to me? This is a wild ride as a Canadian."
Welcome.
Don't fucking cross that line, though, bro. We will send your ass back too.
Right? I like you.
Yeah, Paul doesn't give a fuck. Come to his house and watch fucking Teen Nick with this fucking 5-year-old.
Yeah, Inside Out too.
Real quick, and then it's the last comment. He said, "Good luck, fellas. Peace and love." So he's looking down at his neighbors below, and
this place is fucked up. Listen, Smooth. Listen, I want to
going to the Rainbow Parade.
What amendment of the Constitution am I against? Where am I cherry picking? Because that's the argument that I have for the right, is that we cherry pick the Second Amendment and really don't care about everything else. Me, I'm fine with all the amendments. I haven't. I've never been.
I want you guys to have guns.
I've never been a ban guns. I mean, again, I love how the perception is that liberals don't have.
No,
guns.
You have been a ban gun guy.
No, I've never been ban guns. That's what it is. It's sensible gun regulation. Is different than banning guns. Like red flag laws,
constitutional carry.
Red flag laws is different than banning guns. Okay, or was it Smooth? I'll never forget. We were sitting at the table here. Your mother died tomorrow, and Smooth was going across the table at me, going about
red flag laws.
No, about how I was an infringement, and every American deserves, no matter what, Down syndrome or not.
He said, if it was up to me, I'd put a gun in every goddamn American.
Every American deserves a gun, no matter what. Okay, but not every person deserves the Fifth Amendment, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think once you start to like rationalize reasons to, basically circumvent these things that we're calling like non-movable ethics. So we're saying like the Constitution is something that we're going to abide by regardless. It's like the word of God. Once we're starting to just find ways to work around that, I mean, when does that stop? And like, who gets to dictate like, oh, well, this is a reasonable reason to go ahead and just say, throw the Constitution in the trash. So I think it's actually a good thing when we stick to those principles. And Cody, I would love to have Cody back on again, so please let him know, and I'll actually hit him up as well because he did give me his number. But he made a similar point, Deuce, and I thought he articulated it in a really good way. It was something along the lines of basically like, we have principles as long as we can afford to have them. And you're basically making the same argument. You're saying like, this is a basically state of emergency. We can't afford to abide by these, to play with these rules. But I'm just saying, like, Deuce, seriously think about that, bro. Why do you ever want to advocate for your government, knowing the amount of tyranny that they can inflict on your own personal life? Why would you ever want them to be?
This is the thing. I'm not even necessarily like for the government just kind of pulling the military in the streets and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I roll. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad
my
you mentioned
whole thing I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Yeah, dude. I don't agree with everything.
I'm gonna give it right back to you.
3% of our population.
I'm gonna give it right back to you. But the reason I think it's such a good point, because with these LA riots or protests, all that, whatever you want to call them, that is what's happening. You have the National Guard, the military, and our forefathers.
Well, that's what the National Guard's for, though.
Thomas Jefferson wrote about this extensively, though. The military is not meant to be used against the domestic citizens. Like, the whole point of the police force and stuff like that is to have that kind of like, there's a difference. There's a difference between the people that enforce laws and the military. The military is not supposed to be used lightly in this way. And I do think.
Agreed. No, I agree.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, and when you're seeing like, and you're creating an adversarial sort of relationship too with our military, which maybe you guys feel differently. I don't think that's something that exists in America. As much as we do have a really adversarial position against like police officers, for example, but that's their job. That's why these people exist and all that, to police communities.
Yeah, but you got to think,
military, we hold them at the highest regard. We hold troops at the highest regard. So now that you're turning them into people to basically like, I don't even know that I would say like crack down. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're literally cracking down. Because I mean, I don't even want to say laws, because we're putting things in place that are not like typical laws. So they're there literally to crack down and put their foot on the neck of the population of LA. So they're afraid to go out and use their voices. Because a lot of, and let's be real, a lot of these protests are, I know it gets laughed at a lot with a lot of the coverage, the like mostly peaceful shit, the mostly peaceful riots or whatever. And I think is a lot of cases where that is silly and kind of laughable. But I think in this case, it's real. Like, you don't have to have a big group of people. And same thing with even like the insurrection. Like, in a lot of cases, I would say that was mostly peaceful. Now, I think we can still deal with the fallout with people breaking into the Capitol building and all that. But it's like, you know what, I can be not a partisan person, and I can look at that and say, you know what, most people showed up that day to let their voices be heard, even if I don't agree with what they were saying. Like, they wanted Donald Trump to still be president or whatever. So I'm sorry if you have something you want to go ahead and respond to, and I want to get Paul, and we're gonna start to wrap it up because I want to let everybody head out. But I appreciate everybody getting in here. And
this is my only thing. My only thing with that is like my only point is like, I get what everybody's saying, but we got to go to the root issue. Is we had a law change, open the borders for a floodgate. Now we're here today, right?
Yeah.
What he's doing with the National Guard, I'm not necessarily for, but the thing is, at this point, it could escalate into something even further, and then we will need the National Guard, right? So say these uprisings start happening all across Southern California, right on the border. Sure. Well, guess what? Who runs the southern border of Mexico? Well, on our border, all the cartels do. So then you have a problem where you don't have cartels rising up against our fucking border patrol and shit like that, right? You don't want that issue coming in too.
Darth Vader coming,
of course. I mean,
people are just thinking of it. People are just thinking of it. Oh, like, you know, the immigrants, all this other stuff. But then it's like, we've been cracking down over in Mexico too against the cartels also. So this could be something, because we may only be getting surface level information about this, right? Yeah. But they could be getting information that this might escalate into something even more serious than we know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I don't have
that's my only thing. And then really when it comes to like,
I don't think that's their motivation, though, personally. I mean, and do you think does that really get to the crux of the issue with basically like not affording people their rights?
My whole
you know
point
what I mean?
Is too, though.
But I feel you.
And I remember what I was originally going to say. It came down to the application process. So my whole thing is like, I know we want to say, and we can give it benefit. I'll give it the benefit of doubt. We can say 50-50 did the application process and 50% didn't, right?
Sure.
But we also know there's paperwork behind that. There's monetary value that you pay to do that. But we do know there are 11,000 people that illegally cross that border. That is a fact, right? So we have to address that problem. And to get 11 million people out of this country it's never been done before. And so they're winging a lot of it. You know what I mean? So that's, sure. I'm not saying it's right, but that's really what we're seeing. This is the problem that they've never had before. So no other presidents really had to do this much deportation in a short amount of time. Yeah. So it's going to be ugly, and it's just going to play out like that. You know, and I do agree with you guys. People.
All right. So look. All right. Yeah. All right. Listen. How many people do we have in the country? 350 million, give or take.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that number. I can look it up.
All right. So 11 million people is what, 3% of the population? So we're having this divide to where his approval rating has dropped to 38%. To where we're looking at the brink of the military firing on civilians. We have 1,800.
Where did you see that? Because I looked that up and I didn't see that on multiple other polls.
What?
That stat you said about approval rating, I looked it up.
I'll look that up. So 340 million people live in the United States.
Okay, you know, so 3.4%.
And we're looking for Donald Trump's approval rate.
Yeah, I got one earlier that was 38%. Did I send that into the group?
I'll just look it up. I'm sure whatever pops up.
But there's gonna be many. But yeah, the ones
that or whatever
that it dropped down to like 38%. But anyways, where the fuck was I going? Oh, but anyway, so all this, we're on the brink of military firing on civilians. This Saturday, there's supposed to be over 1,800 protests. I mean, you're talking about such a politically charged and divided country right now. Over 3% of the population. And we talk about, and I've heard from you and Cody, and I hear from the right about how bad this issue has gotten because of Biden and all that. Yeah. So, who was president in 2006? I just picked a random year, but 2006 was Bush, right? That was before Obama. In 2006, an estimated 11.6 million unauthorized residents resided in the United States. So it's been the same fucking amount. Again, the number goes up and down because of deportations. This is a manufactured issue that has been inflated, that was all orchestrated so Donald Trump could win. They put a fucking group of people. They targeted a group of people.
What are we talking about?
What?
But he wasn't the president the last.
No, the entire narrative. The narrative. This narrative about how dangerous, how bad this issue is.
It's not a narrative, Paul. The borders are wide open.
Told me you told me the narrative is that because of Biden and the open border, we have had more immigrants than we've ever had in this country, undocumented. Is that not what you said?
Came in 11 million.
We had
11 million people was a spike in the average. What are we talking about?
Oh, I can't find
11 million people was not the
average. Can you find any data that has shown you anything more than 11 million unauthorized immigrants in this country right now? Are we saying there's more? What's the question? Right now, I'm looking at something that says 11 million. All I can find is 11, but they keep saying there's a spike of 11 million, which would put it at 22 million. Okay. Well, if you take 11, I'll keep looking around.
If you just look up the amount of illegal immigrants,
I've done that.
I did right now. It shows you a year by year.
Okay, well, I'll pull up a year by year one as well. But right now, the question I have
is, here's the thing.
Hold on. Denzel, let me finish what I'm saying. Denzel, listen, bro, because I'm just trying to give you this information so you guys can have the conversation. I just looked up how many illegal immigrants are in the U.S. It says the most recent estimates from the Office of Homeland Security statistics suggest that there are around 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. This is in early 2022. While some estimates vary, and then so it goes on to that. So I'm going to look to see if I can find a year-by-year breakdown, but I want to give you that before you move on. And then also I have this, which should be up on the screen, I believe. Yeah, it's up on the screen. This is, I'm assuming what Paul was talking about, Trump's approval rating at 38% in new survey. President Trump's approval rating dipped to 38%, the lowest of his second term, according to the latest poll for the Quinnipiac University. In the June poll, 38%. Okay, so in the June poll, 38% of registered voters approved of the way Trump was doing his job, while 54% disapproved. The results marked the first time Trump's numbers dipped below 40% since returning to office in January, when he enjoyed an all-time high job approval rating of 46%. So you guys can go ahead and I'll try to find the year-by-year breakdown.
Yeah,
but that
so again, you want to talk about it's about the process. The process was supposed to be changed with a new bipartisan bill that Trump and Mike Johnson killed. That Trump had Mike Johnson kill on the House floor. That Mike Johnson said Trump had him kill on Fox News. This is broadcasted. They know that's the reason. This process is fine to be changed. My point and issue is look at what has been caused by this. This is our number one issue in the country. This is what the Riley Lincoln case, because yes, as sad as it is, she was murdered, and that's sad. She wasn't the only person murdered that day, let alone the only woman murdered that day by a man. But we made it so political so that all this can happen. We made it to where that there's such a fear of these immigrants and what they're going to do that, yeah, this is our major issue. And he won off that platform, that and the economy. And then what you've seen is the Project 2025. Hold on, let me finish. The Project 2025 that we kept saying, this is what they're going to push. Heritage Foundation, all the people supporting the party, all the money, this is their thing. All of it has been being implemented. So it seems as if it was a manufactured issue, not that the immigration isn't real, that there should be a change to the process.
You can't manufacture an issue when you're not the president, bro.
What?
So you mean to tell me that Trump had more control in Biden's presidency than Biden did at the?
Where are you getting that?
Hold on.
How did he control
let me ask you that.
Because he didn't change the amnesty law, though.
Let me just ask you. I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to pass it right back to you, but I want to ask you because you just asked us a question. So you asked us, do we think that Trump had more influence than Biden or something of that nature? No.
I don't think he said influence because I
don't think he said influence either. But it's that.
Yeah, my argument is more influence. Yes.
Okay, but either way, so yeah, my point being though, I think we're going to be in agreement where he may not have been as powerful as Biden. Yeah. I mean, he's basically the second most powerful person in the country at that point. So it's like his influence was still crazy. To act like
Obama.
Hold on. To act like he doesn't have an impact, I would say Obama has an impact too. That's where I'm consistent, bro. I'm going to be consistent both ways. I think Obama definitely has an impact from a liberal standpoint, but to act like fucking Trump had no impact just because he wasn't president while he's in charge of a fucking cult, it's fucking crazy to me, bro.
Yeah, obviously, but my thing is he was against the immigration policy, though. He was
but specifically that, even with the immigration bill that they were trying to work on, he was the person from the conservative side. There was a bipartisan bill that they were working on. Trump was the person that killed it. Now, can he make decisions like how Biden was, where he was introducing that bill? He didn't have that kind of power, no. But does he have the power over the party to say, don't work with him? We're not going to work with the Democrats because it benefits.
But let's be real. That wasn't even Biden's bill. That wasn't Biden's bill.
Okay, but we're talking about Trump's bill. That's not even the point. We're talking about Trump's.
That was done on auto pen.
Okay, but brother, we're talking about Trump. It doesn't even matter. We're talking about Trump's influence. So I think we both are going to acknowledge that Trump had influence there, right?
No, I said more control. No, I'm saying control.
But I understand more control. But it's not an all or nothing thing. It's not a situation. Biden didn't have full control. Like it's not a dictatorship.
Can I clarify because I was never talking about having control. What I'm saying is this whole fear. What got Trump elected? One of the things is people. You can look at all the polling. His immigration thing. It was over 54% of Americans agreed that we needed a more strict immigration policy. So he ran on the immigration thing. This 20 million number of illegal immigrants per every number that I can find, that James can find, that we are sitting here trying to find, is inflated by double the amount. The reality is, from every statistic that I can find, since at least 2006, the consistent number of illegal immigrants has been 11 million people per the census, per every calculation I can find. So if that's the truth, then everyone was misled and lied to about how serious this immigration process, this issue is, and that the amount of force and what's going on is extreme overkill and federal overuse of power, abuse of power. In my opinion, this
is my thing. So when El Salvador emptied their prisons into America, Was that not a real thing? Was the gangs that came in that were terrorizing the people of the Midwest, was that not a real thing though? Because this is my thing. Like when you saw those people talk about it in those communities, like that was a real thing for them. You know what I'm saying? And here's my thing, like, bro, I'm understanding when I say this. Like, I'm all for my Mexicans to be here, brother. They're peaceful. I love them. Like, I don't like, but the thing is you have to do it the right way, because if you don't do it the right way, you're going to break the whole system in itself. And I get what you're saying, that the numbers were skewed, inflated, whatever. We understand that. We all know what the media does, how they like kind of show you shit all the time, and like, you know, skew numbers, misrepresent shit. You know what I'm saying? Try to gaslight you with propaganda.
No, but you're saying that, but then you just
so
used
my
their
whole thing is,
point. You said 11 million people illegally immigrated here.
Well, that's the number, 11 million people.
So what I'm here, I'm gonna show you this.
Though, right?
Can I show you what I'm looking at? Can I show you what I'm looking at though, brother? Because that's what I'm saying. I think that you're acknowledging it, but you're not getting all the way there with it. So you're saying like, oh, like, yes, people will use political things like what we talked about Trump, and they'll use it dishonestly. You agreed to that. You're saying, yes, okay, the media will use things divisively to try to cause issues or whatever.
Bro. That's a
so
number
hold on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's a number from 2022. We're in 2025 right now. So that was
halfway
through the Biden presidency. Yeah. That number could be double.
Okay, so one, I feel you on that.
And we're leaving that open by saying, what we can find.
But so to do the census, it's actually very expensive. So it doesn't get done just all the time willy-nilly. So it's like these are just projections that they have based off the data that they have to analyze. They're not walking around actually finding, you know, all of these people that are illegal. Now, but this is what I want to say. You acknowledge, like, hey, politics, they'll use it dishonestly. They'll use it as a talking point on in the media and so on and so forth. And I think that's what happened here. And I think that's why you maybe accidentally misrepresented your argument, because I think what's getting, and I've heard this too, where it's like there's 11 million illegals here, 11 million illegals there. So it ends up getting confused in people's head, and they're thinking 11 million people cross the border, when in reality, and I think this is intentional, to be honest, they're using that 11 million number because it is true. That's how many illegals are here, just period. Mm-hmm. But that's 11 million from last year when we had 10.5 million, or this is 2020, the last time we did it before the 2022 number that we had. So in 2020, we had 10 million or 10.5 million. So that means we had an increase in 500,000 people from 2020 to 2022. Now, that doesn't mean we had only 500,000 border crossings, because we probably deported some people. So the number is probably higher than that, but it's obviously nowhere near the number that we're quoting of 11 million people crossed. Now we're talking about 500,000 people crossing, which is a shit ton of people, and that you still want to keep track of. Like, me and you are going to agree on this. I agree with a lot of the anti-immigration talk, but I also think that, you know, like I said, I think that we have to be consistent in protecting our own in others' rights and their human rights. And I don't think it's a small thing to say, look, it's expensive to give these people trials. Fuck that. I think we need to find a better solution for that, which is like what I was saying, like fucking having these Zoom calls where you have judges see 300 people in a day. I mean, expedite the process if that's what you want to do, but the process still has to be there, because the reality is it could be you. That is the thing. It really could be you, Denzel. It could be me. It could be Paul. It could be whoever.
Yeah,
it really could.
See, my whole thing is basically what we're saying is, if you get your feet on American soil, you get due process. So if I catch you before you get on American soil, if I catch you 1 foot across the American borderline, you don't get due process. But if I catch you on it, you get due process. You see what I'm saying? That's why I feel like that has probably been amended in some sort of way. You know what I mean?
It hasn't been amended, but I feel you.
Because
you'll have to go through immigration court documents to see what precedents have been set and what differentiations have been set.
I mean, I can tell you confidently it hasn't been amended. Yeah, but that's fine. I understand what you're saying. If you feel like maybe that's a possibility, but I'm telling you, I've read quite a bit on this matter. I can tell you confidently that hasn't been amended. These people are owed these rights. Now the argument that you're making is not like
valid.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't agree with it, but it's like that is the argument to make.
Unfortunately, what it is. Like,
that is the argument to make, as far as like, you know, people are just like, hey, it's too costly. You know,
what's good for one is good for all. You know, that's what.
But even this, by the way, this chart, you should be able to see it on our screen. Just for the record, 2005 was actually a high point. We had over 12 million immigrants at that
was
point.
the biggest
inflation. And this is something I say all the time, by the way, and I kind of say this to you, Paul, because I do kind of want you to come around to be a little bit more on my side on the immigration issue. Because I do feel like this is something that's gotten fucked upside down for liberals. Because 2005, 12 million people crossed because Bush was pro open borders, like a conservative policy. The corporate policy is they want immigrants because they want the fucking cheap labor. They want slave labor.
Visas
they want slave labor. They want to be able to undercut how much they pay American citizens. That's why I'm hard on it. I'm against it. And I think but I think this is telling. In 2005, that's how much the issue has kind of like turned upside down. During Trump's presidency, during Bush's presidency, we had over 12 million people, over 1 million more than what we have today. And we're freaking out about it. I'm in agreement with you. People that cross the border illegally, they have done it illegally. And that technically is a crime. I get it. And I think me and you are in agreement on this, Deuce, and you probably as well, Paul. I'm not sure, but we have to reckon with the fact that if we're going to be like, well, it costs to have trials, it costs to this, it costs $17,000 to deport a person. So it's like, we have to reckon with that.
So I thought it was 1,700.
No, I'm almost positive it's 17,000, but I'll look that up. That's fine. I know I've seen the number.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
There,
No, you're good.
It could be 1,700.
At the end of the day, we need to fix the process.
Because Trump was going to pay him 1,000 to leave or whatever.
It needs to be a quicker process
now,
to be.
Paying him.
Good.
No, you're good. I mean, I just thought if it's 17 and he's paying him 1,000, I mean that's a finesse. I'll tell him he needs to up that.
So right here, do you see this on your screen, Denzel? The average cost to arrest, detain, and deport a migrant is currently estimated to be more than 17,000.
Damn.
So you're thinking about that with every single individual. As you know, I think if you want to just look at it as a pragmatist, then let's look at it and be like, well, it's not really cost effective to do this either for people that are also a net
tax
positive.
revenue.
They're net positive. Now I'm all for
who they don't get the benefits from the tax.
100%. I'm all for when we find somebody selling drugs in our community and they're an illegal. You know what? Like, would I be okay with shipping somebody to across the fucking world who is an American citizen for selling drugs? No, of course not. They're an American citizen. They get to stay here. They're going to jail or whatever.
Yeah.
This is where I'm consistent. But if you're illegal, then yeah, I get that.
Which again, that's the thing is Obama with the Dreamers Act and all that. Yeah. It wasn't you're just here for life. It was, hey, listen, you're born here or your parents brought you here as a child and you go to school here. And then you graduate high school, you don't get arrested, you get a job and you're working, then okay, you're granted citizenship. Yeah. And it's like you earned your way into citizenship. And it's like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Well, I don't think that's perfect. And I would agree.
Well, you know what the average visa wait time and stuff is? It's like 5 to 20 years.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem. That needs to change.
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because here's the thing. If you're at a certain status in the society you're in, right? Like you have a certain type of degree or job, your process is like I think it's like 1 to 5 years or something. Then like if you're a laborer, it's like 5 to 20 is normally the average time for the process. So it's literally just based on like your wealth status in the country that you come from.
Well, yeah,
you know
Trump.
I mean? So I agree with you. The process
Trump's doing a $5 million fucking gold card.
Yeah, literally.
Pay $5 million, you get to expedite the whole process.
Like, listen, we got a lot of problems. Like,
I
don't necessarily mind him bringing in money.
We have them too,
brother. Kamala, that wouldn't be an issue. So to me, it's that's the bullshit.
What the fuck do you mean it wouldn't be an issue? She's retarded.
Giving $5 million visas out.
That's money for us. What are you complaining about? We used to give them away for $3,000.
I think that's another issue. Let's not. That's another issue for another day.
Yeah. But look, at the end of the day, if we expedite the process of becoming a citizen, make it less of a fucking wait. You don't have to wait decades or close to a decade. You can expedite the process. You're going to eliminate a lot of the people who wanted to come illegally. Yes, we need to deport people. We need to be tougher on the border.
What about the terrorists?
The terrorists? What do you mean?
What about the terrorists and the chomos that come from all these other countries and the predators and shit? You got to vet them, bro. You got to make sure you're getting.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
The thing
that's why with a $15 million visa, You're getting an upstanding person who's going to bring business.
5 million, not 50.
Well, not necessarily.
15 million.
You could be
5 million, whatever, but that's a shit
some
ton of
Russian
money.
oligarch who fucking is just like, yeah, I got the fucking bread. I'm gonna come over. Hold on. You could have somebody who is just extremely. It doesn't even have to be a bad person. Let's just imagine this though. Just as people who want to be homeowners are homeowners and fucking want to be able to buy land in the country that we of our birth, or citizenship. So what could happen is you could have some Chinese fucking billionaire come buy citizenship, and then he's like, okay, yeah, I want to go ahead and buy 6 houses in Tampa, Florida. And all of a sudden I'm driving up real estate costs. And then also maybe that's not the only billionaire, which it won't be. So it's like, it actually has nefarious effects. It has nefarious downhill effects. I don't think it's just as simple as, well, we got 5 million. Great. That's money in the bank. You know how quickly 5 million goes when it's in the government's hands? Very quickly.
I know, brother. I know.
Here, by the way, so
this,
I don't know if we're mistaken on this or not, so you guys can give proper context. But I looked up how long it takes to get a visa. Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, it says
not a visa. On the visa process. To get citizenship, it's usually like
so citizenship, not a visa. So visa is different.
Yeah.
So visa is when somebody's saying, "Hey, I'm coming here for like not to be a citizen, but like to work or something specific. I'm going to go to school here."
Yeah.
So those say it only takes a few days to several months.
Yeah.
So
that one's not bad. It's the citizenship. What happens a lot with the visas is they expire.
Yeah.
And then that reinstallment process can sometimes take.
So this
visas are not easy to get. What does that say? That shit is bullshit.
It said a few days. It said a few days to several months.
My grandfather waited years to get a fucking visa. What the fuck?
Interesting. I don't know. I'm just going off what Google produced at that point. So this actually says, as it pertains to citizenship, it says the U.S. citizenship process from green card holder to citizen typically takes about 15 months to process the application for naturalization. However, before this, individuals need to be a permanent resident, green card holder for at least 5 years, 3 years, if married to a U.S. citizen.
And then how long does it take to get a green card?
So you see the trick bag?
Well, I mean, but this,
that goes to what we're saying. Why would someone who wants to escape a bad life or bad spot, whatever, want to come to America, want to wait that fucking long? They're not going to. So anyone that's their life is in danger, they're going to go.
You would got to wait 6 years and a half to get your citizenship, basically. And no, that's crazy. Just the basic.
Yeah, that's
minimum,
crazy.
Right? That's why it probably takes longer than that because the government's full of shit.
So I feel like you're on our side with that. Then.
That's my point. It
seems like we're in agreement. Yeah.
I mean,
and I'm in agreement.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
Well, no, but I think at least we're mostly for sure in agreement because I think Paul would agree with this too. Like ideally, in a perfect world, we want all of the illegal immigrants to go through the process. Yes. Like, that would be great if the process worked in that way. But the reality is that we have the illegal immigrants. To your point, we have the problem here, so we have to solve for that. And I mean, just in a way that makes sense. Here, I mean, is there anything else you want to say on that? I want to go ahead and wrap it up just because it's getting late. I want everybody to be able to, kick back and go to bed.
We could definitely do better on the process for sure. I mean, I don't disagree with you guys that much.
Yeah, I think we're mostly in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's just doing what he's got to do right now. I mean, it kind of, you could kind of not bring in the Marines. I think the Marines are excessive. The National Guard, that's what they're there to do. I mean,
bro brought Master Chief to LA. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why he's bringing the Marines. Those I mean, I love you, Devil Dogs, but Jesus, you're going to come in and whack some shit. It's just like that's just not safe.
Can you imagine the shit that's going down?
They need to bring in the cartel if they send them boys in. Yeah, they need to call the cartel. Them boys
interesting.
Real.
Could be interesting.
Well,
Denzel wants to see a show off.
It'll be like Call of Duty.
Paul, did you have any kind of last words on this?
On that, no, but in general, just country over politician.
Yeah.
Can LeBron over Jordan?
Can I ask you I just want because we'll pick up on this. We'll see where the protests continue to go because they're supposed to be continuing over the next several days. I just kind of want your general answer to this, and then we'll pick this back up next time we talk. So I was curious, LA being the sanctuary city, all those kind of things. Is there any right? Does LA as a city, the politicians, the people there, do they have any right to resist ICE?
If you were to ask this during if it was flipped, then you're don't tread on me. People would say that states have the rights.
Well, I'm just asking your opinion.
And I would,
Yeah.
I would say, okay.
Because give me your argument next time we talk. We're going to get into this more.
That's interesting.
Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
Because I do think that with a federal agency like ICE, the state should listen. But with state rights and local rights, it's tough because I mean there should be a place for the sanctuary, but it is illegal. You know what I mean? Like people are illegal and you know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I guess I got to think about it.
Think on it. So what's the
this is the part of the problem
for now? And it could change next time we get on camera. I'm just kind of curious. The question right now, by the way, Sky Pointer, Boomy Tunes just dropped a comment, said they just canceled a bunch today. They were valid 1 minute, canceled the next. They did not expire. So I assume you're talking about the visas. Thank you for popping in here with us, by the way.
So canceling.
We've been going for a while, but coming on like 4 hours. So
shit is crazy, bro.
We're winding down, but make sure you subscribe. We're going to do more of these late night lives. This was really great. We had a lot of people actually get in tonight and chop it up. So it's a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody.
A state's governor is their duty is to their constituents. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, but this is what I would say. Like what military force do I have to combat the motherfuckers? Because that's what I need. I need the military force.
Well, I mean,
it's one thing for me to say fuck ICE, but it's like another thing for when they show up to my doorstep. I gotta have a big stick for them. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, some people were actually suggesting that because if you believe that the use of the National Guard and the militarizing is illegal, then some people argued that the police force should actually be utilized to stand up against. I mean, if in fact they're doing something illegal. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I hear it's definitely complicated. That's why I think it's an interesting question. Deuce, let me get your answer before we hop off here. Do you feel like they have any right there to resist? The people of LA or California?
I mean, I'm not even, because I know there's probably a law behind it that states whether you can or cannot, but I'm just going to say for me personally, like, I feel like the governor of the state should have say, but also the president should be able to supersede him, because at some point, like you said, some people could just be playing politics, and then like even with Trump, he could be playing politics, and then it's like lives are getting lost and people are getting harmed and people's businesses are getting destroyed. Because that's what I'm more worried about. It's like if they're protesting on highways, who gives a fuck, right? Yeah. But it's like if you're damaging the community around you of people who are just like not even like are supporting you or just letting you do your thing.
What if they damage a government building?
Destroying businesses and shit like that. Then
what if they damage a government building? I'm curious.
You know, brother, you know me. I might not
kill a cop in the process.
Because that's who you're mad at. That's what you're mad at. Yeah, go fucking blow up the fucking police station. You know what I'm saying?
Question here, because I want you to just kind of think on this. I mean, I don't know if you'll end up getting on the next live. You know, you're always invited.
That's allegedly. Allegedly, go do that. By the way, allegedly. I don't mean go do that.
Let me ask you this, because I'm high. I'll forget. The question, just so you can kind of think over this. Let's flip it. Let's not make it immigration, but let's say that some liberal fucking some libtard was president and they wanted to come take all the guns in Texas. Texas decided, well, no, we're in charge of our gun laws or whatever their argument is.
So the ATF.
So then we're going to stand up as a community. We're not giving you the guns. Do you think that they have any right to do that?
Say that one more time, because you kind of froze.
Holy shit! All right, bro.
I heard the last.
I think you're stalling. I think you're stalling. Actually, it's too good.
No. You literally. It's been like I've been lagging it like a little bit.
Oh damn! It might be low battery or something. My bad.
Said that first.
If Biden wanted to take guns, do you think that the state of Texas has a right and local communities have a right to deny the ATF to come in and take those guns?
Depends on the precedent.
Okay. Well, either way, just think on it.
Are you considering them terrorists?
Well, I'm saying, like, let's just say gun laws change. Let's just say the gun laws, like the asylum changed or whatever.
Okay.
Let's just say all of a sudden gun laws there is no constitutional carry. We're done with that. So any state that recognizes constitutional carry, that's no longer valid, and we're gonna come and get any guns that were purchased during that time or something. I don't know. For some reason, they're coming to get the guns which you are constitutionally permitted to have. Do you think at what point would the
No, a sweeping mandate comes in banning AR-15s.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I see what you mean. I guess it depends. Like, if they change the Constitution, then they change the Constitution, right?
Sure.
But if they try to just come in like how the ATF,
let's say it's an interpretation though, like, because I'm kind of over explaining it, so don't get too caught up on the words, just because I'm trying to make it very clear to you. Like what Paul, I think it would be more analogous if it was some kind of mandate on something specific. So let's say you're still allowed to have guns, but for whatever reason the government determines, like, well, we don't want you to be able to have automatic rifles or something, or AR-15s.
Yeah, pistol brace. No, they did that. So they did that with the pistol brace law. The pistol brace law. So you couldn't have, if you had a AR under 10 inches or whatever, you couldn't have a stock on it or whatever the hell it was.
Little fucking gun.
So
well, but like
they actually just came back and took it away. No, so it actually proves your point. People actually, instead of push it, like, people push back on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people didn't register them, right? But the government said if you do have them, you have to register them, right? Some people didn't do it, some people did. But when you did go to purchase a firearm under the 12.5-inch regulation, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would not get a stock with it. Like, they couldn't send you the stock with it. You would have to go purchase one yourself or whatever the case was. And then, like, even for, like, if you want a silencer, right, you have to register it, and some people push back on that. They're like, oh, I shouldn't have to do that, whatever. So they make their own.
I guess to think of it more of a situation where they're coming and taking something, you have to create more of a friction point, though, where the government is coming in and taking the item. So I feel I'm not trying to say that you're not.
No, they were. They were. So if they saw that you purchased one, if they had history of you purchasing one, they would come to your house. They would knock on your door and be like, hey, we see that you purchased this.
Let's just use this as an example so we can wrap it up. Denzel, let's use it as an example so we can wrap it up. Do you think that people would be justified in resisting that, especially if it still, in your opinion, falls underneath constitutional protections?
Yeah, I mean, if it's under the Constitution, like, if you can argue for it under the Constitution, people will 100% fight against it, right? But it's like, it's going to have to be somewhat clear.
I want you to think more about what your opinion is, though. I know people will fight it, because people will fight over fucking anything. So it's like, but I'm wondering, do you think they would be justified in doing it? Not would it happen, or would there be some people, like, if people did decide to get in the streets and say, we're going to physically prevent the government from treading on these rights, would you feel as if that was justified? Or would you feel like those people were not justified in, physically resisting the government in that way?
Oh, no, for 100%, dude, 100%. Like, I think anybody's justified to fight for something that they feel is protected under, like, their interpretation of the Constitution, 100%. You should always be able to fight for that. Nice. Now, here's the thing. This is why I always say, like, I can feel like it's right? But at the end of the day, if I'm out there protesting for something and then it turns out I was wrong, well, now I'm getting fucked with no Vaseline. So it's just, they're not going to spare me. You know what I mean? So it's just that gray area there. You kind of have to be sure. And that's the thing with the Constitution.
Sure.
A lot of it's left for interpretation.
Make sure you're on the right side.
So
make sure you're correct.
Some of those things are gray areas.
No, you're not wrong. I feel you. At the end of the day, Allah Akbar, am I right? Inshallah.
Allah Akbar, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Guys, make sure you subscribe. Go check out Paul B. Balcom B. Paul on Instagram. Check him out on Twitter. Going crazy with the takes on there. He'll argue with you about sports, politics, all of it there, like he does here. And it's great to have him. This is a great conversation. Thank you for coming through today. It was awesome pod. And thank you, by the way, everybody that got in the comments. Deuce, you got in there, helped us out at the beginning, helped with a little bit of the algorithm there. And then we got cooking with a lot of different people, a lot of new people. CL, Sky Painter, Smooth Rico, thank you, brother. You're in here heavy. You were just keeping Paul honest. Emily, thank you for stopping in. Close things. Let's see here. Tisak 75. Shout out to you and that name. Jaded Spades, Cole. I want to make sure I get everybody. Ronnie, Penny Powders. Yeah, we were deep in here tonight. I appreciate all you guys for coming in and rocking with us. Deuce Andretti, go check him out on Twitter. I definitely see him going in on Twitter. I think you got some good takes, especially recently, man. I've been really appreciating your takes on Twitter. Real talk.
I've been trying to go hard, brother. I've been trying to go hard. I've been actually in a lot of Dolphins those little live circle talks and shit.
What the fuck are you doing?
Good night.
No, Paul. Yeah, no. What the fuck is this guy doing?
Hey, you know why Paul getting up, boy. You know why Paul getting up, boy.
No, Paul, you gotta go find him in those, man. You can't let him.
He's just bashing to us.
No, he's probably in there. He's like, look, guys, longtime Dolphins fan, boys. Longtime Dolphins
From
fan.
Florida.
But look, I think we got to make a move from Tua. I'm just saying, he's a provocateur.
Quinn Ewers is the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's an undercover provocateur for the Dolphins. I love it.
Bro.
No, definitely check him out on there.
Tua, bro. They be killing Tua.
Oh, that's see, I gotta check. You gotta send me an invite, bro. I gotta see what's going on. And that's Deuce Andretti. Is that
maybe you would get in there and flame some people for sure?
I might agree with him though. I don't know.
You would get in there and
James.
I might get in there and find some common ground. We might find some common ground. But yeah, guys, tune in.
I don't know, bro. They were talking crazy about Javon Holland the other day.
Oh no, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. But at the same time, he did leave us.
Talking crazy. They were like, that nigga's had. They said he had 3 good games.
Yes, perfect. This one, because this actually shut off on us. We went too long. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Deuce, I appreciate you, brother. I'm not trying to fucking cut it off because I'd sit here and talk to you all night. But I do want to let Paul get out of here. He's got to drive home. But guys, like I said, keep an eye out for the late night streams. Put the notifications on. We will be on here again real shortly because we have sports to talk about. I'm going to try to get on here tomorrow night so I can go live with the Pacers game. So Deuce, you're welcome to hop in here with me if you'd like. And then also Paul, you're welcome to hop on here and come over whenever you'd like to do, brother. And then, yeah, man, we got to definitely get in here. We got to have more real conversations. We got to chop it up. Deuce, it was great. I haven't got to talk to you. It's been too long. We've only been talking in the group chat, and I feel that, brother. So I feel you when we're not locked in like that. So this was great to get to lock in with you on here. And then, Paul, it was great to have you come over as usual, brother. Thank you. This was awesome.
We yelled at each other today.
We got to yell at each other, and this man just wants to let his kid do whatever the fuck he wants, man. It's crazy.
Watch whatever, brother.
But much love, guys. Subscribe. We'll be back again. It's Sit and Politic, and we're out.